So, pound for pound.
John Jones, hands down.
Do you think like अहिले कमब्याक गर्न सक्छ यत्रो ग्याप पछि? What about like फाइटर्सहरूले ग्याप लिएपछि कतिको अफेक्ट गर्छ?
अब I think it depends, man. There's Dominic Cruz, I know, who says ring rust doesn't exist. Katiko lai chahi ring rust is a real thing. So John Jones ko first break, he's had a long break before also. And this when he came back, he fought Owen St. Prue, he fought this guy. And it was a very bad performance. Okay? He won, but it was a bad performance. And he says, like, I felt the ring rust once. Okay? So in his case, clearly, our ring rust is a thing. And people like Francis Ngannou and Cyril Gane, the levels of a difference. It's an ever-evolving sport. Okay? The fact that it's the youngest sport, but also the fastest-growing sport means that every year our talent is going to be better than the last, So, the talent cesspool, which is massive, I know, with Stipe Miocic and Cyril Gane and Francis Ngannou. I don't know. I'm not a fan of him personally, but as a fighter, man, there's nobody better than John Jones.
So, weight class jump, especially with that added weight, don't you think it's going to affect him?
I think so, man. There's weight, there's age. I know he's getting older. He's... you never know. You're only as good as your last fight, Mansani. And his last fight wasn't that good. Like, a lot of people might have thought that he lost that fight against Reyes. So, Father Time is undefeated, bro. At some point, time will catch up to you and even the best will go down. But prime, at his prime, John Jones, the greatest fighter to have ever walked this earth. At his prime.
तर 32-33 भनेको त अराउन्ड त्यो उसको एज अहिले त प्राइम नै भनिन्छ हैन युजुअली 32-35 तिर सम फाइटर्सहरु मच्योर हुने.
Yes and no. अब if you look at Mike Tyson, उसको prime was his early days, I know. 18, 19, 20, 21, it was his prime. As he got older towards his 30s, everybody was knocking him out. Not everybody, he was off his prime. But then Mike Tyson सँगै fight गर्ने Lennox Lewis when he beat Tyson, Lewis was old too. Lewis more like fine wine, he aged better. So styles many but I mean, I think with John Jones in case of he was never like a power hitter or anything. He is the most cerebral fighter I've ever seen. So his fight IQ is just on a different level. Usko athleticism matched with his fight IQ. Yeah. That guy understands fighting, range, and timing like better than anyone else, man. If you take away all the fancy moves and all the spinning stuff and all the highlights, if you just look at his timing and range control, it's phenomenal, bro. Usko fight IQ is too ramasa. His fight against Glover Teixeira, many people haven't watched that fight. Glover Teixeira at that point was undefeated in 5-6 years. I know 20-something fights undefeated. He's just gone on a tear. And everybody said Glover Teixeira is the guy to beat John Jones. In the first round, he gets him up against the cage in a weird position with his hands like this. And he just overextends his hand. Okay? His arm less overextended. It's never been done before on a cage. And after that, like, the power puncher doesn't have power because his hand's jacked up. And it was the John Jones show after that. Still got the hit. This IQ and your understanding of the sport it's really something else, man. It's like, I never focus on the personal side of a fighter. This is a bad person, Floyd Mayweather. Who's perfect? They're not there for us to judge their personal lives. Their job as an entertainer, as a fighter, is to give us the best performance when they're fighting, when they're competing. So, when you look at it from that perspective, like, man, these guys, Floyd Mayweather, John Jones, they're just on a different level. It's a complete different level. So, like the number 1, John Jones. Number 2, Fedor, I think. Number 2, pound for pound, would be Fedor because he was just undefeated for so long, man. Like, no one could beat him.
अहिले current active मा चाहिँ को छ?
Active मा my favorite fighter is Peter Yan.
Peter Yan.
Oh man.
Next fight आउँदैछ हो?
Yeah, he's fighting to Sean O'Malley. Yeah. That's a good fight too, Duita strikers. But Peter Yan like अस्ति भर्खर हाम्रो MMA coach छ के Richard, we were talking and we were saying if we had to tell a young fighter like if you want to be an MMA fighter, model yourself after this person fighting style, Peter Yan भन्थे के.
What makes him so great?
his striking is phenomenal. I know it's very hard to take him down. Extremely hard to take him down. If you take him down, it's harder to keep him down. He adapts over the course of the fight really well. Okay, so it's like the first round, he's just downloading information where you feel like he might lose. But once he gets that information in there, the way he sets up, the way he moves, and the way he understands, again, for me, I'm a big fan of like fight IQ. Okay? For me to see understanding of the sport is more important than Francis Ngannou is awesome. होइन तर म त्यस्तो मजा लाग्दैन अब त्यो छुने बित्तिकै सुत्छ होइन लाइक he's got to touch you and then त्यो गयो त्यो मजा आउँदैन क्या but यिनीहरूकोमा चाहिँ you get to see intelligence, you get to see them face adversity and then overcome that and that's the beauty of fighting that I fell in love with anyway, the fact that यति adversity छ क्या fightingमा, it was in your face and when you overcome that it's you who did it and त्यो हिसाबमा I really like Peter Yan. I think he's really, really good, man.
What do you think about Khamzat?
You can judge from what you've seen, and from what you've seen, he's been like just close to perfect.
Like, do you think he's been tested enough?
I mean, Gilbert Burns is not a joke. I know Gilbert Burns is as legit as it gets.
Yeah.
And Kevin Holland, Kevin Holland's had some losses, but nobody's done that to him, man. Nobody's ever nobody's been able to do that. Derek Brunson, who's supposed to be the middleweight wrestling powerhouse, he fought Kevin Holland. He couldn't do that to Kevin Holland. So yes, but my only thing is like later rounds ma चाहिँ कस्तो हुन्छ भने 4 or 5 हेरेर चाहिँ
अलरेडी सक्यो नि त
एक्ज्याक्टली
गिल्बर्ट बर्न्स मा त सँग त हो नि त त्यत्रो गएको भनेर त
so 4 or 5 like championship rounds to 4 and 5 on that. I want to see that, but I feel like the conviction that guy has in his mind that he's the best, that alone is enough to take him very far. That man has this belief in himself. Connor had the same guy as Brian. Just belief in himself that I'll smash everybody. It's not something he just says. He truly believes he'll smash everybody.
And he does as well.
And so
first round
so until someone proves him wrong, like he'll keep believing it, and he'll keep fighting that way. So he's without a doubt one of the most fun things to look out for in MMA.
Timro, like I would assume that you have this bias towards Muay Thai ta bhai nai halcha हैन अनि MMA मा especially UFC मा हेर्ने हुन्छ like who do you think like has that style ali prominently?
That level of confidence and
no Muay Thai, pure Muay Thai
pure Muay Thai fighter, Muay Thai style ma who like Peter Yan is a very good boxer, but he trains at Tiger Muay Thai. That's where we train as well. So the 2 girls that I train, Unargo Camper, they're sponsored athletes at Tiger. Yeah.
Wow.
So we train there too. And right now Peter Yan's there, and then these girls are like, we should have been there. Why aren't we there? And they're all like, I don't know what I say. So he's got phenomenal boxing and wrestling, but usko Muay Thai I think has come up a lot. So the Muay Thai style ma herio भने Cyril Gane.
Cyril Gane, but he's more of a kickboxer type on his toes constantly, ufri-rakhne kind of.
Oh, Muay Thai, there's many variations of Muay Thai. So, like, we've been taught, what we see here is a very unpolished version. Bad thing, but
no, yeah, matro no bhar like Thai fighters or like let's say someone like Sanchai, he moves around very light on his feet and stuff like that. Most fighters are there like hit me, I'll get hit, I'll hit you back kind of.
So there's different forms of Muay Thai. Muay Thai much Muay Femur bhanne huncha, Muay Mat, Muay Sok, Muay Khao, because these different styles, right? So the Muay Mat is the one who'll just stand there and like go power for power. Muay Fimu, Fimu is technique, right? So Muay Fimu is a very technical fighter, like Senchai, Samrat, all these legends from back in the day who were extremely elusive. Muay Fimu ma pare ke.
Okay.
Johnson Unfair Text, there was a legend. He's like the epitome of Muay Khao. He was a knee fighter. So his style is different. Okay? So when we look at Muay Thai, like if you really, really look at Muay Thai, the history is so deep because 16th century dekhi ta cha. And a documented history.
So why did it evolve as a fight form? Combat or basically?
Yeah, पहिला war को So it was like the most practical way of fighting during war back then. And त्यसपछि finally people stopped killing each other, I guess. They're like, fuck it, let's just stick with this and roll with it, because it's a very effective way of fighting. It really is. And it just developed from that into the sport, and from the sport it is where it is now. But if you go into the roots, it's a very deep rooted sport. Okay? So there's a lot of branches in that. Yes, the ideology of a Muay Thai fighter, like will be like, but there's so many styles. Okay? So many, like Rotang and Senchai ko style, they're both our idols and icons in Muay Thai, Rotang and Senchai, but they're so far apart from their styles. Still, I feel like Cyril Gan, he is a former Muay Thai champion, I think, world champion too.
I thought like his background was like kickboxing because of the elbows. Yeah, but then elbows and knees.
Those elbows are insane, and the knees he sets up. I think Muay Thai. But I think at this point everybody's Muay Thai has gone up. UFC ma. पहिला ऐसा छैन. पहिला कतिवटा striking the star strikers there.
पहिला त मोस्टली कराटे बेस्ड हुन्थ्यो के अरे हैन फाइटर्सहरु
striking, yeah, point karate, kickboxing, taekwondo. So these guys used to come, and they would all get destroyed by wrestlers and grapplers. So would the Muay Thai fighters, but Muay Thai fighter, the clinch so the clinch work is also essentially a lot of grappling. That we have some idea of what grappling feels like, but it's nowhere close to what a jiu-jitsu or a judo fighter might do.
Yeah. So as a Muay Thai, as a combat sport, like MMA as a sport, it's growing massively. Not just like mainstream or professional people who want to get fit combat sports. To crowd border, which is amazing. Muay Thai as a technique, as an art form in this striking whole thing. I could say like so prominently. We can see that rise.
So I think right now it is a lot because of the UFC also. It's a trickle-down effect of the UFC. Free TV, we get to watch UFC pay-per-views.
Yeah.
We don't know how lucky we are.
Yeah.
People have to pay a lot of money for those pay-per-views. And त्यसले understanding stand-up ground for an untrained eye one is that. Number two, like Europe boom Muay Thai. At one point, during the golden era. So Muay Thai ko golden era, silver era, when you really go like deep, I really geek out on it. But if you go deep in that, so golden era, there was this guy called Ramon Dekkers, and Ramon Dekkers was a Dutch person. He was short, about 5'5", 5'6", for a Dutch person, very short, and they called him the turbine from hell. Okay? He's my inspiration for getting Muay Thai also, and he's no more. Rest in peace, but. That guy was just something else, man. And he came in Thailand and he fought the Thais in their rules. He beat all of them. He was given the Thai Fighter of the Year award, which is the first time in history that a foreigner got it. Okay? And Tio Pai was in Holland and European circuit, like Muay Thai just started booming. And there was this one fight between Rick Rufus and a Thai fighter, kickboxing versus Muay Thai. And this one, the first round, the Muay Thai fighter got destroyed. And then by the time the fight ended, Rick Rufus had to be carried away on a stretcher and he had to have surgery on his legs and stuff. Okay? And it's a highly televised show. It's a highly televised, but like a lot of people got into it. And this European Western circuit, it started booming there. Okay? And then Japan came up with K1 and Pride.
So K1, I remember K1.
Oh, K1 let's a K1 it catered to like the world in a way. And so K1 ko sabai legendary they came up.
You call it UFC थिएन
UFC was Pride was before UFC.
किनकि K1 especially मैले सुनेको चाहिँ धेरै पहिलादेखि हो. Long before like I ever knew about UFC.
K1 त plus हामीले एसियामा भएर K1 को बारेमा अलि धेरै सुन्ने chances are higher. But yeah, K1, so the first one was Pride. Pride र K1 around the same time निस्क्यो. Pride मा चाहिँ they used to do MMA अनि K1 मा चाहिँ kickboxing हुन्थ्यो. अनि बुकाउहरू सबै K1 बाटै आएको. They all got famous from there. But yeah, man, K1 त धेरै अगाडि. Matter of fact, when I first started training, MMA भन्दा kickboxing was slightly kind of almost bigger भनौँ न. Like Badr Hari and Ernesto Hoost, Peter Arts, all these legends back then, they were the names that would pop up. अहिले जस्तो a fighter भने Conor McGregor, Khabib, all MMA fighters. त्यतिखेर चाहिँ fighter भन्दाखेरि it would be, because boxing was at that point dying, अनि अहिले त बक्सिङको नि रिसर्जेन्स भएको छ त्यतिखेर त इट वाज अलमोस्ट डाइङ सो फाइटर्स भन्दाखेरि बादरहारी वाज द ब्याड बोय होइन यस्तो यस्तोहरूको नामहरू आउँथ्यो अनि एट द्याट पोइन्ट त्यही भएर नि होला बट या आई थिङ्क around somewhere around the early 2000s and 90s it boomed के अनि त्यसपछि Thailand is a fun place, it's a beautiful country and to go there, train, fight, a lot of people fell in love with that, including me. त्यहाँ गयो ट्रेन गऱ्यो फाइट गऱ्यो अलिक पैसा कमायो फेरि ट्रेन गऱ्यो फाइट गऱ्यो इट्स अ गुड लाइफ when you're single and you don't have responsibilities and all that.
So कुरा गर्दा तिमीले सिंगल भएको मिस गरे जस्तो
No. I wouldn't trade it for the world, man. This is that, I wouldn't trade it for the world. But it's a different phase. Like life is all about phases and accepting the phase that you're in, or the phase that you've entered or you're about to enter. I've wholeheartedly accepted my phase and happily also. But त्यो फेजमा हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ I have very fond memories of that also.
Why did you get into Muay Thai?
I don't really know, man. Like it's a weird thing. It's something that always stayed in the back of my mind. पहिला सानो हुँदाखेरि ड्याडसँग एकचोटि टिभी हेर्दा there's something about Muay Thai. I don't know if it was a Muay Thai fighter in a movie or if it was a real Muay Thai fight. I was just a baby. And this is like we just come out of the black and white era अनि टिभी हेर्दाखेरि ड्याडले यो मुई थाई फाइटरहरू त यिनीहरू त पागल हुन्छ रुख बजाइन्छ भनेको थियो लात हानेर
So your dad knew about Muay Thai fighter?
Yeah, my dad's a karate black belt.
Okay.
So that's kind of like in the blood.
Right.
So probably भन्नुभएको थियो and I was like, what do you mean रुख बजाइदिन्छ right? But as a kid you only understand अहिले गएर पो banana tree अनि so that always stuck with me अनि I started relatively late ke martial arts. I was in my 20s already. And the reason I started was because I Delhi ma the and I was just wasting my life, man. Like I was wasting it in every way, doing everything I shouldn't be doing, wrong habits, wrong everything. And I was like, come on, I'm better than I have more brains than this. And if I keep going this path, I know what the outcome is. I've seen it with all my friends. Like so many of the kids that I grew up with, I've seen it. And त्यतिखेर त नेपालमा अलि उयो पनि थियो नि like with the drugs and everything it was really bad ni I've seen so many people and I was like nah this is not for me भनेर to get healthier actually I went to get fitter just overall health improvement got first class गरे by the time I finished my class I was like this is my life म अरु केही गर्दिन this is what I'm going to do with my life त्यही थाहा थियो you just know ni sometimes त्यही भयो अनि Yeah, man, it's been a crazy journey.
तिमी दिल्लीबाटै सुरु भएको
हजुर सो त्यहाँ दिल्लीमा मेरो त क्रेजी थियो मेरो कोच अलिक क्रेजी थियो कि हि इज डच टु अनि पागलै थियो क्या हि जस्ट अ फकिङ ऱ्यान्डम गाई क्या अब अति राम्रो कोच होइन रियली गुड यताको ओके
अलराइट ए यहाँबाट अहिले ठिक छ पर्फेक्ट अलराइट अनि
So he was a really good coach, and he used to actually train with Ramon Deckers.
Okay.
So the second he said, I trained with Ramon Deckers, I was like, my life is yours, man. You do what you want. I'm your student. You do whatever you want. This is one. Ani tara ati random मान्छे के उसलाई रमाइलो धेरै गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ नि उसलाई पार्टी गर्नुपर्ने उसलाई अब ड्रिङ्क गर्नुपर्ने अनि क्रेजी कुराहरू गरिदिने पेरेन्ट टिचर मिटिङमा उसको छोरीको पेरेन्ट टिचर मिटिङमा मुइथाई सर्ट भेस्ट लगाएर गइदिने त्यस्तो खालको मान्छे कि अब बाद इज बिग 6 फुट समथिङ गाई अनि यो बलिउड मुभिजहरूमा एक्टिङ स्याक्टिङ गरिदिने भिलन भएर एक्टिङ गरिदिने क्या त्यो क्रिसमस हो क्या या म्यान ऋतिक रोशन kills him with a fucking gas cylinder bro it's the craziest thing I've ever seen I was like that's my coach man gas cylinder le hamero maadira Hrithik Roshan le and then they called him for Krish too and he's like I fucking died in the last one man it's really funny but he's just a crazy guy ani ulai bhete ani as he knew like you just know when someone really loves it so first time he knew like hey this guy really loves it and I'd be there first guy at the gym last guy to leave working all the time and then I was like every day I was like I want to fight and he's like you joined 4 days ago and then I was like no I want to fight then 1 month later he's like okay I'll put you in for the nationals man
1 month man
yeah okay. Directly India nationals ma halidinchu wow you represent Delhi and because we're the only ones from Delhi love and guy fuck bro it's like gauma kya गाउँमा आउटडोरमा लिटरली आउटडोरमा होइन रात परिसक्यो क्या त्यहाँनिर होइन अनि there's a fight going on inside the ring and there's a fight going on outside the ring.
यति ग्राउन्डमै
ग्राउन्डमा चाहिँ ब्रो गाउँलेहरूको फाइट क्या. यसले मेरो छोरालाई हान्यो लट्ठी सट्ठी लिएर इन्सेन नि. अनि त्यहाँनिर फाइट गरेँ. आई ह्याड माई फर्स्ट फाइट होइन, घरमा पनि भनेको थिएँ मेरो फर्स्ट फाइट छ यता भनेर गएर फाइट गरेँ, जित्यो. अलिक खुसी भयो. लाइक या म्यान गट इट म्यान. एभ्रिबडी इज लाइक कङ्ग्रेचुलेसन्स. केम ब्याक टु द चेन्जिङ रुम, टुक अफ माई ग्लोभ्स. अनि सिनगार्ड एमचुमा सिनगार्ड खोल्नु आएको थियो. माई कोच कम्स इन, ही लुक्स एट मी एन्ड लिटरली उसको बोल्ने तरिका व्हाट द फक आर यु डुइङ टाइप हो क्या. And I was like, खुसी हुनुपर्ने के भयो मान्छे. Yeah, we won. No, you have another fight. Bro, right then he told me, like, he knew I would have more than one fight. I had no idea. Like, मलाई केही थाहा छैन. He's just हाँस्दै क्या अझ.
कस्तो त्यो, is it like त्यो knockout event हुँदै?
Yeah.
Okay. That's nice.
Like, I fought 10 minutes ago, man. It's like, you have another fight right now. कहाँ त्यहीँबाट फेरि सिनबार लाएर त्यत्तिकै हेल्मेट लाएर भित्र गएर fought again. Won that fight also. And त्यसपछि चाहिँ then he said, then I think he took me seriously. He's like, त थाइल्यान्ड जा, तँलाई यहाँनिर मैले सक्दिनँ. Like, I can give you so much, but I have my own shit going on. And he had a lot of shit going on. So त थाइल्यान्ड जा, म भनिदिन्छु भन्यो. अनि थाइल्यान्डमा कुरा गरेर he sent me out to Thailand. त्यहाँ गएर ट्रेन गऱ्यो. And then the never looked back, man.
Thailandमा like where did you train?
I've trained all over, man. Pretty much.
मैले त सुने टाइगर मुay थाईको चाहिँ मैले कति सुनेको छु होइन. फाइटर्सहरू अल अक्रस द वर्ल्डबाट आउँछ. इभन युएफसी फाइटर्सहरू कतिजना आइरहेको हुन्छ.
दे हेभ लाइक डेन अफ च्याम्पियन्सै भन्छ क्या. सो टाइगर मुay थाई चाहिँ, सो द फर्स्ट मुay थाई जिम आई एभर वेन्ट टु इन थाइल्यान्ड वाज टाइगर मुay थाई.
ओके.
एन्ड इट्स फनी हाउ लाइक
थाहा भएर नि गएको.
मेरो कोचले पठाएको. अनि नाउ इट्स कम लाइक अ फुल सर्कल वेयर मी एज अ कोच आई टुक माई 2 स्टुडेन्ट्स टु टाइगर मुay थाई क्या आफ्टर 14 years. सो टाइगर मुay थाईको चाहिँ कस्तो भने उनीहरूले के गर्यो भने थाइल्यान्डमा खास मुay थाई हो नि त. सबैले मुay थाई त मुay थाई नै सिकाउने हो नि. अनि सबै इन्स्ट्रक्टर्स थाइज नै हो एट द एन्ड अफ द डे. उनीहरूले चाहिँ के गर्ने ट्रान्सलेट खतरा गरिदियो कि. सो द वेबसाइट वाज नाइस, द लाइन्स अफ कम्युनिकेसन वाज रियली गुड. द कोचेससँग नि कुरा गर्नु वाज इजी हुन्छ नि. सो फर समबडी हु डजन्ट स्पिक थाई, विच इज प्रिटी मच द होल फकिङ वर्ल्ड अदर देन थाइल्यान्ड होइन, इट्स रियली हार्ड टु गेट बाई लाइक ट्रेनिङ. म कतिवटा अरू जिम्स गएँ क्या, त्यहाँनिर चाहिँ ट्रेनिङ अति खतरा हुने तर बिचरा कोही पनि इङ्ग्लिस बोल्दैन क्या. सो कम्युनिकेसन ग्याप हुने क्या. अनि कतिवटा अरू जिम्समा चाहिँ टाइगर मुay थाईमा चाहिँ अलिकति कम्फर्टेबल पनि छ कि. यु क्यान गेट लाइक अ नाइस कम्फर्टेबल रुम. अनि अलिकति पैसातिर हेर्ने यु क्यान लिभ मजाले नै कि. अब कतिवटा जिममा म गएको जिमहरूमा त अब हामी क्याम्पमै सुत्थ्यो कि.
मोर अफ हार्डकोर जिम.
सबै केटाहरू एउटै ठाउँमा सुत्ने, सबै त्यहीँ ट्रेन गर्ने. अनि लाइक इमेजिन लाइक यु इन अ रुम विथ 6 अदर बोइज. They all speak Thai and you're the only dork out there. केही बुझ्दैन के भनिरहेको छ होइन. अनि like you're living with them. You're not just like going there for a weekend. You're living with them.
Right.
You're part of their daily life. You wake up in the morning, you run, you come back, you train, you cook food, you wash dishes, you wash clothes.
आफै पकाउनु पर्ने, एभ्रिथिङ आफै गर्नु.
सबै मिलेर गर्छ. टिम एफर्ट हुन्छ. मिलेर खान्छ, त्यही मिलेर भाषा मान्छ. मास थियो अहिले त
आई थिङ्क लाइक क्याम्पहरू त्यो यु नो यु क्यान बुक होटेल्स अनि के रहेछ नि त.
थाइल्यान्ड पनि धेरै चेन्ज भयो नि ओभर लाइक द पास्ट 15 years. 15 years अगोको थाइल्यान्ड र अहिलेको थाइल्यान्ड त मान्छेले चिन्नै गाह्रो छ नि. बट या द टाइगर मुay थाई चाहिँ त्यो हो क्या. सजिलो छ, धेरै कोचेस छ. दे गट लाइक 40 च्याम्पियन्स म्यान हु आर इन्स्ट्रक्टर्स हुन्छ नि.
मुay थाई च्याम्पियन्सहरू,
वर्ल्ड च्याम्पियन्स. लुम्पिनी, राजदान जितेको गाइज गट मल्टिपल बेल्ट्स. 300+ fights. Each instructor has 300+ fights. So imagine the knowledge you can get from that. त्यसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ that's why Tiger Muay Thai today stands out as one of the best gyms in the world. Because भएको प्रडक्ट उनीहरूले सजिलो बनाएर सबैलाई केटर गर्न सक्ने बनाइदियो. अनि त्यसले गर्दाखेरि त्यो सक्सेसफुल. कुडोस टु देम म्यान, वेल डन. इट्स ग्रेट.
दिस थाई फाइटर्सहरू त वर्षको नै 100-150 फाइट गर्छ भनेर भन्छ. लाइक इट्स लाइक कपाल अफ फाइट्स एभ्री विक. त्यसले गरेर त्यो ड्युरेबिलिटी इन द स्पोर्टलाई अफेक्ट गर्दैन?
फर स्योर गर्छन्.
हाउ डु दे लाइक डु 300-400 फाइट्स?
It's like if you look at most of the Thai fighters, other than the legends and the guys who really make it to the top, they retire at 21, 22, 20, 19 even. अस्ति हामी टाइगर मुay थाईमा गएर ट्रेन गर्दाखेरि there's one guy who was 17 years old and he retired with 200+ fights.
17-year-old. Wow.
Retired guys. He's got 200+ fights and he was helping the girls with their clinch work and stuff. So अब त्यो 7 वर्षको उमेरदेखि फाइट गर्न स्टार्ट गर्छ ब्रो होइन झाउ लाग्छ नि त हामीले पो मैले त 20s मा पाएँ मेरो त प्यासन भयो सो मलाई त्यो मैले डिफ्रेन्ट पर्सपेक्टिभबाट हेर्छु क्या तर समबडी हु इज 7 वर्षको बच्चालाई यु हेभ टु गो टु फाइट टु फिड यर फ्यामिली भन्यो भने त इट्स नट अ प्यासन फकिङ थिङ द्याट्स कलिङ यु देयर म्यान इट्स यर स्टमक एन्ड यर रेस्पोन्सिबिलिटिज नि 7 वर्षदेखि यु फाइटिङ एन्ड युड बिन डुइङ इट फर द पास्ट 10-15 years यु फाइटिङ once a week every week or twice a week हुन्छ नि you're getting Muay Thai is a brutal sport, man. The most brutal sport, more than MMA even, with elbows and knees and all of that. Like, and the art of elbows in Muay Thai is different, bro. Not everybody who throws elbows the same way. So the art of elbows is different. That's why he got some Muay Thai fighters. Like John Wayne Parr has over 200 stitches on his face, man. On his face alone, right? So till you got 20-21 वर्ष पुग्दाखेरि you've made a couple 100,000 baht, right? You've had a few hundred fights. Why do you want to do this anymore? Right now you can think for yourself. You're independent. You're not a 7-year-old child who's been told he has to go and fight. And so why would you want to do this? And your body's fucking damaged, man. Like Ramon Dekkers, towards the end of his career, he changed his stance completely because his heel was blown up. He shouldn't have been fighting. He's fighting once a week. And he no, he's no more. At his prime. Right. But he just switched stance and he started fighting southpaw. So they got a wear and tear massive. Okay? Matter of fact, across all combat sports, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say this. Across all combat sports, I think the most wear and tear would be in Muay Thai. It's not for everybody, man.
Yeah, plus the amount of fights that you're doing, especially if you're Thai fighters, every week, just a fight. And that is insane. You know, like if you look at UFC or MMA, actually injured bhayeपछि for months the train नै गर्दैन के let alone fight. Train नै गर्नु हुँदैन भन्छ like अहिले उसको कोरे असैट किक खाएको कुमार उसमा त्यसपछि like अब ट्रेनिङ गर्ने कि नगर्ने couple of months सम्म नगर्ने भनेर भन्छ के but like imagine all you're doing is like striking त्यो पनि at the highest form and त्यसपछि you're fighting every week
fighting killers.
Yeah.
So yeah एकदमै गाह्रो छ के like Nongo right now is 36-37 but he's somebody who's managed to sustain his career over a long period of time. कतिजना त सुरुमै टपमा पुग्छ नि एकैचोटि like okay you're Lumpini champion, you picked by K1 or you picked by Glory or you picked by 1FC भन्यो भने चाहिँ like you said elongate गरेर खेल्नु पायो के fight. So त्यो गर्दाखेरि उनीहरूको wear and tear मा पनि अलिक कम हुन्छ. But for the guys fighting countryside stadium fights in Thailand, like it's very difficult, man. It's very difficult.
What about like money कस्तो छ त उनीहरूको लागि motivation?
If you make it to Lumpini or Rajadhanam, these are the two big stadiums. Okay. If you make it to these two stadiums in Bangkok, the money might be fairly good, right? But countryside fights and stadium fights, the money, the fight purse itself is not very good. Plus the fight purse mostly, gym le lidincha ke. Tara ke huncha bhane fight purse huncha ani gym ko side bet huncha ke.
Okay.
So you're a gym owner, I'm a gym owner. Right. We've got two fighters. The fight purse is set, and then there's our side bet. Okay? And this side bet, but rural Thailand. But of course, if you go to camps like Tiger Muay Thai and you're representing Tiger Muay Thai, then you fight, you get your purse, you pay the gym fee, and then you train again. So it's simple as that. अब मैले गर्दाखेरि हामीलाई जित्यो भने 8,000 baht कि कति दिन्थे कि 7,000 baht. Back then it was 16,000. अहिले त 1:3.3.
1:3.5 करोड.
पहिला त it was 1 to 2 थियो. So 16,000 नेपाली हुन्थ्यो. एउटा फाइट जित्यो नि. अहिले
जित्यो भने जितेन भने
4,000 3,000
पाउँछ किन
अहिले त पाउँछ. तर किनकि त्यो ब्यान्डेज किन्दा सकिन्छ कि
त्यही त इन्सुरेन्स भन्ने थिङ त हुँदैन होला त्यहाँ पनि हुँदैन बाहिर त हुन्छ कि
हुन्छ बाहिर पनि हुन्छ बट अब यस्तो कि हामी यहाँबाट when we do insurance as a foreigner sports insurance यताउति हेर्दैन कि उनीहरूले
right
unless we go via the government हैन and you know how that is
तर लाइक नेटिभ फाइटर्सहरुको लागि भन्न खोज्छ नेटिभ फाइटर्सहरुको लागि त अहिले त के पनि छैन साउन्ड ठिक छ त नेटिभ फाइटर्सहरुको लागि इन्स्योरेन्सहरु भन्ने हुन्छ कि हुँदैन उतातिर
I don't think so, man. I don't really think so because त्यहाँनिर एउटा सर्किट भन्ने छ नि like these are the amateurs once you get to the amateurs त्यस्तो भन्ने नै हुँदैन कि you're a 7-year-old girl it's your first time to fight you're fighting no shin guards elbows knees everything and whatever if you get hurt आफैले गएर ठिक गर्ने त हो
यहाँतिर इन्स्योरेन्स भन्ने हुन्छ कि हुँदैन
सो हामीले GFN गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ हामीले सबै फाइटर्सलाई इन्स्योरेन्स गराउँथ्यो every single fighter insurance गर्छ
गर्थ्यो यहाँ इन्सुरेन्स कम्पनीजहरूले गर्छ
या अझ हामीले त लङ टर्म इन्सुरेन्स पनि गर्थ्यो सो आज फाइट गरेर ओभर द कोर्स अफ यति लामो पिरियड इफ देयर इफ समथिङ ह्यापन्स टु यु बिकज अफ द फाइट then your insurance you can claim and you can go for free medical.
That is important यो मैले अस्ति कुन चाहिँ फाइटमा सुनेको थिएँ Muay Thai फाइटमै कसको चाहिँ कन्कसन भयो कि कोमा पुग्यो कि भनेर सुनेको थिएँ मैले है रिसेन्टली कपाल अफ मन्थ्स अगाडिको कुरा हो एन्ड एज मच एज द स्पोर्ट्स इज ग्रोइङ एन्ड इट्स अ ब्रुटल आर्ट फर्म झन् पहिला त इन्सुरेन्स यो सबै भन्ने कुराहरू झनै हुन्थेन होला होइन स्पेसली यहाँ नेपालको कन्टेक्समा कुरा गर्ने हुन्छ कराते तेक्वान्डो सेभरल फर्म्स अफ आर्ट सेभरल इयर्सदेखि छ नि त नेपालमा त तर आई थिङ्क अहिलेको पोइन्टमा आइसकेपछि चाहिँ दिज आर द थिङ्स जहाँ चाहिँ कर्नर्स कट गर्नु चाहिँ हुँदैन जस्तो लाग्छ बिकज योर बडी इज एभ्रिथिङ व्हेन यु आर अ फाइटर
इट स्केयर्स मी अल्सो क्या लाइक अहिले कति धेरै फाइट्स भइरहेछ नि नेपालमा पहिला यति धेरै फाइट्स हुन्छ नि त एन्ड इट मेक्स मी ह्याप्पी बट एट द सेम टाइम इट स्केयर्स मी अल्सो क्या बिकज अब आई डोन्ट मिन टु से दिस बिङ अ ककी लिटल सिट होइन बट मैले जस्ट हार्ट्स टु बी अनेस्ट वाट आई फिल मेरो ओपिनियनमा इज लाइक मैले एउटा लेभलसम्म कम्पिट गरेँ त्यो लेभलसम्म मैले देखेँ मैले बुझेँ स्पोर्ट मैले देखेँ बुझेँ अनि त्यो बुझेर अन्डरस्ट्यान्डिङ लिएर म फर्केर आएँ अनि नाउ वेन आई पुट अप अ सो अर अ फाइट मेरो एक्सपर्टिज जे छ त्यो एक्सपर्टिज वाट एभर एक्सपिरियन्सेस आई हेभ फ्रम द्याट आई पुट इट इन्टु माई सोज राइट अनि त्यसले गर्दाखेरि आई नो द्याट मैले सकेसम्म सेफ इन्भाइरोमेन्टमा representing the spirit of martial arts in the right way, I'll put up a show. Now, the people who want, if there's other people who want to do the same, I'm more than happy, man. Like, it's good for the sport. But what worries me is that I know you haven't been on that level.
Right.
I know you've never fought there, you've never coached there, you've never experienced it, right? So all you've seen is secondhand information through either YouTube or somebody else's show or something like that. Are we really willing to put people's lives at risk via secondhand information? But that is one thing that worries me when it comes to like the fight scene right now. Okay? I'm very happy that it's growing. But if everybody starts doing it and it becomes like a Zumba party, then
right.
Even Zumba parties in the beginning were awesome. I know. Sabale overdo gare in the space it fizzled out. In combat sports, it won't fizzle out. Okay? People will die. People will get hurt. So you got to be very careful, okay? So every time I question, like if someone says, hey, this one's doing a Muay Thai fight or a MMA fight or a kickboxing fight, I'm like, who's organizing? What's their experience? What have they done in this? Have they fought? If they've never fought, then how are they organizing fighting events? त्यो त हुने कुरै भएन नि त लाइक डक्टरै नपढाए मान्छेलाई गएर सर्जरी गराउँछु त भन्दैन नि अनि यो कुरालाई चाहिँ किन यस्तो लाइटली लिँदा वेन you're talking about people's lives. If you look at India, last 3 months, 3 months, 4 months, India, 2 fighters died, man. On a worldwide scale, Barsama 2 fighters don't die. Like, is an average figure. If in 3 months 2 fighters are dying, one was a young girl, man. She was 17. If kids are dying, you know, India, khatra boom bhacha kya MMA and Muay Thai and all that. Like, it's massive. But गरेर मात्रै भएन क्या राइट वे गर्नु पऱ्यो पिपल हेभ टु पुट इन द टाइम दे हेभ टु लर्न द रोप्स एन्ड दे हेभ टु कम अप द हार्ड वे लाइक यु कान्ट जस्ट लुक एट द फ्रुट एन्ड डाइरेक्टली गो एन्ड ट्राई एन्ड पिक इट म्यान यु गट प्लान्ट द फकिङ ट्री एन्ड सोइल इट एन्ड वाटर इट हुन्छ नि यु गट पुट इन द वर्क मलाई चाहिँ त्यो लाग्छ क्या गर्ने हो भने कि त त्यो लेभलमा देखेको मान्छेले गर्नु पऱ्यो कि त त्यो लेभलमा भएकै कसैले एउटा सुपरभाइज गर्नु पऱ्यो होइन बट ऱ्यान्डमली 4-5 जना केटाहरू बसेर ए हामी पनि गरौँ न फाइट भनेर त्यो पार्टी गरे जस्तो होइन क्या डिजे बोलेर पार्टी गरे जस्तो होइन क्या त्यो नै कति गाह्रो छ बट यु टकिङ अबाउट 16, 17, 18 किड्सको लाइफ्स देयर एट स्टेक इट्स द मोस्ट डेन्जरस स्पोर्ट इन द वर्ल्ड राइट आई डोन्ट थिङ्क पिपल सी द्याट आई हेभ हर्ड अ लट अफ पिपल कम अप टु मी क्या दाइ हामी पनि इभेन्ट गर्ने सोचिरहेको फाइटिङ इभेन्ट दाइ हामी यहाँ गर्ने हामी त्यहाँ गर्ने हामी यो नो म्यान त्यसरी हुँदैन नो एन्ड द इन्टेन्सन्स आर गुड क्या हामी फाइटर्सलाई माथि ल्याउनु छ दाइ भन्छ उनीहरू बट यो इन्टेन्सन्स आर गुड बट कति कुराहरू अब त्यो नोटिसै हुँदैन क्या अनलेस यु बिन देयर हुन्छ नि कति कुरा नोटिसै हुँदैन क्या अनि मेरो भनाइ चाहिँ अहिले नि त्यही हुन्छ नि लाइक गर्ने भए गर बट डु द राइट वे म्यान लाइक whenever we do it, I'll never do it without the National Association signing off. I will never do an event without the national, because then whatever happens is not just my responsibility, it's the sports council and the sports authority responsibility. You have to look at it from a bigger perspective. Like, you have to understand that people could fucking die here. त्यो चाहिँ मान्छेले धेरै मान्छेले they know, but अलि brush aside गरिदिन्छ जस्तो लाग्छ.
तर like what about the government? I mean, like sports council को तिमीले जुन भन्यो नि त, are they up to their mark in itself? Like कतिवटा they are not doing a good job जस्तो लाग्छ. I don't know.
They have their restrictions.
Yeah.
हैन अब
I don't know उनीहरूको responsibility हो कि के हो हैन, किनभने त्यहाँबाट आएपछि लाइक अल द फाइटर्सले कम्प्लेन गर्ने त्यही कुराहरू. लाइक बक्सर्सहरूसँग कुरा गऱ्यो भने बक्सिङ एसोसिएसन यस्तो छ, ताइक्वान्डोको फाइटरहरू त्यो भन्छ. सो एट द टप एभ्रिथिङ राम्रो भएर तल गएर बिग्रिँदै जाने हो कि दिस ब्युरोक्रेसी एन्ड स्टफ लाइक द्याट. कि मलाई चाहिँ किन भन्छ वाइ एम आई टकिङ अबाउट दिस इज बिकज आई सी लाइक प्राइभेट अर्गनाइजर्स, प्राइभेट कम्पनीजहरू लाइक योर सेल्फ डुइङ अ बेटर जब के होइन.
यस्तो हो क्या ब्रो. लाइक I think being an association itself is saying मलाई गाली गर, right? Because जसले पनि चित्त बुझेन भने त कसलाई दोष दिने, एसोसिएसनलाई दोष दिने हो नि त. सो त्यसले गर्दाखेरि एसोसिएसनलाई इजिली टार्गेट पनि हुन्छ क्या एसोसिएसन. लाइक आइम नट पार्ट अफ एनी एसोसिएसन, राइट? आई हेभ मेड स्योर फ्रम डे वान आई डोन्ट वान्ट टु बी पार्ट अफ एनी एसोसिएसन. बट आई फिल फर देम अल्सो क्या. इट्स नट अ इजी जब हुन्छ नि. एन्ड हाम्रो एसोसिएसन्सले काम नगरेकै चाहिँ भन्नु मिल्दैन. बिकज टु बी अनेस्ट यो वर्षको नेसनल गेम्समा मुइथाईलाई डेमो स्पोर्ट भनेर गराइरहेको छ. सो देयर इज मुइथाई इज नट पार्ट अफ द नेसनल गेम्स, बट देयर फर द फर्स्ट टाइम इन हिस्ट्री मुइथाईको डेमो फाइट्स भनेर दे क्यान डु 3-4 फाइट्स. नेक्स्ट इयरको लागि देयर लबिङ रियली हार्ड टु मेक इट अ नेसनल स्पोर्ट विच विल बी पार्ट अफ द नेसनल्स एन्ड स्टफ. अब कामै नगरे बट त्यसको लागि हामीले वाह भन्ने नि कुरा होइन क्या, बिकज कामै त्यही हो.
उनीहरूको अन्डर लाइक फर इक्जाम्पल स्पोर्ट्स काउन्सिलबाट आएर अनि सबै डिभिजन हुन्छ होइन, त्यहाँतिर प्रब्लम हो कि. बिकज लाइक वी हियर अबाउट फन्डिङ यत्रो आयो, फन्डिङ पाउँदैन फाइटर्सले अर एथलिटहरूले अर वाट एभर इट इज मल्टिपल कुरा, नट जस्ट फाइनेन्सेस. सो सम काइन्ड अफ मिसम्यानेजमेन्ट हो भन्ने कि के भन्ने यार.
Mismanagement for sure, miscommunication for sure, and I think wrong intentions also. Okay? So I don't mean all, but there's people who get into sports. I don't know if I should say this. Fuck it. There's people who get into sports, into the sports sector, not in sports. People who get into the sports sector simply to do घुमाएको म्यान पावर चलाउनलाई क्या. सो कस्तो गर्छ भने मैले यो स्पोर्टमा मैले मेरो एफिलिएसन राखेँ होइन, यो स्पोर्टमा मैले मेरो रेजिस्ट्रेसन गरेँ. अब मैले बाहिरबाट एउटा ABCDEF कति धेरै अर्गनाइजेसन छ नि त ब्रो, कति छ नि त. लाइक फाइटिङमा हेऱ्यो भने आई एम जस्ट गोइङ टु टक अबाउट फाइटिङ बिकज माई फिल्ड अफ उयो होइन एक्सपर्टिज. त्यो गर्दाखेरि अब कति धेरै छ क्या. सो मेनी अर्गनाइजेसन्स आउट देयर एन्ड देयर नट अल गुड, देयर नट अल लेजिटिमेट हुन्छ नि. एउटा अर्गनाइजेसनको नाम लिएर आइदिन्छु, त्यसको फ्रेन्चाइज म यहाँ मैले बनाएँ भनेर भनिदिन्छु होइन. त्यो अर्गनाइजेसन कुड बी बेस्ड इन फकिङ मिडल अफ नोवेयर, राइट, इन अन द ग्लोब. त्यहाँनिर फाइट हुनु लाग्छ भनिदिन्छ. अब फाइट हुनु पनि हुन्छ, स्मल लेभल फाइट गराउँछ, नेपालबाट पनि पठाउने भन्छ. यु नो वेयर आइ एम गोइङ विथ दिस, राइट? सो देन ओ यु वान्ट टु गो फाइट फर नेपाल, ओके
पैसा देऊ.
You know exactly what it is. Yeah, and there's a lot of people who get these affiliations just for that. Okay? I've tried to like not get my name involved in any national or international affiliations. Okay? Because my intention comes into question. I'm a private businessman, man. Like, to be honest, I'm a coach. And
plus, I think like a lot of restrictions and especially all these stuff. Yeah. With that comes another responsibilities and especially liabilities of people, and especially you're not allowed to act जुन 100% decision लिन पाइरहेको छ त्यो पाउँदैन. And then everything, like, since you're the face, you're the most known person, and like everything falls on your shoulders.
तर फेरि एसोसिएसन there's a lot of people who've done a lot of hard work also क्या. मलाई उनीहरू नाम लाग्छ. कति मान्छे छ क्या हाम्रो एसोसिएसन. अब भन्ने नि भने मुइथाईको 3टा एसोसिएसन छ नेपालमै. ओके. लाइक वाट इज नर्मल, कतिवटा हुनुपर्ने, एउटा हुनुपर्ने होइन नेसनल भनेपछि त. अनि डज मेक सेन्स, हाउ डज द्याट ह्यापन? आई डोन्ट नो. अनि 3टै चाहिँ लाइक गभर्मेन्टमा रेजिस्टर्ड. वाउ. ओके. अन्डर द सेम नेम? नो. द्याट वुड ह्याभ बीन फनी. नेपाल नेसनल मुइथाई एसोसिएसन, नेपाल मुइथाई एसोसिएसन, नेपाल थाई बक्सिङ एसोसिएसन. सो 3टा छ क्या. राइट. अनि 3टैमा खतरा काम गर्ने मान्छेहरू पनि छन् क्या. लाइक रियली धेरै गरेछ कि मुइथाईको लागि. बट एट द सेम टाइम 3टैमा नर्मल रिप्रेजेन्टेटिभ पनि छ क्या. अब देयर इज गुड एन्ड ब्याड एभ्री. त्यो दुनियाँको द्याट्स द फकिङ यिन एन्ड याङ, राइट? वेयर देयर इज गुड देयर इज ब्याड. बट they're trying really, really hard, but they're, like I said in the beginning, right, they have their restrictions also. Muay Thai Association म राम्रो गर्न खोज्छु भने पनि उनीहरूलाई पनि रोक्दिने धेरै उयो, they have a lot of hurdles as well. So म चाहिँ के भन्छु भने your whole attitude of feeling sorry for yourself and like feeling like entitled, it doesn't sit well with me. अनि त्यो I can't catch a break type को attitude हुँदैन मलाई त्यो attitude मन पर्दैन के bro. And it's fucked up because like recently my life's been very difficult as well with COVID. So I find myself going, man, I can't catch a break, and I'm like के भन्नु. But त्यो attitude चाहिँ मलाई मन पर्दैन के. So when people sit there and say association ले यो गरेन, I say fuck, आफै गर नि त, आफै गर नि त, go out there, put yourself out there, figure it out, man. You want something, don't wait someone to come and fucking give it to you. But you can sit there feeling sorry for मलाई दिएन, like कसले दिन्छ, किन दिने, right? Why should anyone give you anything, man? Would you give anyone anything? Go out there and get it. You want something, go out there and get it. Figure out how to get it. You know what I mean? Like, don't just sit there saying, I want this, I want that, this one should have done this one, मलाई उसले केरा मात्रै दियो, उसले चना मात्रै दियो, मलाई उसले flight ticket दिएन, ठिक छ. You have a phone, you have TikTok, you have Instagram, so that means you know how to social network is part of social networking. Use that fucking networking, reach out to people, ask for sponsorship, ask for this, ask for that, say how, don't just say I want this, tell them what you would give them in return. I know if you sponsor me like this, I can give you this in return when I go to fight. Be your own fucking manager, man. Stop being a little bitch and crying about मलाई यो भएन त्यो भएन यो पाएन त्यो पाएन. I understand गाह्रो छ, सबैलाई गाह्रो छ, कसले गाह्रो छैन. स्पोर्ट्सम्यानलाई गाह्रो छ, यस नेपालमा स्पोर्ट्सम्यानलाई गाह्रो छ, कसलाई गाह्रो छैन यार नेपालमा. तर नेपालमा एनी फिल्डमा गाह्रो छ, unless you're that top 2% of, you know, you got it all from generations back, right? सबैले गाह्रो छ. But don't sit there going like associationले यो गरेन, why are you sitting pointing out उसले के गरेन, तिमी आफै गर्नुपर्ने काम गर न, हैन त्यत्रो गरेर. I've seen so many people who've complained about the association, about the gym, about their coaches, everything, right? And then लन्त गएर फाइट गर भने गएर first round knockout. Now shut the fuck up. Like, what do you want? You know what I mean? If you want someone to put their time and energy in you, तिमीले नि त केही त दिनु पर्यो नि त. यतिकै फ्रीमा don't expect shit for free, man. हैन, because तिमीलाई मेरो सपना छ मलाई UFC फाइटर बन्नु छ भने हैन, त्यो भन्दैमा त के भोलि सबैजनाले आएर कसरी बनाउँ तपाईँलाई भन्दै त भन्दैन नि. Figure it out. Don't sit there crying. टिकटकमा बसेर I've seen so many fighters टिकटकमा बसेर डान्स गर्न सक्छ भने हैन, त्यो पनि नराम्रो होइन. If it makes you happy, do it. But at the same time, त्यही एनर्जी त्यही रिसोर्सलाई अलिकति राम्रो वेमा पनि युटिलाइज गर नि त, राइट? डोन्ट वेट फर अदर्स, म्यान. म त्यो चाहिँ चित्त बुझ्दैन क्या. द्याट्स वाइ आई फिल लाइक एसोसिएसन्सलाई अलिकति फेयर एन्ड चाहिँ छैन क्या. नो म्याटर वाट, इफ यर एसोसिएसन इज लाइक गर्दैन, यस 100% देयर इज ट्रुथ बिहाइन्ड इट. देयर इज नो स्मोक विदाउट फायर. क्यान द एसोसिएसन्स डु बेटर? क्यान द स्पोर्ट्स काउन्सिल डु बेटर? 100% दे क्यान डु बेटर. But so can we. Let's not just sit there pointing fingers.
Now, like, तिम्रो concerns regarding fighters and their safety and a certain kind of structure that's like who is going to be liable? यस्तो केसमा त अब like association कही भरमा पनि बस्न नमिल्ने भयो भने, किनभने I assume कि like associationमा पनि experienced people त नहोला.
True.
हैन, अनि सो त्यस्तो केसमा चाहिँ like how do किनभने some sort of legally identifying body त आखिर बनाउनै पर्यो.
Why did you appoint them? How does someone come into a position of power? How does someone get inside an association? The fighters ले त भन्छ त ल हाम्रो गुरु चाहिँ नहा, हामी उहाँको पछि लाग्छौँ, उहाँको सङ्गी हो, हामी त्यसमा रेजिस्टर गर्छौँ हैन. Why did you, like, you should have been smarter. Somebody made a fool out of you, and now you're upset that they made a fool out of you, but you don't want to accept that I've been made a fool out of because that hurts my ego, right? So I'll be like, I know he did me wrong. त्यो हो क्या. अब अफकोर्स लाइक मैले भने नि धेरै गर्नुपर्छ अझै स्पोर्ट्स काउन्सिलले. बट फक म्यान, हाम्रो होल कन्ट्रीले धेरै गर्नुपर्छ क्या, नट जस्ट स्पोर्ट्स. देयर इज अ लट फर अस टु डु एज अ नेसन, अ लट इन एभ्री सिङ्गल फिल्ड. बट इफ वी सिट हियर विथ दिस एटिट्युड अफ इन्टाइटलमेन्ट एन्ड इफ वी सिट हियर फिलिङ सरी फर आवरसेल्भ्स, इट्स नट गोइङ टु डु एनीवन एनी गुड, म्यान. इट्स रियली नट. छ त छ, अब टेक इच डे एज इट कम्स एन्ड बिल्ड फर योरसेल्फ.
What about concerns regarding safety? Like, what is it?
Concerns regarding safety. This is a big thing, eh? I've seen events. I won't take the name of events. I've seen events where fighters have been transported to the hospital in a taxi. I've seen events where fighters have been given injections in the middle of the fucking ring because they got hit with a nut shot or something like that. And I've seen... So medical team भन्ने ल्याइदिन्छ ए बाबा के को मेडिकल टिम त उसले त झाडु पखालेर हिँड्ने मान्छेलाई लिएर आइदिनु भएन लाइक मेडिकल टिम भनेर भएन नि त what knowledge does that medical team have about the sport? Like when we tied up for GFN with Medicity, हाम्रो Medicity को हाम्रो Tenzing जी हुनुहुन्छ नि, two of us, we actually sat down, we had a meeting, we said, look, this is what we need to look out for. This is fight ma hune चाहिँ yo. If there's a low blow, हामीले यति टाइम दिने हो, यो टाइममा उसले रिकभर भयो भने भयो, भएन भने हामीले it's no contest if it's unintentional, and then transport him to the hospital immediately, right? If there's a cut, where is the cut? If the cut is underneath, it's okay. It's not okay, but blood doesn't flow into your eyes, so you can continue to fight. If the cut is here, the blood's in your eyes, you can't fight. If the nose is broken, it's one thing, but if the nose is broken, the orbital is stolen at the same time, then you can't see, right? All these things. Now, like I said, I've been there, bro. मैले फाइट पनि गरेको छु, मैले फाइट गरेको देखेको छु, लाइक त्यो लेभलमा मैले एक्सपिरियन्स गरेको छु नि त. सो आई क्यान सिट डाउन विथ the person who runs a hospital and say, bro, these are the things, not bro, doctor, these are the things we have to look out for. And then he's prepared, right? But for somebody who's never seen it, you have the right thing in your heart, you know, passion tiksa. So कहिले देखेछ न भोलि गएर medical team आयो, there's a छवटै doctor लिएर आउन. But if somebody gets hit on the groin and you're giving the kid a fucking injection in the ring, there's a problem there, ni. There's a problem there, man. I've seen one fight event, bro. One guy got a cut. मेरै केटासँग खेलिरहेको थियो. My guy caught him with a nice elbow. He got a cut. कर्नरलाई पट्टी लगाएर पट्टीसँगै पठाइदियो फाइट गर्नु. He came in looking like a fucking pirate, man. Like he had a patch on his eye. I'm like, के गरिरहेको? Like, the fuck is going on? Literally, he came in looking like a pirate, bro. पट्टी लगाएर पठाइदियो फाइट गर्नु.
एउटा आँखाले मात्र देखिरहेछ.
And meanwhile, म त अपोनेन्ट हो नि त, मेरोलाई त फाइदा हो नि त. लाइक हिज ओन सिङ एन्ड आम गोइङ यो मिल्दैन, लाइक के गरेर यस्तो गर्नु हुँदैन. धन्नु त्यो पट्टि झऱ्यो होइन, खेल्दा खेल्दै पट्टि झऱ्यो के अरे. अब कसले टिपेर लगाइदिने त्यसलाई त. सो त्यही छोड्यो. रेफरी जस्ट किक्ड इट आउट. सो दिस आर टेलिङ यु लाइक the fastest growing sport or the most entertaining sport can turn into a fucking shit show and a circus like that in the wrong person's hand. Like, आउँदैन भने नगर, put some time in, सिक राम्ररी गर होइन. पट्टी लगाएर पाइरेट बनाएर पठाइदिइरहने त.
यहाँ चाहिँ एमेचर फाइट्सहरू मात्र हुने कि लाइक दे हेभ लाइक सिन गार्ड्सहरू एन्ड एभ्रिथिङ हुन्छ फाइट गर्दाखेरि
होइन. हामीले जिएफएन गर्दाखेरि हामीले चाहिँ सेमी प्रोफेसनल भन्ने गरेको थियो, विच ह्याड नो सिन गार्ड्स बट एल्बो प्याड्स. बट प्रोफेसनलमा पनि गराउँछ. आई थिङ्क देव डन अ फ्यु प्रोफेसनल फाइट्स हियर. तर त्यो यस्तो कि एमेचर प्रोफेसनल सबै भन्नुको लागि अब वाट इज द गभर्निङ बडी, अगेन ब्याक टु द सेम थिङ.
खासमा हुनुपर्ने क्वालिफिकेसन के हो? लाइक एमेचरबाट प्रो जाने भन्ने चाहिँ के हो? इज देयर अ प्रोसेस?
सो बाहिरतिर चाहिँ you have the regional circuit where you do the amateurs, and then after that you get a couple of wins. You feel you're good enough, then you sign with a big promoter, and then you go in for your pro career. यहाँ चाहिँ त्यस्तो हुँदैन कि यहाँ प्रो करियर भन्ने नै छैन नि त यहाँ. Let's be honest, like we're all just playing fighters sitting at home right now, man, because nobody is actually a pro fighter making money out of fighting in Nepal. त्यो गर्नुको लागि चाहिँ अब once you feel personally, or your team or your coach feels like you've had enough amateur experience, you're good enough to fight pro now. You experiences everything in fighting, so you're good enough to fight pro now. Then you make the jump if a promoter is interested in you. If not, you reach out to certain managers, like athlete or manage गर्ने हुन्छ कि यिनीहरू agents हुन्छ कि, and you reach out to them and they'll get you fights. Or in our case, what I do is अब मेरो फाइटर्सको लागि I look for fights for them personally, me and my team.
So मैले कहाँ बुझ्न खोजेको भन्नु चाहिँ एमेचरमा यु हेभ दिज सिन गार्ड्स अनि दिस एन्ड द्याट प्रोटेक्सन. प्रोमा गयो भने त्यो सबै हुँदैन होइन. सो नेपाल कन्टेक्समा प्रो नै गइँदैन भनेपछि वाइ रिस्क इट भन्ने कुरा आउँदैन फेरि.
सो प्रो यस्तो नै भयो क्या ब्रो, पैसा दियो भने त प्रोफेसनल भइहाल्यो नि त. पैसा लिने बित्तिकै प्रोफेसन जस्तो भयो नि इन अ वे होइन. सो वन्स यु पेइङ समबडी फ्रम इफ आइ एम गोइङ टु पे समबडी टु फाइट, I don't want them to fight with elbow. You know what I mean? Like, I'm paying for your services.
Right.
That's what you've trained for. That's your job. So why do you need padding? So the professional match in khasai त्यो उयो गर्दैन तर त्यो professional like guide गर्ने पनि एउटा उयो चाहिँ हुनुपर्छ के. So even the UFC will, whenever you watch a UFC event, Bruce Bufferले sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, New York State Athletic Commission मा चाहिँ त्यसरी हाम्रो चाहिँ एउटा athletic commissionले sanction गर्नुपर्ने हो के professional eventलाई, not by the Muay Thai Commission or Muay Thai Association, but by the
independent body.
Yes, government को नै like the overall sports council ले sanction गरेर बल्ल professional event गर्न पाउँछ भन्यो भने चाहिँ it's not an underground fight.
What about these association जुन तीनटा छ भन्नु पर्ने उनीहरु नै aren't they representatives of the government?
So association also comes under the athletic commission ni ta. So Muay Thai association comes under the sports council ni ta. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
So directly sports council ले Muay Thai लाई यो event गर है भनेर allow गर्यो भने चाहिँ that's like one way of doing it. Okay. हामीले GFN गर्दाखेरि so we had to get a letter from the sports council and we had to get a letter from the Muay Thai associations.
कतिको गाह्रो थियो त्यो गराउन किन it was the first time something like that big was happening हैन अनि
when you love it it's easy man. Like मलाई त रमाइलो लाग्छ नि त
हैन like in terms of यो सबैजनासँग permission लिनु पर्ने and this and that हरु
गाह्रो छ तर
permission I mean like were they accepting of it?
Okay. Yeah, because I'm doing their fucking job for them man, to be honest. Fight गराउनु उनीहरु काम हैन. Right? To be like man कसै त्यस्तो भने हैन but fight गराउनु त कसो काम हो? If you're an association you should be doing fights man. Y'all didn't do it so I had to do it. Not like I'm some rich kid walking around lots of money to distribute to people man. Nobody did it so I did it. Like someone had to do it and I knew like मैले त्यहाँनिर मेरो ओभनमा यस्तो खतरा खतरा च्याम्पियनहरु पकाएर राखिरहेको छु हैन like in my gym बिचारहरुले कहीं त they have to be able to show what they've done, worked hard the whole year, कहीं त देखाउनु पर्यो भनेर ल okay. And I'm thinking like these guys are working this hard when they go to fight अब amateur nationals यताउति there's a lot of guys who are giving them a tough competition. They're also training. उनीहरुले नि त ट्यालेन्ट देखाउनु पाएन अनि कतिवटा ट्यालेन्ट मिस आउट गर्ने हामीले यसरी. How many Messis and Conor McGregors and Ali's do you think we missed out on man like man? Because everybody just stops doing it. So त्यसले गर्दाखेरि कहीं चान्सेस छैन कहीं प्लेटफर्मै छैन त्यही भएर ल त प्लेटफर्म बनाऊँ let's like make this glamorous as fuck make it fun for everybody भनेर गरे हो कि. But again like we had to take permission from all these different it's not easy hey I won't lie it's not easy getting all these like red tape is never easy but it's not impossible yeah like you've got to want to do it and most people they want to like if you want to be successful you've got to do you got to have three things and the first thing is easy. So you got to have a dream, you got to have a plan and you got to have execution, right? The easiest thing to have is a dream.
True.
Everybody has a fucking who does not? Everyone has a dream. So the dream like reality banana the plan banana so the planning is a lot harder than the dreaming, right? Way harder. But to make that planning into a reality, you've got to have execution. And execution is the hardest of all. And that's where people either give up, a lot of people give up at the dream itself. Some people will move up and give up when it gets to the planning phase. And most people will give up when it comes to execution. There's only a few that will actually stick by and see it through. Okay? Because execution is not always easy. It's the hardest thing. And give up, kati man laksa, kati break holas laksa. Like, I'm going through it right now, man. I'm not some successful rich guy who's sitting here telling you about how to be successful. I'm still trying to make it on my own. But from my little expertise and knowledge and experience that I have, I feel like this is the key. You have to have a dream, you have to have a plan, and you have to have execution. But you also need to understand that it's not easy. Like, it's really hard. Execution is the hardest thing you could do. And most people give up there. Like, there's so many times in a day that I feel like I want to give up. And then I have to tell myself, stop being a bitch. You can't. Because you can't. If you give up, you look at the fucking hole that's behind you. I know. I don't know, man. I just feel like that. Yeah. So in this field also, I think like a lot of people have a lot of dreams, but not a lot of them have plans. And those that have plans, they don't have the grit to execute. Yeah? And I feel like change.
No, this is something I have been telling everyone since the start. I've been in the fitness, I've been in the industry professionally for almost 9-10 years. I know. And personally, like 13-14 years. I've seen the transformation in the industry. होइन द होल फिटनेस भनौँ or whatever it is, it has been growing rapidly नै तर we are not at that point whereby you can make solid careers out of this right now. I mean like a few let's not talk about the 0.1%. And the जुन इन्डस्ट्रीमा जे गरेर पनि बोल तिमी एस्ट्रोनट बन्छौ नेपालमा बसेर भन्यो भने 0.1% लाई केही होला तर apart from that it's not an industry whereby हुन्छ नि majority of people it's not a भनौँ न it's not up there होइन. And so what I tell people is like you have to understand the reality of the industry itself before you get in. I mean like people have all these expectations and dreams because बाहिरको हेरेको छ अनि बाहिरको देखेको छ अनि बाहिर पनि 1% मात्र हो कि फेरि the people who make it हाम्रो त यहाँ त 0.01% पनि probability छैन के. And then त्यो reality बुझेर अनि त्यसपछि कमिट गर्ने हो भने गर तिमी त्यसपछि पनि तिमी पागल छौ भने गर त्यसमा होइन. अनि त्यो भएपछि मात्र यु विल स्टिक बाई इट. नत्र चाहिँ एउटा फल्स सेन्स अफ एक्सपेक्टेसन हुन्छ आयो 1 month 2 month 3 month 6 months केही पनि हुनेवाला छैन बिकज इन्डस्ट्री रियालिटी इज यो इन्डस्ट्रीमा फाइनेन्सेस छैन होइन. इट विल टेक प्रब्लली अनदर 5-10 years एटलिस्ट अलिकता टिनेज लेभलमा पुग्नको लागि पनि. अनि त्यसपछि लाइक आई क्यान रिलेट टु वाट युआर सेइङ के वेयर बाई पिपल आर जस्ट कम्प्लेनिङ भएन भनेर तर त्यो हुने बेला नै भएको छैन क्या अहिले. You should be into it because you want to be the first mover. You should be into it because you love it rather than anything else. अनि त्यसपछि त्यसको बेनिफिट्स 5-10 years पछि पाउँछौ होला होइन rather than like 10 years पछि छिर्ने मान्छे भन्दा चाहिँ if you do it right. So त्यो एक्सपेक्टेसन नै I think most people को expectation is far from reality.
I think like where it all goes wrong is like when they start mixing the two, okay? When they start mixing being an influencer, like when they're confused in their head, when they think I'm going to get into fitness so that I can be famous, right? Or I'm going to get into this sport so that I can be popular. There, I think like, and then when you see that, okay, I'm not just going to get popular, I'm not just going to get famous, I'm not just going to be rich and an overnight sensation, but like isn't that reality sinks in, and then you realize suddenly, okay, maybe this isn't my passion. तर त्यो भन्नुभन्दा मैले अघि भने त्यो भन्नुभन्दा अरू कसैलाई दोष दिन सजिलो छ नि त. एज ह्युमन बिङ्स इनहेरेन्टली हामीले आफूले एक्सेप्ट गर्नुभन्दा त अरूलाई दोष दिन धेरै सजिलो छ नि त. I mean, I do the same. I'm not like made out of gold. I feel the same way. I have the same tendencies. It's always easier to blame somebody else. Okay? Like, मेरे जिममा अघि we were talking about before we started. Like, I had a massive team, man. At one point, I had like 25-30 instructors. 25-30 instructors in one gym. You know what I mean? Like, and I wish all of them nothing but the best now, okay? Wherever they are in life, whatever they're doing, I wish all of them nothing but the best. But for me, for somebody who's been in this for almost 15 years, who's been coaching now for like 15 years, and because I was coaching when I was fighting too, I can tell by looking at somebody like most of the time, hey, he's not going to be in it for a long time. So even when I had like a team of 30, I knew like कतिजना चाहिँ बस्छ कतिजनाको लागि फेज हो कतिजनाको लागि स्टेपिङ स्टोन हो कतिजना चाहिँ फल्स एक्सपेक्टेसन्सलाई सायद लिएर आएको छ भनेर के. एन्ड लङ रनमा इट वन्ट वर्क आउट के. इट जस्ट वन्ट वर्क आउट. एन्ड लाइक यु सेड पिपल कम इन लुकिङ फर मनी, पिपल कम लुकिङ फर फेम, फर सक्सेस, फर दिस द्याट. देयर सो मेनी अदर वेज अफ डुइङ द्याट. इफ यु वान्ट, देयर सो मेनी अदर वेज अफ डुइङ द्याट.
Exactly what I'm saying. I mean like if you want money from something or fame from something, it's not bad, but you have to understand the reality of like the situation. I know you industry but ke expect garnu सक्छ. Although this is what I want, the educated decision making हुनु पर्यो भन्न खोजे कि. I mean like if your primary focus is on generating wealth or like you said popularity, you have to understand that यो इन्डस्ट्रीमा छिरेर त्यो गर्नु चाहिँ अलि गाह्रो चाहिँ छ है. So I'd rather spend my time and energy somewhere else, or if I want to get into it, I'd better know that like it's not going to happen in the next 6 months. It's probably going to take another 6 years. So and I wouldn't just talk about this in your fitness industry ko kura matra pani. In general, that's what I see. I don't want to sound like some sore old guy tara. I don't know, your generation much everybody feels so entitled just to like and that I see that everywhere. Like simple kura jasto मलाई चित्त नबुझ्ने. Like I studied BIM हैन अनि bachelor's गरे राम्रो good grades. तर जुन पनि फिल्डमा if you feel like मैले ब्याचलर्स पढेँ सकाएँ सर्टिफिकेट पाएर हुन्छ आई निड टु गेट द्याट जब द डे आई पास मलाई यति अमाउन्टको स्यालेरी चाहिन्छ द्याट्स नट गोइङ टु ह्यापन वर्षमा लाखौँजना ग्रेजुएट भइरहेको छ वाट इज द्याट युनिक थिङ द्याट यु ब्रिङ अन द टेबल सो यु हेभ टु अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड द्याट यु हेभ टु अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड द रियालिटी अफ द वर्ल्ड द्याट वर लिभिङ इन द कन्ट्री द्याट वर लिभिङ इन द फाइनेन्सेस के भइरहेछ अहिलेको सिचुएसन के भइरहेछ जब हुनु नै इट्स अ बिग थिङ राइट नाउ and this is going to keep on continuing for the next at least for a year or two.
Yeah, for sure.
So your reality but don't be like an ostrich one once again to hold with a towel look at nothing else exists when reality doesn't exist.
Like this the generation that's coming up, I'm super excited for this generation, man, to be honest, because yes, of course, like a huge part of it is very entitled because they grew up in comfort, you know. And there's nothing wrong with growing up in comfort.
Yeah.
Like, the new generations not had to hear story. Like, हामीले पनि war त देखेन. अब देख्यो हामीले, we saw the यहाँको
Maoist thing.
Exactly, we saw all of that. But war as such, and famine and disease and this, हामीले त्यस्तो देखेन. But we heard very close stories from our parents or grandparents who'd experienced all of that, right? And then hearing it from them, it makes it very real for us. So हामीलाई पनि त्यो level of comfort and this, that खोज्नु भन्दा we're like, fuck, that's a tough world out there भनेर त we've always been brought up with that. Fortunately for the new generation, they've not had to go through that, which is a good thing. Nobody should have to go through that shit, man. And which is very good. But there's some who've taken the route of entitlement, right? Like we said, there's always good and bad in it. But the others that are there, like this generation really gets me excited, bro, because the weakness where they've had only comfort is also their strength, okay? They've had access to so much information, so much knowledge, so much of everything. The world is so small for them. Okay? For the generations that came before us, with the world being as big as it was, they still made so much progress. Okay? Imagine what the brain of tomorrow will do with all the information, all of that they have here. Okay? The only problem I see in this is like, you know, where I was talking to one of my nephews actually about the same thing, and there is difference sign. My nephew boy. And I was like, look, man, the problem is this. Most people believe that they're special. Everybody does. Because their mom or their dad or their sister or their boyfriend, girlfriend, somebody, oh, you're special. And mommy, papa, you're special. Because I'm a vocal, it's special. Right? So you go out into that world feeling you're special. So you got your degree. You got good grades. You already special पहिलेदेखि, and now jobs offers should be fucking lining up at your door. But the reality of the matter is you're not fucking special. To the world, you are not special until you do something that makes you special. Right? You've got to prove your worth and prove to the world that you're special. Just believing that you're special because my mom told me I'm special, it doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. Okay? And getting over that hurdle is a problem for people. Okay?
Yeah.
But I was told, मलाई भनेको थियो हैन म त हो स्पेशल हो त्यो हुन्छ के मान्छेलाई चाहिँ त्यो they don't want to accept म कोही नै हैन रहेछ.
Several stages of life मा त्यो आउँछ. Like this generation को good thing is that young age मा they are so aspired to do something. I mean like 18, 19 मा they want to start a business. मलाई त खै त्यतिखेर त खै के गरिरहेको थियो हैन. So त्यो aspirations and त्यो the dreaming part चाहिँ more accessible, which is not a bad thing. It'll get you started. But then to actually plan and to execute and to putting in the hard work where to plan गर्ने बेलामा you understand the ground reality के रहेछ भनेर त्यो keeping that in your mind and then planning and executing, it's a different thing. Rather than कि like हुन्छ नि म अब ड्रिम गरेँ म भइहाल्छु भनेर के. And that is where the disconnect lies. That is an issue.
So I think a little bit of the old school work ethic mixed with the new school everything else, I think we'll have like a race of superhumans, man.
And plus you recent 5-10 years ma this narrative that you पढ्यो भने careers better पाउँछ, यो पढ्यो भने better career आउँछ, त्यसरी सेल गर्यो नि त like colleges हरुदेखि लिएर everything ले. And so it's set within them कि like मैले यो पढेँ or मैले यो गरेँ तर now म ग्रेजुएट भइसक्यो, where's the line job को.
True.
So त्यसरी चाहिँ मिक्स अप भएको जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई.
Oh, The expectations unreal बनाइदिन्छ क्या उनीहरूको like they're set up to fail almost because colleges ले भन्दाखेरि oh you come here and then you'll go there you get in here and you'll get a placement there type with they almost sell a dream that way, not directly, but they try to kind of like get to that point only, and then when it doesn't happen you're just hit with this fucking reality and then you go into depression and you're sad and you feel like this that. Why? Because अब त्यो खट्ने बानी छैन नि त हैन त्यो पनि भयो नि त if you grow up in comfort खट्ने बानी त हुँदैन नि even fighting like सबैले भन्छ कि you think Conor McGregor will be back like before भनेर मलाई सोध्छ कि कतिजनाले like maybe not but I know one thing for sure man it's hard to wake up and run in the morning if you're sleeping in silk underwear you don't want to wake up and run at 4 o'clock in the morning man sleeping in silk underwear if you're sleeping in a bed with a fucking hole and the water leaking and the only way out of that hole and that water is getting up training and becoming a fighter then yes but then again there's some fighters who fight because they need it like I said if you have no other way and then there's some fighters who fight because they want it and those guys are really dangerous too because उनीहरुले त्यो निडै छैन क्या they're just that special kind of psycho where like I want to fight no matter what so you never know how they'll come back but I know it's harder to wake up in silk underwear that's for sure man. I think like the comfort that the new generations have grown up with it's a blessing and a curse and I don't blame them man like I really don't blame them because we're all a product of our environments anyway I mean we're not perfect we're flawed as fuck and I also blame a lot of that on myself but along with that I realized that my environment also made me who I am you know?
Yeah especially like this is something मैले आफुलाई पनि relate गर्न सक्छु कि in this situation where you know social media gets to you feel like there's every third or fourth post एकजना motivational speaker ले के लेखिरहेको हुन्छ motivational quote हुन्छ and it gets to you and that's good you know because like initial journeys ma before you start something you need something to get you fired up and but that doesn't keep going then you have to understand okay this is what's getting me started but then I need something inside me that's going to push me further because reality is it's going to take you whatever you're doing like 5 years 10 years 15 years लाग्छ नि 6 months मा हुँदैन 1 year मा हुँदैन and then the motivation is just going to last you for 6 months what's going to carry you for the next 5 to 8 years or so exactly this is what I like tell everyone people jolly been say like how do you get to the gym every single day kind of kuraharu garcha ni ta like I'm probably sure you don't care about like whether you're motivated or not it's just a routine
man
garirako cha like regardless of whatever happens you're going to get to the gym right so initial 1 month 2 months like I see a lot of people coming into the gym and outside a couple of months which very hard also it's because the motivation got you started but you never got to the discipline part
but garo cha ni discipline build garnu right to do something that you don't want to do it's the hardest thing ever especially when you have a choice to not do it when you're young you don't want to study but your parents tell you study you don't have a choice that's a different story but now like when you're a grown ass man and you know you have to do something but you also know that if I don't want to do मैले नगरे नि हुन्छ है the repercussions are on me but मैले नगरे नि हुन्छ है there like discipline is really hard and this is where I say this to a lot of people whatever you do and take accountability for it whatever you do or don't do
I 100%
take accountability for it like if I have something to do today and I don't do it because I was too fucking lazy and I didn't have the discipline to do it I won't do it right the only thing I can do worse than not doing what I have to do is blaming someone else for not doing what I have to do and this is a problem I see in a lot of people that say they want to work and they have a dream they won't do it but they'll happily look for someone else to blame if I'm okay I would rather have someone come up to me and say ma jaula yaar ma jaula garina I can respect that you're a human being you're allowed to have emotions right jaula आज जहिले जाउला भने it's a problem you're lazy right but आज एक दिन जाउला मैले गरिन whatever happens I take responsibility and I take accountability I can really respect that person but मैले गर्न सकिन तर खास त्यो मान्छे आएन अनि यस्तो भयो अनि त्यो then like I have no respect for that मैले त कुरै गर्न मन लाग्दैन because I won't say anything like I generally don't I'm not a rude guy I don't say stuff to people but in my mind it's already like you've already lost some level of respect in my head so I don't know. When it comes to discipline, also like people are very selective about it. I feel I'm like even me. I feel I'm really disciplined for the things that I like to do.
Well, I think everybody is. No robot by
Exactly. So if I have to wake up and train Prapti Parika, my 2 girls, I don't care, man. If it's 3:30 in the morning, I'll wake up, I'll go to the mountaintop and I'll watch them run. I'll run with them. You know what I mean? But if I have to go for a meeting or if I have to write a proposal, then ढाड पनि दुख्छ, टाउको पनि दुख्छ, त्यहाँनिर जानुपर्ने थियो के
No, it's all about priorities at the end of the day. You cannot prioritize every single thing. दिनमा त के मात्र गर्ने हैन, everything गर्न थाल्यो भने you won't be good at anything. So you have to prioritize your time, your energy. Like मलाई त कस्तो हुन्छ भनेपछि like म चाहिँ फेरि एकदम घरबाट निस्किन मन नलाग्ने काइन्ड अफ मान्छे हो कि अनि आई निड द्याट टाइम लेट्स से आम वर्किङ 1-2 दिन 2-3 दिन लगातार काम गऱ्यो अनि त्यसपछि आई नो समथिङ इज कमिङ अप भनेर चाहिँ आई निड द्याट टाइम टु रिचार्ज बिकज आई डोन्ट वान्ट टु वेस्ट इट अन अदर थिङ्स आई डोन्ट वान्ट टु इन्टरेक्ट टु अदर थिङ्स अरू स्टफहरू के सो आई प्रिजर्भ माई एनर्जी काइन्ड अफ फिल हुन्छ सो आई एम सेलेक्टिभ इन माई ओन वे त्यसरी चाहिँ on things that I want to do actually or I don't like interacting like we discussed Rocky like your whole life is your gym and similarly I don't like ekdamai crowd ma medal गर्ने and party I don't understand I mean like people are surprised त्यस्तो पनि मान्छे हुन्छ र भनेर तर I think we understand that
absolutely bro what you're saying that's I understand like I'm like a creature of habit. So I have a routine. I don't like breaking it. Whatever it is. It may not be the best fucking routine, but it's my routine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if I get up in the morning, like from the time I wake up to the time I get out of the house, it takes me an hour. I don't care if there's a fucking tsunami. I don't care if there's a world war. I don't care if King Kong is knocking on my door. I don't give a shit, bro. It's going to take me an hour. It's not going to change.
Right.
Like stop trying to fight it. Stop trying to change it. It's going to take me an hour. If you want me out at 6, wake me up at 5, right? Make sure I'm up at 5. But if you want me out at 8, don't wake me up at 7:30. I know what the urgency is. I don't care. Like it's just me. Mero whole day ma like if I have to meet this person, मलाई पहिले भने छ नि like you said mentally it takes me a second and I prepare myself and I'm like okay, I got it. Let's do this. We're doing this. But say at 10:30 if someone comes and tells me, "Oh, 11 o'clock you have to be here." I'm like, "No." It messes with everything like and a lot of people don't understand this guy. Even my loved ones, they don't understand this guy. Like what does it mess with? It messes with fucking me, man. Like it messes with my head. I have a process. I have a fucking way of doing things. You don't have to understand it. You don't even have to like it. You don't even have to respect it. Don't disrespect it. Right? Just sabko afno afno huncha. For me, it's that, man. Like, if you come to me at 10:45 and you tell me, oh, 11 o'clock, you have to go for a meeting and you'll get $500 billion. I'll be like, fuck that money, bro. Like, you set it up for tomorrow. Like, this billion, it's okay. I am me. I'll always be me. Like, I'm not going to change. Like, I'm a product of my habits and my rituals. And I'm not saying I'm right or wrong for that, but it's just me.
No, but then that is the part of discipline at the end of the day because that's repetition. You've been used to. I mean, like you know for sure that 1 घण्टा पर्छ म पुग्छु जहाँ पनि, right? And त्यो rituals भनेको habits in anything and everything, it is very important because without that, त्यो discipline कहिले पनि आउने वाला छैन के.
True. True. You just like let me justify it even more now. People are like, you know, going on.
No, because I understand from your perspective. You know, I feel like in this context, we're similar in a sense that malai pani to last moment plans or it doesn't work with me. Okay, it doesn't sit well. I need to be prepared mentally.
Yeah,
I know. And especially, I need to plan everything. Mala the weekly you kundin ki hunla cha na mala chahincha okay. Because without that, everything time no hune hoina.
Yeah.
You just mentally more ready.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not that I can't. It's I don't want to.
Right.
And like I live
it's
once.
It's not going to be efficient. Meeting like 15 minutes ma meeting I'm not going to be very efficient at it.
There will be no contribution from my side.
Yeah.
You wanted me here, I'm here. Like that'll be my attitude towards it. Yeah. I'm here only because you want. Like, of course, when I go on holiday and all this different thing. But if it's a working day, and anywhere from Sunday to Friday, I work 6 days a week. Anywhere from Sunday to Friday, if someone comes up to me and randomly says, "Oh, at this point you have," no, man. I have a set. Like in the afternoon, I sleep. Right? I'm going to say this with pride. In the afternoon, I sleep. I've been an athlete my whole life, man. What do athletes do? We eat, we train, we sleep. Now I've removed that sleep by 80%. When I was a competing athlete, maximum use garchu. But in the afternoon, after lunch, there's a period where I don't have to fall asleep. Okay? I just need to lie down and be on my own. Like, I need that time because it's kind of the movie ko half time. It's my day ko half time. Okay? And I need that half time because for me to reset and get ready for the second. As gym owners, our work is morning and evening is the most hectic, right? When most people come in. So if I'm not reset and ready for the evening, then my performance in what I have to do in my job in the evening won't be what I want it to be. It may be what अरूहरुको आँखामा ल ठिकै छ राम्रै गर्यो भन्ने हुन्छ होला के.
Right.
But मेरो आँखामा I know the class I can teach and I know the class I will teach if I don't get that. It's got nothing to do with rest. It's got nothing to do with physical need or anything like that. It's all in here.
Right.
And it's something like I'm a creature, I'm a product of that habit. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. I don't know, like, how would I know? Like with what I've done with my life. But it's me. That is the one thing I know for a fact. And I'm not going to change me, man. Like, it's, you won't like the version of me that comes out. The grumpy boy. Nobody likes that. Nobody likes a grumpy little bitch, man. And people want to see me happy. I want to see you happy. Like, that's what the world's about, man. Spreading good energy. But this go like the
yeah, no, I completely understand. I used gym run I used to sleep during the day. Like, this is something I don't like. Oily yatyo bhanda agadi diuso sutne bhane मलाई मनै पर्दैन. Like, sutne नै in general, I feel like it's such a waste of time on this place. तर सुत्नै पर्छ. Because I can feel राति मलाई at least 6 hours पुगेन भन्छ next day म fucked up नै हुन्छु के. अनि especially when I was like early days मा gym run गरेर आएको बेलामा चाहिँ 12 to 2 चाहिँ मेरो gym बन्दै हुन्थ्यो के, because म gym मा भित्र सुत्थेँ के.
Nice.
for a couple of years त्यसरी गरेँ, and then, no, that makes sense.
So, I mean, like, I know that I could be doing things that are productive at that point, but I also know that, like, मैले जुन टाइममा मेरो काम जुन हो नि त्यो गर्नु पर्यो, त्यो चाहिँ मैले I won't be able to.
No, I 100% believe in this philosophy that 80% काम गर तर do it at 100%. Yeah. And rather than nobody can do like 100% work, the 100% efficiency गर्न सक्दैन के. So be choosy about what you want to do, be selective about where you want to spend your time, energy and effort. त्यसलाई 100% गर्ने हो नि त. And त्यसमा habits build गर्ने हो नि त.
Absolutely. Like, rati ta ma nasuti basdinchu. If I have to just work throughout the night, no problem. But during the day, after lunch, like, there's this one period that I just need to be by myself and lie down and collect my thoughts. Okay? Most of the time, I don't even sleep. Like, I don't fall asleep. I'm just thinking, like, there's so many things going through my mind, and suddenly I'm just thinking of, like, so many fucking things. And I need that. Yeah? Especially post-COVID, like, you know what it's been like, man. It's been hell, man.
Insane.
Fitness industry, they fucked us over, man, like, for sure.
The first one to close and the last one to open.
Exactly.
Fitness industry.
And the most important thing in all of this is fucking fitness.
Exactly. Malta, like, first lockdown ko बेलामा चाहिँ it was justified for me because त्यतिखेर हामीसँग इन्फर्मेसन थिएन नि होला लाग्ने बित्तिकै मर्ला जिममा कोही मरिहाल्यो भने चाहिँ कसले रेस्पोन्सिबिलिटी लिने, प्लस अल दिस केओस भइरहेको थियो नि, त्यतिखेर आफूलाई पनि डर लागिरहेको छ, अरूलाई पनि डर लागिरहेको छ. सो त्यो सेफ्टी अनुसारले टोटली जस्टिफाइड, वी शट इट डाउन. त्यसपछि त्यसपछि खुल्यो सेकेन्ड वेभ फेरि सेम स्ट्राटेजी. संसारभरि अरू ठाउँमा त टेस्ट भइसक्यो त,
त्यही भने
होइन. अब फेरि अब त्यही मिस्टेक फेरि ओभर एन्ड ओभर अगेन. द्याट्स वाइ वी आर हियर अहिले.
त्यही भने
2 वर्ष बन्द गरेपछि इकोनोमी के हुन्छ त अनि त्यसपछि, होइन. यत्रो अनइम्प्लोइड, लाइक ठमेलको कुरा गर्ने भने त्यत्रो सर्टहरू बन्द भयो. एन्ड इट्स लाइक पिपल डोन्ट अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड हाउ इकोनोमी वर्क्स. एकजना सक्यो अनि त्यहाँ एन्ड हुने होइन कि, इट ट्रिकल्स डाउन.
Absolutely.
And that's what's happening right now.
Oh.
It's probably going to take us another 2-3 years to recover back to like 2018-19.
For sure. We've been pushed back, massively. We've been pushed back. We've lost a couple of years, like, not just in terms of staying at home and doing fuck all, but in terms of everything. Development, advancement, personal development, and suddenly personal goals. Like I told you, like right before the lockdown, we were at 300 members, man. I know. And with my business model, I don't need 1,000 members. Okay? It's always been like, let's keep it some way. And when we reopened, I had 16 people come back from the 300, man. And it's not because मान्छेलाई मनमा त्यो डर हाल्दियो क्या
डर हाल्दियो
ए जिम गयो भने चाहिँ कोभिड लाग्छ है लाइक फकिङ रेस्टुरेन्टमा त एक काँटा चम्चा फलामको चलाएर खाँदाखेरि केही पनि हुँदैन होइन जिमको फलाम छ भने चाहिँ फकिङ कोरोना भाइरस इज फकिङ सिटिङ लाइक द्याट हुन्छ नि आई गेट यु बिच टाइप बट द्याट्स लिटरली वाट मान्छेको मनमा त्यो डर हाल्दियो had to start from scratch man like all over with that investment as a business person you also know this man like after the 3 years when you start seeing your payback right you put in 3 years and you start seeing payback thak 3 years puga ma chahi it's like go payback like go back type so yeah man like it pushed us back massively
the thing is oily pani this is where I find it funny in a sense that you COVID ko lockdown second or third lockdown it was because of the people itself first government le garyo second like people would panic alikata cases badne people would panic and this pachi government le facilitate gardincha ke ani the very same people 3-4 months into the lockdown they're like अब के पनि हुँदैन number of cases घट्या हुँदैन है उतिकै हुन्छ peak मा I'm just sick of staying at home let us come out and त्यसपछि फेरि खुल्छ लकडाउन फेरि नर्मल 4 महिना फेरि अलिकति केसेस बढ्छ अनि फेरि those are people panic गर्ने फेरि I'm pretty sure अहिले फेरि त्यस्तो भयो भने अहिले फेरि प्यानिक गरेर फेरि लकडाउन गर्न लाउँछ कि
ब्रो मलाई त यो डेङ्गु हुन थाल्यो नि मलाई fuck man I was like they're gonna lock this shit down again please not again यो मच्छरहरुसँग अब के मच्छरसँग झगडा गरेर बस्ने हामी अब like where does this end man
it's going to be insane यार couple of years I mean like all of a sudden you're listening like यहाँ भाइरस आयो अनि त्यहाँ भाइरस आयो नयाँ भाइरस आयो फकिङ रसियामा के कहाँतिर अर्को कोभिडको स्ट्रेन आयो जुन यो प्रिभियस भ्याक्सिन्सहरूले छुँदैन रे अनि इन्डियामा लाइक क्याटल्स आर डाइङ थाउजन्ड्स अफ क्याटल्सहरू लाइक स्किनबाट खै के भएर अब हामीले कोभिड भन्दा पहिला भाइरसलाई मतलब नगरा हेप्या हो कि हैन all of a sudden I'm hearing like it's a conspiracy world जस्तो क्या
I think we pay more attention to it now
yeah we become more sensitive because of what happened with the COVID
end of the fucking world त्यही भन्छ end of I don't know about that but like I feel like I mean as a race human beings we're much stronger than we give ourselves credit yeah we'll get through it all but like just the whole fucking glorification of everything in the past 2 years because अब कसैले पनि गल्ती होइन सबैजना घरमा बसेर बोर भइरहेको थियो होइन
सुरुमा त हामी पनि डराएकै होला मलाई पनि डर लाग्थ्यो फर्स्ट केस नेपालमा आयो भने भन्दाखेरि त
poor girl man I feel so sorry for
exactly
I really feel sorry
for her
what the fuck man usko pun galti ho jati you think she wanted that shit she wanted to be the first person in Nepal with COVID like what the fuck is wrong with people man त्यतिखेर चाहिँ I was really like किनै बच्चालाई गाली गरेर बिचारा like she's sick as hell number one can you imagine being the first person in the country to get COVID can you imagine how scared you must be like what you're going through हुन्छ नि for people who got it me I never got COVID touch wood yeah never got
म तीनचोटी
what
तीनचोटी
shit
every wave मा एकचोटी भएको के
fuck bro so you
even with the vaccines
oh wow man
I took like दुईटा त्यसपछि थर्ड आउन थाल्यो अनि त्यसपछि no man this is going to keep on continuing भनेर मैले
हबीज मा COVID-19 फर्म सम गर्दाखेरि हबी
former COVID-19 survivor तीनटा मेडल रे
तीनटा 3 medals right but yeah man like I never had it but imagine man like God my parents had it my wife my girlfriend at the time she had it every single person that was close to me in my life they all got it like literally everybody somehow touch wood I didn't get it you know but and I always think like this thought is not something that just came up to me right now kati sochte ke about that little girl huncha ni like
yeah mo pani same
it was fucking horrible the way people like treat huncha ni took off on her man like
yeah
and त्यो डर हो के खास
डर हो
अर्कै मान्छेले डर लागिरहेछ नि त लिएर आयो मलाई पनि लाग्छ त्यो डर हो कि त्यो डर पनि अन्डरस्ट्यान्डेबल हो बट fuck man poor girl must really suck to हुन्छ नि त्यसरी for no fault of your own के आफूले के गरे भने I can understand
यो तर अर्को चित्त नबुझेको त्यतिखेरको since we're like visiting the past I mean it could have been handled in a much better way हैन यसमा चाहिँ म गभर्नमेन्टलाई ब्लेम गर्छु in a sense that अरु केही पनि होइन बर्डर्स मात्र अलिकति राम्ररी सिक्योर गरेर म्यानेज मात्र गरिदिएको भए because we know where it's coming from every single time it was all over the news it was very evident त्यति मात्र गरिदिएको भए चाहिँ I think it would have been a massive contribution नेपालमा चाहिँ त्यो हुन्थेन होला के
त्यो पनि तिनीहरू त यो नाकाबन्दी गरिरहनु त एक्सपिरियन्स भइरहेको मान्छे त बोर्डर बन्द गर्न त केही न केही
त्यही त
हामी त्यसमा जहिले नाकाबन्दी गरेर हुन्छ वाट्स द फकिङ हार्ड थिङ म्यान यति एक्सपिरियन्स वर्षको 3 चोटि त गर्छौ यार राइट फकिङ जस्ट use the same protocol, like, hey, nakabandi protocol, man. And they could have probably like shut down the fucking board. And
गरे पनि हो नो तर जुन हिसाबले त्यतिखेर म्यानेज गर्नुपर्ने थियो नि त हामी लाइक अब नेपालीहरू नआइज भन्नु मिल्दैन अफकोर्स दे हेभ टु कम तर कसरी स्क्यान गर्ने कसरी क्वारेन्टाइन गर्ने लाइक बेसिक थिङ्सहरू मात्रै इन प्लेस भएको भए त्यस्तो रिडिकुलस लेभलमा द केयर्स द्याट ह्याड बिन जेनेरेटेड त्यस्तो हुन्थेन होला
we went from like 0 positive cases in Nepal to like the most cases in a day, like overnight. सबैजना क्या प्राउड क्या वा नेपाल नो पोजिटिभ
अझ त होइन अझ त के अरे भिजिट नेपालमा मार्केटिङ क्याम्पेन नै थियो वी डोन्ट ह्याभ कोभिड अन the whole campaign crashed down त्यसपछि
that didn't work out That's crazy though, man. Like, hey, you're right though. It could, like that, you're absolutely right. It could have been handled a lot better. Yeah, lot better. A lot of lives would have been saved.
It's like सानो घाउ भएको बेलामा टेटनसको इन्जेक्सन लाएन अनि त्यसपछि लाइक त्यसले गर्दा मान्छे मर्यो भने जस्तो भयो
True. Didn't know.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Fuck, like it's crazy though. I was actually supposed to get married 2020 ma.
Okay. COVID ले push back भएको.
Yeah, man. So like everything's just
सबैजनाको टाइमलाइन नै म्याच गर्दै यार
definitely life को timeline नै like change गरिदियो के and I don't know I think like earlier we've forgotten about COVID almost in a way because of dengue and life and everything else but the repercussions we're going to feel this for a while okay?
Yeah
COVID repercussions and it's not done we're not out of the woods yet like in terms of the virus and all of that maybe but in terms of what it's done to the world, to individuals, to little children who've been traumatized and something like. When I was a kid, when I was 5-6 years old, I never had to grow up thinking about COVID or having to wear a mask to school, having to get fucking vaccines and having to worry about SPOKO. And it's but you the new generation, these new kids, they're all like, they've had 2 years of their lives taken away, and that's the school years.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Formative years, especially
2 years of your school years are it's quite, and that whole generation will. It's a long process that's ongoing now because of these 2 years. Okay, we only look at the 2 years. That's why I feel like so many things that happen in the world we kind of have to forgive right now, in terms of like on a grander scale and on a personal scale. Okay, people are not what they used to be. Okay, bro. Like I'm not who I used to be. You know what I mean? Like. I didn't expect this. Like to be honest, I didn't expect this. Yeah. And nobody expected it. I don't mean to be treated. I don't expect to be treated specially or anything. But I'm just telling you, like, मलाई त change गर्यो भने अरूले नि त change गर्यो होला because I'm somebody who prides myself in one thing, saying, okay, mentally I'm strong. Like अरू के भयो भने म mentally चाहिँ maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, but I feel like I have the grit to make it through most situations where people will break. But मलाई त it didn't break me, but it for sure changed me, bro. It's made me a lot more skeptical. It's made me a lot more. I don't just jump in like पहिला हुन्छ नि मलाई कति कुरामा hesitations छ क्या अहिले because of COVID हुन्छ नि and that's from someone who didn't even fucking have the virus हुन्छ and I feel like मलाई त्यस्तो हुन्छ नि अब बच्चाहरूलाई त कस्तो हुन्छ होला हैन not going to school for 2 years, not seeing your friends for 2 years, not having like memories when you're 40 years old and you go, oh, what were you doing grade 7? I was fucking locked down, bro. And then that sucks, nee? And you get to miss on so much of learning. I know it's like so much that school ma basically sikauni bhane like history, geography, science and all that is in its place, but basically what you learn is civic sense, nee?
Right.
How to be in a society, how to behave in society, how to fucking be civilized and how to treat the person next to you in the right way and not offend. These are things you learn in school, and if 2 years of that have been taken away, and there will be a void somewhere. Yeah? And I don't know what kind of effects it'll have, but I'm pretty sure we haven't seen the last of COVID-19 effects over the next 20, 30 years, 40 years, 100 years even.
Yeah,
like it's a generational thing now. Yeah? It has to take away 2 years out of the pages of history. It means quite a lot.
Yeah, especially मैले चाहिँ फर्स्ट लकडाउनको अराउन्डमा चाहिँ आई डोन्ट ब्लेम एनी वान त्यतिखेर किनभने इट वाज लाइक फाइट अर फ्लाइट मोड थियो सबजनाको प्यानिक मोड एभ्रिथिङ सट डाउन द्याट्स फाइन मलाई पनि त्यतिखेर लजिकल नै लाग्छ ल ठिक छ सट डाउन नै गर्नुपर्छ भनेर तर त्यसपछि आई थिङ्क बेटर डिसिजन्सहरू लिन सकिन्थ्यो मोर बाहिर के भइरहेछ कसरी ह्यान्डल गरिरहेछ भनेर स्टडी गर्न सकिन्थ्यो किनभने चाहिँ मलाई त्यतिखेर मेरो वरि यही थियो कि बिकज डिसेम्बरमा आई वाज फलोइङ कोभिड क्वाइट क्लोजली डिसेम्बरमा आई थिङ्क चाइनामा फर्स्ट टाइम ब्रेक आउट हुँदाखेरि नै मलाई चाहिँ अलिकता ओके सो it's not, I wasn't worried about the virus or what it's going to do with the economy and त्यसपछि that having a long lasting effect. And when COVID यहाँ भइरहेको the first lockdown and everything, like I was panicking because अहिले सबजनाले वा छुट्टी भनेर खुसी भइरहेको थियो नि सबजना. They don't know what's going to happen in the next 4-5 years सम्म क्या. अनि whatever happened यो यहाँ त 2 वर्षसम्म त झ्यामझुम नै सक्यो नि त. अब हाम्रो 2 वर्षसम्म गयो होला फिटनेस इन्डस्ट्री तर मोस्ट इन्डस्ट्रिज अलमोस्ट 1 year त गयो बन्द भयो राइट अनि त्यसपछि त्यसको इफेक्ट अहिले देखिरहेको छ र त्यो इफेक्ट आउन थालिरहेको पनि मात्र हो कि यो दिस इज वाट एभर इज ह्यापनिङ होइन यो त नेक्स्ट इयरसम्ममा त अझ म्यासिभ स्केलमा जान्छ होला नि होइन नोबडी ह्याज मनी जब्स छैन ब्याङ्क्समा पैसा छैन एन्ड लाइक इट्स आई डोन्ट मिन टु साउन्ड लाइक हुन्छ नि एभ्रिथिङ मनी तर द रियालिटी इज लाइक मोडर्न वर्ल्डमा बिना पैसाको तिमी जति फिलोसफिकल कुरा गऱ्यो होइन ट्राभल आई वान्ट टु ट्राभल द होल वर्ल्ड एन्ड वान्ट टु वर्क भनेर भन त त्यो ट्राभल गर्नलाई पनि तिमीलाई पैसा चाहिन्छ कि वाट एभर यु लाइक वाट एभर युर ह्याप्पिनेस इज सम हाउ मनी इज कनेक्टेड टु युर ह्याप्पिनेस लाइक आई वरी अबाउट वाट इट्स गोइङ टु बी लाइक इन द नेक्स्ट 1-2 years प्लस the other worry is like you said मलाई पनि I'm more skeptic towards what if भन्ने किनभने there was a point where I was like हुन्छ मेरो career is going like perfect like यहाँबाट nothing is going to break it भन्ने कुरा थियो but then it was like smashed right in the face like okay so यस्तो पनि हुने रहेछ भनेर now when I see my life that's what comes into my mind but apart from that what if अर्को virus outbreak भयो when this dengue thing was like हुन्छ नि मलाई त it's happening all over
you didn't get dengue did you
मेरो मम्मी अहिले तर she's recovering but अहिले left and right everybody's getting dengue.
I had it 10 years ago.
What?
I've had it twice, Delhi. I've had it twice, bro. The first time Sunday morning. Like what? For real, man. Like first time Sunday morning. Like I shouldn't even be here, man. The first time so dengue हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ back then इन्डियामा कमनवेल्थ गेम्स हुन लाग्थ्यो कि अनि कमनवेल्थ गेम्सको लागि दे वर डुइङ अ लट अफ कन्स्ट्रक्सन त्यो मेट्रोको कन्स्ट्रक्सन भइरहेको थियो क्या अनि त्यसले गर्दा फकिङ डेङ्गु एपिडेमिक एभ्रिवेयर यतिसम्म लाइक हस्पिटल्समा दस नो बेड्स राइट दस नो वेयर यु क्यान गो
अहिले पनि त्यस्तै भइरहेछ हो बेड्सहरू पाउनु गाह्रै छ हस्पिटलमा
या प्रब्लम म्यान अनि त्यस्तो भइरहेको थियो देन आई वान डे आई वाज एट अ फ्रेन्ड्स प्लेस राति suddenly wild fever wild like to a point where I couldn't sleep the whole night. I was in Delhi and I called my ex-girlfriend. I was like, look, I'm really sick, man. Can you please take me to the hospital? I'm broken up at this point. I said the party going to go. Literally, all my friends went to the party. I was like, I can't go. I called him back. So I'm like, I'm fucking dying here, man. You were taking me to the hospital. Bichara aayo, you know. Hospital लिएर गयो Delhi को pretty renowned hospital. त्यहाँ गयो blood test गर्यो. And the guy is like, viral fever ho bhanera crocin दिएर पठाइदियो के crocin is fucking poison when you have dengue. The last thing you should be taking is crocin. अब मैले दिएर पठाइदियो मैले अब crocin दुईटा लिने दुईटा लिएको 15-20 minutes like my fever would be better and then it would just spike up again. So I'm taking 6 to 8 pills every day of fucking poison. After a week or so I was like I think I'm dying. I was literally like, I think the monologist like Malay, I really think I'm dying. Like, but before I like kick the bucket, I'd like to give it one last fight, man. Like, maybe let's go back to the doctor again, man. At this point, dengue is like full blown. So we called every hospital. Kahin ठाउँ छैन.
तिमीलाई लाग्ने बेलामा चाहिँ त्यतिखेर थिएन त्यस्तो म्यासिभ स्प्रेड
मलाई लाग्ने बेला नि थिन त थियो बट त्यही टाइममा गएको भए लाइक द पिक विक आउँछ नि कोभिड पनि एउटा पिक विक आउँछ नि ठ्याक्क पिक विकमा भयो क्या सो द डे आई वेन्ट फर माई फर्स्ट ब्लड टेस्ट त्यही दिन गरे भए म त्यही एडमिट हुनसक्थेँ क्या देयर वाज लाइक रुम्स एन्ड एभ्रिथिङ
नो तर लाइक तिम्रो डक्टरले कसरी भाइरल फिभर मात्र डायग्नोज गर्यो
खै ब्लड टेस्ट गर्यो नि इज लाइक छैन डेङ्गु लिटरली सो देन अ विक लेटर आई वाज लाइक ओके बिफोर आई डाई लेट्स डु वान मोर टेस्ट भन्यो वेन्ट ब्याक टु डु अ टेस्ट डेङ्गु पोजिटिभ भन्यो एन्ड द डक्टर द सेम हस्पिटल है फेरि एन्ड ही गोज यु हेभ डेङ्गु बट वी डोन्ट हेभ बेड्स सो यु गट फिगर दिस आउट भन्यो we called everywhere. Last I got a maternity hospital, bro. Maternity hospital, maternity ward, there's one bed. And they're like, dengue, fine, we'll treat you, come. Because at that point, all hospitals in Delhi had been instructed, like, dengue चाहिँ तिमीहरूले treat गर्न सिक्नै पर्छ because everybody's getting it. When I went down, like, to the hospital, म गाडीमा बसेँ, मेरो ex-girlfriend or a friend of mine, they went down to the doctor with my report. The first thing the doctor asked was, is this person conscious? म त्यतिखेर चोट खान्थेँ, म बाहिर गाडीमा चोटाएर बसिरहेको थिएँ क्या, लाइक कहिले बोलाउँछ के गरेर भनेर लिटरली त्यो प्लेटलेट काउन्ट हुन्छ नि त ब्रो हैन डेङ्गुमा मिनिमम ह्युमन बडीमा हुनुपर्ने प्लेटलेट काउन्ट इज 1,50,000 right? Bro, I had 7,000 man.
Jesus, that's insane.
त्यो गोटाको हिसाबमा झरिसक्यो क्या प्लेटलेट काउन्ट हुन्छ. I have no clue. यहाँनिर लाइक माई आर्म्स ह्यान्ड्स स्टार्टेड हेमरेजिङ सो यो पुरै ब्लू भइसक्यो त्यो पैतालामा निलो भइसक्यो लाइक फकिङ ऱ्यासेस एभ्रिवेयर डक्टर गोज यु निड प्लेटलेट्स राइट नाउ लाइक ट्रान्सफ्युजन गर्नुपर्छ राइट नाउ. नेपालीहरू तर फक हामी वेयर स्पेसल म्यान नेपाली पिपल साँच्चै होइन म ढाँटे होइन अब लाइक नेपालीको चाहिँ त्यो छ क्या. अब त्यो दिल्लीमा थिएँ होइन म अनि मैले अब मुथै आई माई ओन जिम सबैले कारण चिन्थ्यो वी अल न्यू इच अदर. अनि त्यहाँनिर हुँदाखेरि अब त्यो यतिकै दिल्लीको नेपाली केटाहरूको सर्कलमा लाइक केटाकेटीहरू अरू साथीहरू सर्कलमा रललाई यस्तो यस्तो भएछ हि निड्स प्लेटलेट भनेर ब्रो म डक्टर ल्याएर गाली गरेँ. यु हेभ टु टेल यर फ्रेन्ड्स दे कान्ट अल बी हियर टाइपको क्या. 40-50जना नेपालीहरू क्या कसलाई चाहियो रगत टाइपको क्या. त्यतिखेर चाहिँ लाइक म्यान हाम्रो कन्ट्री एन्ड आवर कन्ट्री पिपल वेयर स्पेसल लाइक द्याट म्यान. लाइक चाहियो भने वी जस्ट वेट देयर क्या. आफ्नै रगत दिनुलाई त जस्तो इगर भएर आउँछ वेट देयर हुन्छ. त्यतिखेर चाहिँ लाइक इट्स अ प्रिभिलेज बिङ अ नेपाली क्या. यु डोन्ट गेट टु फिल द्याट अल द टाइम एन्ड आइ एम बिङ अनेस्ट हियर. लट अफ पिपल विल गेट ट्रिगर्ड व्हेन आई से you don't get to feel privileged being Nepali all the time. And it's true, man. Try standing in a fucking airport line. You'll know exactly how privileged you are for being a Nepali, right? But I would stand in 100 lines, okay? Because there's like so many guys out there just ready to give their blood and be like, we want him to be better. Doctor, कति हल्ला गरिरहेको यिनीहरूलाई प्लिज घर पठाउ ए केटा हो एकजनाको मुजुराको चाहिने तिमीहरू जाऊ भनेर हुन्छ नि गाइज म्यान. त्यस्तो गरेर लाइक by the time my mom came to the hospital, it's like fucking ruabasi bhaira थियो bro. I didn't realize how bad it was until like tyo bhaira then my parents got me back home after I was discharged from the hospital and then I came back here and doctor le that like Nepal ma thina the dengue, so for them it was like a study गर्ने case क्या literally 7,000 yaar. And then not like 7 bada वात्तै बढा नि हैन क्या. Next blood test गर्यो it's at like 9,000. Then it's like 12,000 and then slowly went up. That year fucking horrible. The year after that immediately pity. Second time bro.
This is severe.
It's about the 40,000. I was like, sit down fam. I got this man. 7,000 but I had 40,000. Korkole chahiyo ki chahiyo. Arrogant way. Korkole chahiyo. But I mean like the second time it wasn't as I was scared the first time. I was scared for my life. But I thought I was going to die, man. I'm not even kidding. Like very mentally like whoever I've told this to, not everybody's really understood this, but like I really thought I was going to die, bro. Like I didn't see how I was going to get better or get out of this. And like when you're in 7 nights, 8th day ma gao ke dumbass, right? 7 nights fucking crossing gar basira jora. But towards like the 5th, 6th night, I was like, I started thinking of all the things I wanted to do in my life and I couldn't do. Okay? And then I was like, what the fuck? Guys, like, am I going to die here? The pain, like, and right now dengue is everywhere. So a lot of people have had it. They know what I'm talking about when I say like the pain. It's amplify that by like taking the wrong medication for 7-8 days. No treatment, nothing. I thought I was going to die, man. Second wala hundakeri ta it wasn't that hard kya. Like 40,000 थियो. Next time check garda 60, then it was like it boom 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 it went up. I was fine in like a couple of days. The first time it took me a while, man. It really fucked me.
त्यत्रो low platelet count हुनुको कारण के भयो? Because of the wrong medicine?
त्यो क्रोसिन खाएर.
Okay.
क्रोसिन खानै नहुने औषधि. That's what they told. I'm no medical way, but that's what they told me. They told me like, oh, it's the crocin and you shouldn't have had that. That's fucking poison. So good one.
But in most cases, for majority of people, I think after recover so right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Right,
pretty much.
It's just like couple of days ko fever, and especially just to fever, weakness, and It runs its course.
It wouldn't have been like that had it not been for the wrong medication.
Yeah.
Like, I probably would have been fine in a few days because I was an athlete. I was fighting at that point, man. I was fighting. So I was relatively strong. And the doctors also say, like, one of the main reasons you actually made it through that is because you were physically, you were strong, you were training, you were... I wasn't sure. I was training to fucking kill at that point. Title jita year थियो. So I was literally at the peak of my physical prime. अनि त्यसले गर्दा नि I think maybe because I was stronger, I survived. That's why like fitness हुन्छ नि, it's so important. Exactly. You never know when it'll save your life, bro.
But like I think a lot of people understood that after COVID first, second lockdown, like there was massive surge in gym memberships. But I don't know, अहिले फेरि बिस्तारै बिर्सिरहेको जस्तो लाग्छ. But then like you have to be ready for whatever comes in life. I mean, because of COVID र अहिले whatever I'm reading and stuff like that, I'm like, it fucks in my head. यस्तो फेरि आउँछ जस्तो लाग्छ क्या. This is not the last of what we're seeing with the virus and illness and diseases. Next 5 years, 10 years, probably एकदमै यो भन्दा पनि massive scale को आउँछ जस्तो लाग्छ. And then you have to be ready, you have to be prepared. Ani the problem is like most of us assume everything is going to work according to our plans bhanera. Ani I used to be the same. Ani COVID le chai malai the reality third point of view where chai euta view diyo ke malai everything, and whereby like you're like everything can be taken right away on this pachi even कहिले सोचेको थियो एउटा रोगले गरेर यत्रो मान्छेहरु मर्ला नै भनेर रिस्क हुन्छ भनेर त सोचेकै थिएन नि. And then I feel like at this point you gotta be fit. अरू सबै कुराहरू त छन्छ, but then like workout जे गर के जिम नै जानु पर्दैन. Do something, make yourself active. And that is very important.
Like you're right, there will be other things.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the course of humanity over like from the time human beings came into existence, like fuck virus, plague, diseases, like ever since we've existed, we've had all of these things and we've beat all of it. And how did we beat it? We beat it the same way with our human immune system. Right? It's not like back in when there were cavemen, there was Pfizer and fucking Moderna and all that going on. After human त्यतिखेर अब natural selection in a way हुन्थ्यो, survival of the fittest हुन्थ्यो, but at the end of the day, no matter what you term it and what you call it, it was the ones who were fitter.
Right.
And it just that for the modern world, it took some motherfucker to eat a bat for people to realize that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if he ate a bat, but that's the unique. Like that's the story.
No, I think a prominent narrative is that lab leak theory, okay. Also mostly
something like that, right? But it took that for people to realize that
right.
The whole world had to turn upside down before they realized, oh shit, I actually need to be fit to survive in this world that's full of predators and diseases and viruses and so many other things. But it's been there forever, bro. It's not like COVID-19 po naya tha. Disease birami hune ta fuck man, like 50 years ago age bhanne thena. And like kuni 100 years ago the fucking influenza bhanne thena. So we're going to keep facing this shit, man. The only way we beat it is by being fit and being stronger than it. Even then, you might not beat it.
But you'll have a better probability.
Exactly. Your chances are better. That's why it's so important. Like, it's better to have and not need than to need and not have. So, अब COVID भइसक्यो, अब गयो COVID पर्दैन मलाई फिटनेस भने नि.
We live in strange times के जहाँ चाहिँ यो फिट हो है भन्ने मेसेज पनि इट्स लाइक टेकन इन अ ब्याड वे के जज गर्यो और यस्तो लाइक आल डु व्हाटएभर आई वान्ट विथ माई लाइफ ठिक छ, तर लाइक आई मिन यो मेसेज नै दबाएर राख्नु कुरा भएन होइन. अनि यो आई एम युजली समन जो चाहिँ एकदम फिटनेस प्रिच गर्दिनँ कि आम लाइक ठिक छ लाइक बडी बिल्डिङ सर्ट बिल्डिङ त छोडिदियो, म त्यो त प्रिच गर्दिनँ अथवा, तर जेनरली पनि मोस्ट फिटनेस पिपलहरू हुन्छ नि त्यस्तो छुइनँ कि म चाहिँ. आई डोन्ट प्रिच द्याट. म सकेसम्म चाहिँ लाइक नर्मल पिपल रिलेट गर्ने जस्तै छु, म पनि त्यस्तै छु. अनि तर वान्स इन अ वाइल वेन आई टेल पिपल लाइक फिट हुनुपर्छ अनि आई हेभ टु थिङ्क लाइक एम आई सेइङ इट द राइट वे अर त्यस्तो काइन्ड अफ त्यो त नहुनु पर्ने हो नि त. राम्रो कुरा हो नि त त्यो भनेको, फिट हो भन्नु भनेको. इफ युआर लाइक ओबिस अलिकति वेट लुज गर, अलिकति हेल्दी हो. इफ युआर भेरी अन्डर वेट भने अलिकति वेट गेन गर, जस्ट बी हेल्दी भन्नु खोज्छ नि त. तर त्यो मेसेज पनि अहिले दिँदाखेरि चाहिँ like a lot of people get pissed off, which is like fucking stupid.
I think it's also their own insecurities, man.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is, ni.
Rather than accept what you're doing wrong, it's always easy to point the finger. So like, I'm happy this way. Why do I have to be fit? This, that. Yeah. Well, what if you fucking die before you're 35? And what about your parents then? What about your family?
It's no longer about beauty standards.
Exactly.
Okay? It's all like मलाई अचम्म लाग्ने कुरा चाहिँ these people who are against beauty standards and they're like fat हुनु पाउँछ kind of like यो के अरे fit हो भन्ने messageलाई wrong हेर्छ. But at the end of the day they are preaching fat is beautiful. What has it got anything to do with beauty? Though you're saying that you're against beauty standards or it should be about your health.
Yeah. It's not about how you look. It's not about how you look at all. Okay. But if you're obese, then there's a problem. Not just with the way you look. Like how you look is up to you. You know? But
it's a symptom.
It's not what your body's supposed to be like.
Yeah.
Because obese, and if you think that we're wrong, we're lying, just Google and look up all the diseases that are connected to obesity. Like, just look it up. It'll take you less than 30 seconds.
Right.
And rather than like sit there and argue with us about why you don't have to be fit and I'm fine with it.
Like, but that can be a conspiracy theories, beauty industry.
Yeah, right.
I don't know, Manjal, this is so slant. True. These doctors are paid by beauty industry.
The medical industry is paid by the fitness industry. My goodness. Imagine that, right? If anything, the medical industry hates us. They fucking hate us because they fix the problem. We prevent the problem. We, not like, I consider myself a part of the fitness community. It's what I do. It's what my life is. I know. I don't preach fitness either, and I'm not even a fitness expert, to be honest, bro. I'm not. I'm a coach. I'm a fighter. I'm like, that's who I am first. And fitness it's part of what I do.
It's a byproduct.
Exactly.
Right.
And it's how I also make my bread and butter. So I know a little bit about it. It's not like I'm a complete ignorant person when it comes to fitness, but it takes like any idiot can say like this is good and this is bad for you, man. And any idiot can see it, Nita. But to see it and to still fight it and come up with justification, you gotta be a special kind of idiot. To like try and justify, oh मैले यो गरेर त्यही भएर म यो गर्दिनँ मलाई तिमीलाई के मतलब ए बाबा मतलब त कसैले राम्रै भनेको नसुन्ने भने नसुन्न त like what the fuck, I don't care, man, right? हामीले त अब राम्रो सोचेर भने हो. And it's not like I go around to every single obese person saying hey, lose weight. त्यस्तो नि हैन, but like आफ्नो चिन्ने मान्छेहरुलाई त भन्ने हो, आफूले माया गर्ने मान्छेलाई त भन्ने ए you got to like put it in check, hey, it might be going overboard, man. We wouldn't tell you if we didn't care about you, man. Yeah. So for you to get offended when we're trying to say something that's going to be helpful to you, go fuck yourself, man.
It's so evident COVID ko bela, if you look at mortality rate, or majority of them is associated with obesity or some diseases related to obesity.
And smoking.
Yeah.
My choice, my body. My choice. Yes, but it gives you cancer, you know that, right?
Yeah.
And these are things that people don't know, okay? I told you, like, I live in my gym, man. Like, that place is my whole world, okay? I train these two kids who are phenomenal, like, in every sense of the word. Not just as fighters, but just as human beings. And, like, they add so much life into my day, every day. And everywhere I go, it's just like, if I go outside, it kind of breaks my energy, okay, bro? It breaks my energy. And I have a goal in my life, and I've been open about this goal for many years. I want to make a world champion from Nepal. And I want to make history, and I want to see somebody set their legacy. I don't want to be that person. There's no way I'll be that person. I'm not fighting anymore. And even if I was fighting, I don't know if I was good enough or not back then. I feel like I was. I never got to find out. Right? But so at the back of my head, I'm driven by one singular goal. And that goal's been a part of my life for more than 10, 15 years. So whenever I go out or I break my routine, okay, I'm good. I break my habit, like, I feel like I'm being taken away from that.
It sucks so much energy out of you.
Exactly. And you tell me, what do you do at the gym, man? This is what I do, man. Like, I go there, I train the girls. As soon as they're done, I come back to my office. If I have the garsu, right? But with every single free time I have, bro, I'm obsessing about how to make them better. How to usko kick kasari improve garne, usko boxing kasari improve garne, yo combination kasari sikaune, tyo kasari sikaune. If they fight this girl, how do we beat that? Like, I am on a fucking mission, and I've been on this mission for a long time. And COVID le garda that mission got pushed back. A lot of things happened, all of that. But I'm not gonna give up on my dreams. Like, and I have the dream, I have the plan. I'm trying to execute. It's fucking hard. But for me to be able to execute, especially after the past 2 years, I don't want to go out. I don't want to hang out. I don't want to meet people. I don't want to do all these things because kaile गर्ने ta? Like, ke गर्ने ta? At the end of the day, when I look back, when it's time for me to die, I want to remember the legacies that we've set. I want to remember the epic shit that we did in my life. I don't want to remember regrets. Like, regrets, bro. As an athlete, especially when like your age passes by and you can't fulfill your athletic dreams on your own, like the regrets. But luckily for me, like I'm okay with someone else being the hero of the story. You know what I mean? I don't have to be the hero of my story. I don't have to be the one getting all the glory. I don't have to be the one with the belt. And if I can just be of some assistance in someone achieving that greatness and making that history and setting that legacy, like, that's my dream come true. And for that, I don't have the fucking time or the energy for anything else. Especially for stupid people who get offended when you say like, hey man, you're obese, it's not good for you. And when you go out, like, you just meet a lot of these people. You just meet a lot of people who get offended for no reason. So my tribe is my vibe, but I just stick to my tribe, man. That's why it's so nice just being there. मलाई अर्काकोहरू थुक्नेले बानी पनि छैन हैन, लाइक मलाई त्यो मन पनि पर्दैन. But at the same time, मलाई अरूले आएर like, there's people who always want to just show and like त्यो नि झ्याउ लाग्छ के. And rather than like find fault in this one and that one, just avoid that environment, man. And so just like I found a lot of guys who like, I had like all these bad habits because मेरो यस्तो साथी थियो, मेरो यहाँ थियो, and किन गयो त? Like, avoid the environment. If you think this environment is not good for you, if it's toxic for you, if it's not healthy, just avoid it. Don't go. You don't have to go, right? But the FOMO, you want to be seen everywhere. You want to be seen in all the popular places, all the happening parties. You want to take pictures with all the famous people, with influencers, and you want to feel like you're special. But with that comes like so many things. You're putting yourself out there, and it's good to put yourself out there, but know what you're doing it in. Not just for the sake of it. Then you become like, you undervalue yourself if you just do that. If I'm everywhere, then you're like, fuck man, this guy is all over the place. Kaile coach garcha, kaile business chalaउँछ, kaile काम गर्छ, right? गाह्रो छ नि. भर्खर 2 वर्ष पेन्डेमिकबाट निस्केछ. Like, you're not a fucking trust fund baby with like a golden spoon. भन्छ नि. You're like, how is he going to work? How is he going to do anything? But my friends are like, hey bro, are you in a cave or something? I'm like, look man, I love my friends. I want to see you all, but there's certain things I need to do in my life. And I'm not the type to sit here and cry about the hand of cards that I was dealt. Okay? But with what I'm dealt, I have to make the most of it. And for that, I'll have to sacrifice a lot of things. I'll have to sacrifice hanging out. I'll have to sacrifice having fun. I'll have to sacrifice making fun memories sometimes, like I'll have to do it. But I have a goal in my mind, bro. I want this, like, I can feel it in my bones, and suddenly every part of me wants this. Like, I've wanted this since the first day I stepped into that fucking stinky little basement of a gym and started training Muay Thai, man. Like, to be a world champion or to make a world champion. In mine, with my personal dreams, I got as far as I could have with what I had back then. Won one international title, won a couple of national titles. But here, thinanta. But give up गर्ने त मेरो हुन सकेन, so fuck it. No man, 14-15 वर्ष यही आर्टमा I've sacrificed my life. It's got to be worth something. It's got to mean something. For a kid from Nepal, from Kathmandu, to fall in love with Muay Thai the way I did, and for my life to go, for Muay Thai to come into my life, there must be a reason why it's come into my life, Nida, right? Like, how many kids from Nepal just have that. Then 15 years ago, now fighting is cool. Back then it wasn't cool, bro. It was like pagalharle गर्ने काम भन्थे. My mom, dad, and like, oh, you work. My parents are hardworking people, right? So people be like, you work so hard, send them to expensive schools, which is really hard for you back then. And now he's fucking punching people in the face for a living. त्यो सबको नि त काहीँ त worth हुनु पर्यो नि त. एउटा national title जित्यो, whatever. I'm not the type to go around gloating saying, oh, I have this, I have that. But if I can make, like, my two little girls, if I can make them world champions, bro, fuck, man, what a life to have lived. I die tomorrow. I could have COVID, dengue, and everything at the same time. I'd still die with a smile on my face, man. What a life to have lived. That's why I feel like the long-term goal, if you've set one for yourself, it's easier to sacrifice smaller things. It's easier to not be in that environment. It's easier to just say no to a lot of things that you might not have wanted to do. I see it. But I can taste it in my mouth, bro. The day that a Nepali becomes a world champion, stands in that fucking world stage and saying, with that Nepali flag draped around their shoulder, and Bruce Buffer announces, champion of the world. I can taste it in my mouth, bro. Like, I get like fucking emotional talking about it. It's like that for me. So that way, a lot of things are just easier for me to focus. But a lot of a lot of people like friends, family.
But you have to set your own boundaries, like expose because like you learn 100 things, you cannot focus on 100 things. Absolutely. I mean, like, discover 5 things, discover 20 things, like shorten it down to 5 and like focus on those. And set boundaries for the rest of the world. Like every single day, every single time, expose the energy जाने okay. मलाई त्यो feel नै हुन्छ, like if मलाई चाहिँ energy preserve गर्ने mode okay. Like people ask me घरबाट किन निस्किँदैन, or like किन बाहिर hang out गर्दैन, all that thing. For me, it's like it just wastes a lot of energy, and there are so many things. Every single day, I sleep at around 2-3, and I feel like पुगेन के काम गर्नु बाँकी छ, पुगेछ नि जस्तो हुन्छ क्या. But I know that if it's 3 बजिसक्यो म सुते छैन भनेपछि I'm going to have a very shitty day tomorrow. थाहा छ नि, जबरजस्ती सुत्नुपर्छ. तर every single day I have this feeling कि टाइम नै पुगेन के गर्नुपर्ने छ जस्तो हुन्छ.
के गर्छ यार तिमी? Like I look at you and I look at Sushant, हैन, I'm like, man, these guys, like, I really envy you guys, like, in a very healthy way. Okay? Like, I'm just like, fuck, these guys, they know what they want. They're not afraid to go out and get it. And, like, put in the time, put in the effort, put in the work, put yourself out there. Like, sometimes I get tired watching you. I literally get tired, like, watching you, watching Sushant. And I'm like, guys, where do you get this energy from? It's like,
I think everybody, like, of us are sharing the same kind of energy. It's just we're putting it in different places, man. The passion you have for Muay Thai, the passion you have for this journey of yours, the dream of yours, I think that's what gets us started, Nita. Be it Sushant or you or me, we've all had dreams. Oily orko life ko a certain phase whereby we've crossed certain hurdles or we've done everything. That dream still remains. Sure. And that's what's driving us. It's not that more motivated, it's not that I'm tired or sleepy or not. Those things come secondary when all you're obsessed about is a certain goal, and and you're thinking about 20 years into the future. It's not about 1 year. For like, as much as all the troubles I had with COVID and everything in business and all that thing, more demotivated no reason was the only thing that I never wanted to be successful in 5 years in the first place. I was looking for 20 years down the line. Absolutely. So this for me was a huge setback, but still I've got 15-20 more years to go. And that's what drives us. That's what keeps our discipline and everything. Motivation. There are days I don't want to do shit. That's true. But then why do we do it? Because it's still like that 20 years down the line dream.
Bro, I wanted to ask you, man, like, I'm not throwing shade on any gym in Nepal when I say this,
Right.
But before I opened up, there were a lot of gyms which were identical in a lot of ways. From the ethos to whatever they were doing and how they wanted to grow. After I came in, there are still a lot of gyms which are very similar. It's just now they're kind of similar to what I do, and the business model and everything is similar. And I've said this before also, to a lot of people, like when they talked about your gym, and I always said, like, I like the fact that you have your own model. And it's not something that was done before, and it's not something that's being done right now either. But you somehow figured out a way to stick that model and make it work. Like, is it something that you'd plan? Because I'm really curious about this.
No, yaar. Like, business is the farthest thing that I've planned on doing. Okay? My family ma कसैले business गरेछ हैन. Everybody is like world class. अहिलेसम्म त्यसपछि like very honestly, dead honest भन्नु पर्दाखेरि मलाई पैसाको दिमागमै आएन के. When I started my first gym, finances, it didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
अनि ग्रो गर्छु भनेर पनि सोचेको थिएन, मल्टिपल जिम गर्छु न, जस्ट सोल्ली बिकज मेरो ब्याचलर सकिन थियो आइटीमा, बिआइएम, राइट. अनि म बाहिर जानुपर्ने थियो कि पढ्नको लागि, युरोप जानुपर्ने थियो फर्दर स्टडिजको लागि. मलाई जानु मन थिएन कि, बिकज त्यति बेलासम्म आई हेभ फाउन्ड प्यासन इन्टु दिस. आई हेभ सिन लाइक इन्डस्ट्रीमा के कमी भइरहेको छ, लाइक यस्तो एडभान्स भइसक्यो बाहिर, यहाँ अहिलेसम्म पनि कसैले के पढाएको छैन, वाट इज ह्यापनिङ काइन्ड अफ हुन्थ्यो कि. त्यसले मात्र म ड्राइभ गरेँ क्या. आई सक्ट एट बिजनेस त्यतिखेर. 7 months त स्ट्रेट अप लसमा गएको, अनि 700 रुपियाँ थियो हौ ब्याङ्कमा
है.
700 रुपियाँ थियो. अनि त्यो 700 रुपियाँ पनि म उडाउँछु, सकाइन्छु, दिस इज गोइङ टु बी द एन्ड अफ इट भनेर मुभी हेर्न गएको कि म अझ पपकर्न पनि किनेर यता. The little did I know, I watched a movie called Steve Jobs' भन्ने movie. And it gave me this concept of like marketing and branding importance on त्यसपछि. That's when I started putting out content, and that's when I started like being active on all the other social media, but information spread गर्ने मात्र के, and it seemed to work out. तर business mind and planning and all that thing, that wasn't me. That was never me. Finances and maths and all that shit. No,
because I really like the model you've got. Okay, like where instead of putting all your eggs in one basket like me, I know you've actually spread out. You've never really, I can directly sit here and say, boldly sit here and say, you've never copied anybody's blueprint. You've made your own. And I can't say that about most of the people in this industry, that they haven't copied a blueprint. But you haven't. Okay? And I respect that a lot, man. Like, like, this gym, that like, people automatically expect there to be rivalry or tension. Like,
yeah, especially marathons.
I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, kino hunu paryo, like your rivalry, kino hunu paryo stress, kino hunu paryo tension. Like, we're all just working towards our own goals. We're all just grinding. If we get money, we get money. If we don't, we don't. Like, we're all just doing our own thing. We're on our own journey. Why do we have to have that fucking hatred or anything of that sort? But if you are going to ask me about Sushant, then I'll tell you one thing. I respect the fuck out of his model, because your business model is different, bro. Or because ये industry में, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And ये industry में बस्दाखेरि अब मैले हेर्दै अब मेरो कतिवटा फ्र्यान्चाइज खुलिसक्यो जुन मेरो होइन क्या.
ए हो र?
No, not the name, but
similar kind of, right.
There's been so many franchises of Gymkhana that are not Gymkhanas at all. Okay, and it makes me happy. To be honest, like, imitation is the best form of flattery, right? And not just that, fuck the imitation, fuck my own personal ego and pride. The more fitness centers, the better for the country.
Exactly. मैले भने पनि मान्छेले नबुझ्ने कुरा यही हो क्या. Like when they say like यति धेरै fitness centersहरु आइसक्यो अनि त्यसपछि competition and stuff and all that thing. Yes, त्यो होला हैन, तर हामी एकदम बेबी स्टेजमा छौँ क्या. यो फिटनेस सेन्टर्सहरु लाइक एनी बिजनेसमा यो बिजनेस स्टार्ट गर्न गाह्रो छैन क्या. बिजनेसलाई सस्टेन गर्न गाह्रो छ. नेक्स्ट 5 इयर्समा त यो सबै फिटनेस सेन्टर्स त हुँदैन. न जो प्यासनेट छ नि ऊ हराएर जान्छ क्या. उसको सट्टामा आउँछ नयाँ अझ. तर द कन्ट्रीको रिक्वायरमेन्ट अहिलेसम्म पुगेको छैन कि. एउटा जिममा जस्तै मेरो एउटा जिममा जाने भने अलमोस्ट 90% 100% अकुपेन्सी हुन्छ कि. जब कि त्यहाँ अराउन्डमा अरू जिमहरू छ तिनीहरू पनि फुल छ क्या. त्यो भने त के हो, त्यो जिम नै पुगेको छैन नि त. आउनु पर्यो अझ. मोर अवेरनेस क्रिएट हुन बाँकी छ. And the number of people who will get into this industry as clients I mean that is going to grow as well. तर म लुकेर म मात्र गर्छु, मेरो मात्र एफर्टले हुँदैन. Like look at what happened in the last 5-6 years मैले त अब कन्टेन्टहरू गर्न थालेँ 2014 तिर हो कि त्यतिखेर म मात्र गरिरहेको थिएँ होला कि तर जुन बेला लट अफ इन्फ्लुएन्सर्स आए लास्ट 4-5 इयर्समा फिटनेस इन्डस्ट्रीमा लुक एट वेयर द इन्डस्ट्री इज अनि त्यो मैले एक्लै गरेर हुने होइन क्या इट इज बिकज लाइक देयर आर सो मेनी पिपल पुटिङ आउट द सेम मेसेज मेरो मेसेज झन् भ्यालिडेट भइरहेछ नि त वी एज अ इन्डस्ट्री निड टु ग्रो टुगेदर कि त्यो चाहिँ बुझ्नु पऱ्यो एकअर्काको खुट्टा तानेर हुँदैन किन त्यो एक्लैले गर्न सक्ने कुरा होइन कि हो भने
एब्सोल्युटली म्यान लाइक भन्ने नै हो भने वेस्टर्न वर्ल्डमा सेकेन्ड वर्ल्ड वार पछि बल्ल फिटनेस चाहिन्छ भनेर मान्छे रियलाइज गरायो होइन द्याट्स लाइक a long time ago, right? Now that thought बल्ल मान्छेले नेपालमा लाइक बुझ्दैछ क्या that फिटनेस चाहिन्छ फिटनेस भनेको बडी बिल्डिङ मात्रै होइन not just about how you look it's this that like my parents my dad's almost 70 years old he tries to get in a workout in the morning right my mom tries to so now people are slowly understanding okay? And that would only happen with more gyms so when people ask me what do you feel about more gyms coming up I feel like they expect a very different answer when I say good like
मैले exactly same यही कुरा भन्छु कि and people assume that I'm just being politically correct but if you know me I'm not very politically correct at times I say what's on my mind and त्यसपछि that's exactly what I believe किनभने if the product is not right it's the people who decides like this has to go away भनेर हैन अनि त्यो त फिल्टर आउट हुँदै जाने हो नि त सो त्यसको लागि त मेक अ बिगर फनल सो द्याट मोर रिफाइन्ड स्टफहरू झन् बेसी होस् फनल नै सानो छ भनेपछि त बाई हुक अर क्रुक तिमीले त्यो खाने भने खा नखाने भने गिज भने जस्तो भन्छ त्यो एन्ड द इन्डस्ट्री ग्रो हुने नि त्यसरी हो त
एक्ज्याक्टली म्यान लाइक प्लस इट किप्स अस अन आवर टोज नि अब इफ टुडे we're going to say all right we're doing really good our gym is in good place we have good gym भन्ने त हामीले मात्रै भनेर पुगेन नि त भोलि गएर another gym will come now I've got to be on my toes too because I need to make sure that I'm not getting swallowed whole right I need to make sure that I'm on the ball too so me getting on the ball as a fitness professional means what भोलि मेरो classes will be even better right that's what the goal is at least and my facility लाई सकेसम्म ल्याएर बनाउँछु मैले मेरो classes ल्याएर बनाउँछु the experience I'll give my clients will be even better भनेपछि the customers whatever they're getting like 10 years ago when somebody paid for a gym membership what they got and now what they get man there's a huge difference there's a massive difference and now along with their fitness they're getting awareness and education about the fitness as well which is the coach's job 100% the coach's job we can't expect everybody to know the importance of fitness but if somebody is made the first step of walking into your gym then it's your job to make sure that they never walk out without a good workout and a smile on their face and it's our job as fitness professionals to make sure that they do that so it keeps us on our toes also the more gyms that come up if you set the standard here somebody else sets it here now you want to go back here again right because you want to make sure that your standard is good it's not about being better than this gym or that gym it's about making sure that your standard is not lacking right there's a lot of people who come up ekdam mathi aउँछ they set a bar and nobody wants to be under the bar it's as simple as that and simply because I don't want to be under the bar the product that I'm going to give out will be maybe better than what I would have given out had X, Y and Z not come into the industry
true
and so त्यसले गर्दा त राम्रो हो I don't understand why people keep saying like you got to and that's why I want to ask you like your model is so different and like it's so there's not a lot of places I say this about like because there's a lot of monkey see monkey do out here not just in the fitness industry in anything like it's all monkey see monkey do mostly but the ones that actually stand out like you have to give respect to that and Banus right सुरुमा चेन्ज गर्ने त बानुज हो नि त फिटनेस इन्डस्ट्री नै चेन्ज गर्ने भनेको त द फर्स्ट जिम द्याट वाज अलिकति डिफ्रेन्ट वेयर वुमेन फेल्ट कम्फर्टेबल दिस त बानुज हो नि त यु गट टु गिभ रिस्पेक्ट टु बानुजमा आई वाज अ मेम्बर अफ बानुज होइन today if the fitness industry is where it is it's because of gyms like Vyam Mandir right Banus right these are the ones that took it to a new level at one point Jasmine kind of changed from 80 dekhin iti lagte right but if you look at it from Vyam Mandir to where we are now in terms of fitness it's just gotten better and better and better and better and better and that's because there's more and more and more coming and it's a good fucking thing like where we train in Thailand and in Phuket there's this place it's called Soi Thai Thai it basically means fitness street so the whole street is just gyms Now, when I went to Tiger for the first time, I think I went 2009, ma. Forget my Tiger Muay Thai was here, bro. That whole street was, there was one gym that was Tiger Muay Thai, there was another one that was called Dragon Muay Thai, right? And the rest was a fucking jungle. Like, it was just a jungle. Kehi pani thiएन के, bro. Like, literally, बस्ने एक दुईवटा कम्पिटिसन.
Literally jungle नै?
केही पनि थिएन. एउटा रोड थियो यसरी, जङ्गल, and then like, केही पनि थिएन. हाम्रो स्कुटर जान्थ्यो, गाडी जान्थ्यो, but like, pitch road थियो, but there was nothing. Now that street is called Fitness Street, bro. Wow. The whole street. It's a 1 kilometer stretch. And from Phuket top team to Tiger Muay Thai, Dragon Muay Thai, Revolution Muay Thai. There's like Unit 27. The amount of gyms in that one line, bro, in that 1 kilometer, it's insane. Okay? So the whole street, I mean, just the man's it's like a fucking carnival. Hey, a protein shake, shack, fucking how do you want your meal? You can count it all. And then orco gym, then a CrossFit gym, then your gym. It's like, is this paradise? But it's no, literally. This was but they're all in the same space. They're all in the same kilometer, bro, on the same street.
Right.
They're all coexisting. But look at the street, where it's gone. From where to where? कहाँ पुग्यो क्या? त्यो fight गर्ने कुरा हैन के यो त join hands and fucking work forward गर्ने कुरा.
Yeah, I 100% believe. Like gyms को मात्र कुरा हैन. Gyms across अरु fitness को different spectrum हरु नि in general नै के. यो superior या यो गर्नुहुन्छ या यो गर्नु हुँदैन kind of यो भन्दा यो राम्रो. I don't preach that. I mean, like from day one I've been very vocal about like fitness भने fitness हो तिमी घरमा बसेर वर्कआउट गर्न सक्छौ भने गर. You don't have to come to the gym because I don't want to send that message कि मेरो I'm a gym owner and the gym नै आउनु पर्छ. No, that is not the reality. सबैजनाको need requirement different हुन्छ and then you do you. Whatever works for you, whatever you can do that you can keep on doing it for years. If you can just walk for 15 minutes or 30 minutes, do that. If you can commit to that every single day.
True.
Whatever you can त्यो गर्ने हो नि त. And it's not about competition होइन किनभने इन्डस्ट्री नै यत्रो छ. We have to understand the industry किनभने म त यो इन्डस्ट्रीमा धेरै भइसक्यो कि. अनि not just as a spectator या as a person who's active into it, तर professionally नै हेर्दाखेरि पनि. And I do my own research, I do my own work. अनि त्यसपछि I have realized कि industry grow हुन बाँकी छ र त्यो भनेको loud mouth हुनु पर्यो फिटनेसबाट अझ. That's why we're seeing अहिले टिकटकमा हेर न all of a sudden last 2 years मा कति फिटनेस इन्फ्लुएन्सर्स आए नि. Now some people will complain कि has open fitness influencers. Yes, त्यसको डाउन साइड्स छ
for sure.
हैन 2 दिन सर्टिफाई गरेर पनि उले आफै इन्स्ट्रक्टर भन्ने इन्स्ट्रक्सन दिन्छ त्यो छ. तर look at the positive things. I mean यति धेरै फिटनेस कम्युनिटी यस्तो ग्रो भएको छ नेपालमा हैन. अनि you see like नेपाली फिटनेस कन्टेन्टहरू के. देयर वाज अ पोइन्ट जुन बेला म आफै बनाउँथेँ जिममा बसेर भिडियोजहरूमा म आई डोन्ट फिल द्याट निड अहिले के. किनभने त्यो इन्फर्मेसन त्यो मेसेज त अक्रस भइरहेको छ. देयर आर प्लेसेस देयर आर पिपल जसले चाहिँ मसँग रिलेट गर्न सक्दैन अरूसँग गर्न सक्ला नि त अरूसँग गर्न सक्ला अरूसँग गर्न सक्ला. एन्ड वी जस्ट निड दिज रोल मोडल्स कि. होइन हामीले अहिले पनि अस्ति कसले एकजनाले भन्दै थियो यो कुरा ठ्याक्क. हामी अहिले पनि जिममा फोटो राख्दा त्यही आर्नोल्डहरूको यता राख्छ तर हामीहरूको कहिले हामीहरूको लोकल इन्फ्लुएन्सर्सलाई हामीले कहिले रोल मोडल्स लिन थाल्छौँ भनेर. एन्ड देन आई सी दिज फिटनेस इन्फ्लुएन्सर्स एज द्याट. दिज आर रोल मोडल्स टु लट अफ पिपल जसलाई चाहिँ फिटनेसको बारेमा केही पनि थाहा थिएन क्या. सम फर्मबाट त सिकिरहेको छ सम फर्मबाट त मेसेज गइरहेको छ. एन्ड look what it's going to do in the next 3 years to 5 years. It's going to change everything. Accelerate गर्ने हो नि त. अनि त्यसको फाइदा कहिले पाउनुहुन्छ हामीहरूले हो. Rather than this saying that rather than being the owner of a big percentage owner of a small pie, be a small shareholder of a larger pie.
Yeah, exactly. A pie that can feed more.
Yeah.
No, it's not just about you. Like it's everybody's got to come up at the same time, and then it works. But if only one is trying to come up, and then it's a problem. And the whole attitude, like to the young kids that are getting into fitness and all that, also, like the attitude has to be right. Like, I get what you're doing. Any form of exposure for fitness is good form of exposure. Any form, right? But if you've got a lot of people watching you because of your fitness, and if you stop your fitness tomorrow, those people are still watching you. And what message are you sending out to them? What example are you setting to them? To quit, to give up, So if you're going to get into this and make fitness your thing, then you can't give up. Like, you can't be like, because you have a fucking responsibility towards all the people that followed you because you were this person, right? To all the people that followed your journey and were inspired, and some might have been really out of shape and said, oh wow, I've seen this person doing it. Right? You have a responsibility towards them as well. So if you're gonna get in, make sure that it's a lifelong commitment. Yeah? If not, don't be a fucking tourist, because you're going to confuse a lot of people when you do that. You've got to be in it for the long run. Not just when things are good, not just when the money is coming in. And the money is a big thing. Like, I get it, like, money is important. It's a very, very big thing. But in this line of work, like, kids, if you're looking for that quickly...
That's what I tell people. 10 years पछि definitely हुन्छ होला for the people who are going to stay for that long run. But the problem is most people will quit after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years.
अनि फेरि त्यो यस्तो पनि हो कि ब्रो, सुरुमै पैसा कमाउनु पनि हुँदैन कि. सुरुमै पैसा कमायो भने, like, to be honest, I feel like you'll fucking disrespect it. Okay?
I understand.
I don't feel like you'll understand the value. Like, I'm not rich by any standards, right? I'm not wealthy in any way, shape, or form. But I'm in a better place than where I've been. And that gives me a different kind of grit in my life. I've seen worse. I've seen days when we had to, my coach and I would share Maggie also, bro. Maggie goes packet also, and the Maggie goes, it's the biscuit, and the biscuit was and 2 pieces, it's either thick or it's half. The half was it's got half, like literally half and half. My coach and me, we would eat that. That's the food for the whole day, bro. And then we had to train morning, evening, not for a fight, not for a competition. I had to train just so people would see somebody training and someone would join the gym. This is in Goa, okay? Goa, we'd open the gym. Fucking big mistake, like, my coach le garum bhanera gare त्यो मान्छे चाहिँ कोही पनि आएन. But like, it reached a point where खाना खाने पैसा थिएन के ब्रो. अनि मैले त्यो टाइमसम्म फाइट गरेर अनि कोच गरेर जति पनि पैसा कमाएको थिएँ, घरबाट अलिकति मम ड्याडबाट लोन लिएर आई इन्भेस्टेड देयर. मेरो कोचले नि जति कमाएको थियो उसको उसले नि इन्भेस्ट गरेको थियो त्यहाँ. अनि it didn't work out, होइन. गिभ अप त गर्नु भएन नि त. Can't just fucking stop because it didn't work out. So it reached a point where, like, खाना खाने पैसा थिएन क्या ब्रो. लिटरली खाना खाने पैसा नि थिएन क्या. अनि when you told me about that 700 rupees in the bank, like, it fucking struck a chord right in my heart. Yeah? Because this, I went right back to this day. Like, it reached a point where I'm like, एकदमै गाह्रो भयो क्या ब्रो. कहीँबाट पैसा छैन होइन. वाइल्डै गाह्रो पैसा चाहिँ. अनि गोवामा चाहिँ, you've been to Goa, right?
No.
So Goa Anjuna Beach भन्ने छ क्या. So there's Baga Beach and Anjuna Beach. Anjuna Beach is, our gym was at Baga and Anjuna is a little far away. In Anjunaमा चाहिँ Saturday they used to have this flea market क्या. अनि Saturday flea market हुन्थ्यो. अनि त्यहाँनिर, लाइक, लोकल्सहरूले अनि त्यहीँ बस्ने खैरीहरूले आएर के सामानहरू बेच्थ्यो क्या. आई रिमेम्बर वान पोइन्टमा हामी यस्तो ब्रोक भयो. त्यो फ्ली मार्केट रन गर्ने एउटा लेडी थियो क्या. आई वाज लाइक, लुक म्यान, हाम्रो पनि यो मुइथाईको सामानहरू थियो नि त. ग्लोभ्स, सिन गार्ड्स, सर्ट्स, ह्यान्ड ऱ्याप्स सब थियो क्या बेच्नलाई लागेको. कोही त आएन, यत्तिकै ढुसी परिरहेको थियो. लाइक, लुक म्यान, क्यान यु प्लिज गेट मी अ स्पट इन द फ्ली मार्केट, आई विल ट्राई एन्ड सेल सम माई सिट भनेर क्या. माई कोच वेन्ट टु टेक क्लास and I went, like, यसरी कपडा त्यो बेडसिटमा सब सामानहरू बाँधेर स्कुटरमा अगाडि राखेर गएँ कि फ्ली मार्केट. बिहान पुगेँ होइन ब्रो, सन्डे फकिङ अर्ली मर्निङ पुगेँ. अर्ली मर्निङ कि 10 बजीतिर सुरु हुन्छ. होल डे ब्रो, होल फकिङ डे. बिकज अब त्यहाँनिर केही बेचेन भने खाना खाने पैसा छैन कि, केही खाएको छैन. राइट, द होल मर्निङ आई हेभन्ट इटन एनिथिङ. सो फकिङ फ्ली मार्केट पिपल खाना खाँदै गइरहेको छ क्या. अरूले खाएको हेरेर थुक्निलो जस्तो गाह्रो केही नि हुँदैन क्या. लाइक, when you're hungry हुन्छ नि. अनि गइरहेको छ होल डे म्यान. I was fucking standing there and trying to sell something. No one bought anything, bro. Like, nobody. Goa flea market, who wants to buy boxing stuff? Right? From a Nepali guy, that. Nobody bought anything. And last month, राति पार्टी साटी हुन्छ. सो राति चाहिँ बन्द गर्छ क्या उनीहरूले त्यो फ्ली मार्केट. अनि इभिनिङ टाइममा द्याट लेडी केम जस्ट लाइक, अलराइट राहुल, वी गट प्याक अप नाउ भनेर. जस्ट गिभ मी 10 more minutes. वान किड केम विथ हिज ड्याड क्या. अनि पुरै सप हेऱ्यो होइन. के किन्यो भने ब्रो, ह्यान्ड ड्राइभ किन्दा क्या, सबभन्दा सस्तो कुरा क्या. लाइक, फक म्यान, एउटा ग्लोभ्स किन्दा भने 1000 1500 त आउँथ्यो, 2000 त आउँथ्यो. लाइक, ह्यान्ड ड्राइभ्स लाइक 200 fucking rupees, ब्रान्ड. ह्यान्ड ऱ्याप्स किनिदियो क्या तर पनि फक म्यान 200 रुपियाँ आयो नि त ब्रो पकेटमा होइन आइसी 200 रुपियाँ ब्याक इन 2010-11 अनि गोवामा लाइक वी बिन इटिङ द्याट फकिङ हाफ म्यागी फर डेज नाउ क्या जस्ट द्याट हाफ म्यागी खायो अनि पानी हाफ म्यागी खायो पानी खायो अनि गोवामा साइकलमा बन बेच्छ क्या ब्रेड बेच्छ क्या गोवन ब्रेड क्या अनि त्यतिखेर 1 रुपियाँको 2टा कि 1 रुपियाँको 2टा आउँछ कि यत्रो यत्रो ब्रेड आउँछ क्या अनि गोवन ससेजेस आउँछ क्या रियली चिप मेरो कोच र मैले गएर त्यो 2 रुपियाँवाला ब्रेड लाइक अ लट अफ ब्रेड अनि गोवन ससेजेस किनेर ब्रो इन माई लाइफ I have never tasted a better fucking hot dog than that, man. Like, in my life. All it was a bad Goan bread with like bad Goan sausage, cheap Goan sausage in there. You know, but after eating just Maggie for like 2-3 weeks, and then you finally get a little bit of money and you get to eat like a sausage, man. Like fucking meat, bro. Masu with bread. Like one of the best meals I've ever had. Yeah. But even, my point is like, even at that point, this time no matter how hard it got, I was in it for the long run. I was like, I don't care if I have to live my whole life selling hand wraps at a flea market. Because this is what I want to do. This is my life. So, for me, when I go out and say, okay, Muay Thai is this, and martial arts or fitness or this, that, it's not a phase. Okay? Like, I've paid my dues. You know, I've done my bit. And that's why today I can stand and kind of try and be an ambassador for the sport in a way. Because I know that I'll never give up on the sport and walk away and tomorrow become a banker or a hotelier or something like that. Nothing against that. Yeah. It's not who I am. And I know that for a fact. So before you want to start influencing anybody else, know who you are for a fact. Because today you might influence them for something. And भोलिको आफूले जाऊ अनि त्यो मान्छेहरू त fuck man they're there because of you. You have a responsibility. Don't just like त्यो Sushant got really popular, like, you know, Sushant has a lot of followers, so म पनि अब यस्तै गर्छु म पनि Sushant जस्तै हुन्छु. बाबा Sushant जस्तै हुनुलाई it's not just the Instagram, right? Look at the 10-15 years of your life that you've given up to be where you are. You can say with conviction that you will be in fitness for the rest of your life. Right? No matter what, your life might take you in different directions, but there'll always be a part of you that will always be associated with fitness, and you'll never give that up. So then you can be maybe like Sushant or this and that. And don't just focus on the end result and the prize money. So, most people do that. I want the popularity, I want the money.
Yeah, everything is a show business. Like it is because of what we see on Instagram and everything. I know, but again, I hate when people say like people blame social media and everything. I mean, to the timely after conscious choice, let me indulge gareo, and influence power, whatever it is. And we're so used to seeing people succeeding at a younger age in 18, 19, 20s, man. We have that expectation as well, and there's nothing wrong with having that expectation, but then reality of the ground bujhnu paryo. हैन तिमी नेपालमा बसिरहेको छौ, not that नेपालमा बसेर के गर्न सक्दैन हैन, but कति कुरामा गाह्रो छ के हामी पछाडी छौं, हामी I mean बेबी स्टेजमा छौं के यहाँ एभ्रीथिङ हुनलाई चाहिँ प्रपर हुनको लागि टाइम लाग्छ. एन्ड त्यो कारणले पनि डिमोटिभेट हुनु भएन के. यु जस्ट ह्याभ टु अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड कि यसको लागि प्रिपरेसन मलाई अझ बेसी लाग्ने भयो. मेरो एफर्ट into 3 into 5 लाग्ने भयो. त्यो बुझेर अनि अगाडि जाऊ क्या. डोन्ट बी त्यो डिल्युजनल कि लाइक हुन्छ नि यो भइहाल्छ नि. मोटिभेसन कोट्स 5वटा पढेर अनि दिनको एउटा मोटिभेसन कोट बिहान उठेर 5 बजे पोस्ट गरेर हुँदैन क्या त्यो. यु हेभ टु लाइक इट्स सो इजी. नाउ एथलिटहरूको लागि or people like us who are passionate into something, it's completely opposite छ क्या. We are so passionate about doing it. वर्कआउट गर्ने or whatever it is, we're passionate into that. हामीहरूको कहाँ ल्याग गर्छ भने we don't learn about planning अनि finances अनि marketing or businessलाई organize गर्नको लागि. अनि त्यो पागल जस्तो प्यासनले मात्र त हुँदैन नि त. It's a combination of everything नि त. And that is what I see wrong with a lot of people. मैले पनि हार्ड वे नै सिक्यो because मेरो पनि assumption त्यही थियो कि म त अब नेपालमा अब यतिको एजुकेटेड कोही पनि छैन फिटनेसमा. म त खत्रै कोच हुन्छु, खत्रै बिजनेस. 7 महिनामा त रियालिटी ग्राउन्डमा फाल्थ्यो क्या. इट्स लाइक आई वाज फोकसिङ आई नो आम गुड एट दिस, तर त्यही मात्र स्ट्रेङ्थमा मात्र फोकस गरेँ कि. Whereas everything else but I'm bleeding. अनि आँखै खुल्दैन आई सी कतिजना अहिले पनि के वेयर नट जस्ट स्पोर्ट्समा लागेको मान्छे मात्र होइन कि every one of us who's into like some kind of skill, we're so focused on skills. What about the other things that you're not good at? I see a lot of tech guys who can design things. The business model to chaina ni ta. Hire someone who knows about business if you don't want to get into it, or learn it yourself. Any field ma ke.
Yeah, most people get into it hoping for get into any field hoping for overnight success. About human nature pani ho, you can't blame them. Even I would like to be successful overnight, and I'd like to wake up tomorrow and be a billionaire. But at some point we have to realize that life doesn't work that way. And when it doesn't, then but this question is who's watching? My main thing is always that. Who's watching, right? If you're gonna take something up, like I did this a lot in my life. My dad used to give me a lot of grief about it and said, I'd be like, you always start something but you never finish it. Right? He'd always be like to me, पहिला ड्रम बजाउँथ्यो त्यो पनि छोड्यो बास्केटबल खेल्थ्यो त्यो पनि छोड्यो
म पनि 10 वटा चीज गरे होला
exactly
and then I found something that I wanted to
true do. Right, but like the thing is अहिले हाम्रो जमानामा हाम्रो जमाना fuck man I sound like an old ass motherfucker man like हाम्रो जमानामा like back when we were teenagers or when we were trying to discover ourselves and find ourselves we were a bit luckier than this generation because our social media so not everything was out there. So all the crazy stages that you had and I had, like where I colored my hair fucking yellow and all of that, there's no evidence that shit ever happened. So nobody can ever come and say, hey, I'm like, no, you lied. It's your word against mine, right? No, you're lying. We can get away with that. Earlier generation, it's बिचराहरु त्यो प्रब्लम छ क्या like everything is documented, everything is put out there online and once you put it out there the internet never forgets.
अनि के कुरामा त ध्यान दिने त इन्स्टाग्राम खोलन 50 वटा कुरा आउँछ कि म अब के भन्ने त
exactly
केमा मलाई इन्ट्रेस्ट छ कि everything looks interesting. How do I figure out what I want to do?
True. Oh, you been
distracted again. Distracted.
Literally, man. Like this is the grass is always greener on the other side, man. Social media is a fucking platform for all the other sides of the grass. Yeah. You see this grass, that grass. You see everybody's grass.
You like phone ko screen time check garo na. Sometimes like 5 hours, 7 hours by rounds, right? Dinko and this pachi. पहिला त त्यो 5-7 hours त मैले कतै अरू ठाउँमा स्पेन्ड गर्थेँ होला नि नट द्याट इट्स ब्याड भने होइन त्यहाँबाट मैले कति कुरा एक्सप्लोर पनि गरिरहेको छु सिकि पनि रहेको छु तर आइम प्रब्ली स्योर कि 7 hours प्रोडक्टिभली त मैले युज गरिरहेको छुइनँ प्रब्ली 2 hours and another 5 hours त वेस्ट भइरहेको छ त मेरो अनि त्यसपछि द्याट्स ह्यापनिङ एभ्री सिंगल डे भनेपछि त्यो कम्पाउन्ड भइरहेको छ कि that's what I see with the younger generation being distracted. Like there's this research that confirms like lot of dropouts, not just education mind, in terms of career pani. Euta gare 6 months अर्को गरे 3 महिना and कुनै पनि कुरामा सक्सेसफुल हुन you have to stick through it नि त अनि त्यो फेजमा कहिले पनि पुग्दैन because there are so many things that's distracting you from your goals.
True. Yeah man, like it's very difficult. Like by the buster to judge and say like, oh, don't be like this, don't be like that, don't do this. But so many times we find ourselves falling for the same shit that we tell other people not to do. Because it's such a beautiful trap. Like it's such a beautifully disguised trap, that whole social media thing. So I try not to take my social media too seriously. And like, you should be posting more. I just post now, like, because I do have good memories like on my phone that I could post, and she's like, and I'm like, I don't want it to be a part of who I am, right? I want it to be something I do every once in a while when I'm bored, like posting. And I don't have a lot of followers, and I don't really care much about a lot of, but I know that the ones that do follow me, they know exactly the kind of an idiot I am. So they don't expect anything serious or anything like fucking motivational or anything like that from me. I'll write stupid shit and I'll post a stupid picture, and that's that. For me, it's like मैले त्यो छुटाउन सकेको in a way मेरो blessing पनि भयो. Like if I did want to be Insta famous, then maybe I fucked up, right? That's not the way to do it. But for me to have a platform where I can express myself in a way, but at the same time not take it too seriously, is like I just treat it like I treat almost everything else in my life. Okay? Like not too seriously. I don't take myself too seriously. So social media, I don't take it too seriously. Okay? But there are people who take it very seriously, and like good on them, right? If that's what you want to do. My niece has just spent years studying abroad to be a digital content creator. I know, and if that's like good for you, yeah. So whenever you are reaching out to an audience or a mass audience, and you hope to do that, you have to understand that it comes with a certain responsibility. You can't just expect to do that and not take responsibility. This much is a problem. And I've seen like a lot of ups and downs in the fitness industry because a lot of people have come in very hot and just quit. Just poof, left. Okay? And there's a lot of people who are watching them. They're like, "Ule ta chodio, ule ta garena." Huncha ni testo bhanne huncha ke. They're really careful in the process लाग्छ मलाई. Nagara. If you're not sure, don't go out there. Of course, yes, if like say someone who's just super anorexic and starts working out and puts up really goofy videos and does that, this, that, अनि उले भोलि गएर बिल्ड गर्दै गयो भने मान्छे त्योबाट इन्स्पायर्ड हुन्छ हैन. उले उसको बडी बिल्डै नगर्यो भने at least the fact that he's working out देखेर मात्रै someone might be inspired हैन. But अब उले गरेर खतरा गरेर अनि जिउ राम्रो बनेर अनि त्यसै oh this is fucking good, everything is really good, you have to be doing this, भनेर next day टाइममा छोडेर he becomes like a fucking alcoholic and just हुन्छ नि posts about him drinking all the time. Then like, hey, what are you doing, man? Like, because there's people watching you. I know it's not your responsibility, but it kind of is because you put it as a public profile and you talked about how this was good for you, how this is for this and that and last ma gera afil chhod दिनु त भएन नि त. There's people watching, man, like especially with younger kids. And if you're an older person, someone above the age of 30, and you need to realize there's people watching, and you have to be careful about people watching. You can't just neglect it. Like, you can't be that fucking selfish and be like, "Thik hai, malai pugyo ni ta, aru jasai garoस्." Garnu ta milcha tara it doesn't sit well with me. मलाई चाहिँ त्यो अलि सेल्फिश भयो जस्तो लाग्छ कि त्यस्तो गर्दाखेरि. अनि त्यही भएर मैले सबैले भन्छु कि तिमीहरू फिटनेस इन्डस्ट्रीमा छिर्ने भयो. हामीले जिमखानाले we even started a program क्या Alpha भनेर. I will bring it back. Alpha चाहिँ is basically, it was a 1.5 month course that we created. So we wanted to teach people what fitness actually was, the importance of fitness, how to go about it if you want to be a coach, how to interact with people, this, that. For me, then that was very important, like building that, not for a financial perspective or anything, but people getting into fitness for the right reasons. You getting me? Not because they want to be Insta famous or TikTok famous. That's fine too, but if you're going to get into the fitness industry, that means you're also getting into the service industry in a way, right? You're giving your services to somebody. Are your services worth it? Are you good enough? Like, if we don't respect our profession, nobody will. I know. So I would not if I go to a hotel and I don't get good service, I'm not happy, right? So not everybody can be a hotel manager just because they like staying in hotel rooms. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just because you like going on holiday doesn't mean you'll be a good hotel manager. So it's the same case, like for people. Just because you like working out does not mean that you can be a good coach,
100%,
a good instructor, or a good athlete.
No, this is the biggest mistake most मान्छेहरूले गर्ने is because I love working out, so I should have a gym भन्नु पाउँछ. त्यसपछि I should have a gym पनि होइन कि मैले वर्कआउट गरेँ, मैले decent body बनाएँ, अनि त्यसपछि I'm a good coach. You know how to coach yourself. I understand that, and you have proven it. But everybody is different. That's the beauty of fitness.
Exactly.
I know, same workout, same diet, same whatever the plans is. This is sabela work gardaina ni ta.
Exactly.
And being a coach is a whole different ball game. And then being a business owner to the other next level.
Yeah. And people don't like being a coach. Then is one of like मेरो life. One of my greatest privileges is I get to call myself coach. I know, and I tell people this a lot of times. Okay. In Muay Thai, let me just come back to martial arts and combat sports. Askal, everybody's a combat sport coach, man. Everybody's a Muay Thai coach. Everybody knows MMA. Everybody does jiu-jitsu. Like, just because somebody can hold the pad does not mean he's a coach. Right? Just because somebody can hit the pad does not make him a fighter. Right? Holding a pad means fuck all. There's like a machine out there which just has arms like this. I know. And there's a screen and it tells you where to hit. Is that machine a coach now? This is a coach bhaina ni ta. Spot गर्ने मान्छे जबरजस्ती coach हुन्छ भन्ने छैन क्या. Like being a coach is a lifelong commitment. Being a coach is being there for your students at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, doesn't matter. Being a coach is putting other people ahead of you all the time. All the time. Because you're not the talent. You're not the athlete. Right? There's so much that goes into being a coach. And people so easily say, I can write programs, so I'm a coach. Like, fuck your program, bro. There's like so many apps out there that can do the same exact program. Why do we need you? And being a coach, मान्छेले एकदम lightly लिन्छ क्या coach भन्ने term क्या. अनि maybe because I come from a martial arts background, I'm very anal about it. Because I'm not a coach, but it's like, fuck, man. Yeah. When before we fight in Muay Thai, before we fight, we pray, and when we pray, we actually say thank you to our teachers. Getting coach I thank us. So being a coach is so much more than just that. So much more. And people don't understand this. And they're like, "Mo coach gardinchu." I have guys coming my gym. 3 जना सँगै आउँछ. म चाहिँ coach हो, 2 जनालाई मेरो साथीहरु यिनीहरुको coach म हो भन्छ के. And I'm like, के को coach हो bro तिमी? Like कसरी coach भयो तिमी यार? Like it's like randomly saying, "Oh, म धेरै औषधि खान्छु सो म डाक्टर पनि म हो यिनीहरुको." Like त्यही कुरा त नि हैन त bro. Like मैले धेरै औषधि खान्छु यिनीहरु डाक्टर म हो भन्ने जस्तो कुरा 100% त्यही कुरा हो नि. त्यो त सेन्सै भएन नि त यार. And like त्यो पनि in a sport like Muay Thai or MMA, and then you go up in the ring and there's a real fucking killer there, I know, who's going to ding you so hard, like you'll actually need a real doctor and a real coach after that. Okay? So it's the area people who come up saying like, "Mo coach or for an industry that's grooming and booming the way it is right now." And we said 10 years, Mata, it's going to be massive, right? We're all trying to plant the seeds right now. We're all trying to like make sure that the foundation is strong, you know. Like I feel like even for the mass people who are getting into fitness, they should get into it knowing what they're getting into.
Yeah, exactly.
Like don't just go and pay for a coach for personal training and pay 40,000-50,000 rupees. You don't get the result you want and then say fitness is not good. Right? Because fitness is good. Your fucking coach wasn't good. Like, it's possible that guy was just a fraud. There are people like that. Harik field ma ta fraud huncha. Ki fitness ma hudaina bhanne huncha. मैले यहाँ बसेर कतिको pad work हेर्छु के. And I'm thinking, "Oh, what the fuck are you doing?" हुन्छ नि like उताबाट एकजनाले pad हान्छ यताबाट the holder is more excited than the hitter. क्या अब हान्ने मान्छेले यसरी हान्छ नि समाउनेले के गरे bro, like you're going to hurt yourself, you're going to hurt that guy, and then one day that guy's going to go and fight with this delusion of grandeur, with false sense of confidence, where he feels like, I know how to fight, and he's going to get his ass kicked. And then it's going to break him, and some guys, it break them for the rest of their lives. And सक्दैन भन्दा मेरो जिममा हामीले MMA सुरु गरेको 3 months भयो क्या bro. 3 months, literally. My gym's 5 years old, 2017 मा खोलेको, right? 3 months. You know why I didn't have MMA? Because I don't know MMA, man. मलाई नआउने कुरा मैले को ढाँटेर सिकाइदिन्छु भन्ने त नि. I don't know MMA. I know Muay Thai. I'll fucking teach Muay Thai. I would hold pads for the greatest fighters in the world. Like, I have that much confidence in my Muay Thai. I know how to do my shit. What am I going to do? Like, go teach MMA when I don't know what the fuck I'm doing? But there's so many people doing that. Just look at MMA in Nepal, man. म त shocked ल यति धेरै ठाउँ चाहिँ सिकाउने मलाई नि सिकाइदियो हुन्थ्यो भनेर जस्तो लाग्ने क्या. अनि त्यसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ अब भोलि जान्छ MMA फाइट गर्छ वाइल्ड चुटाइ खान्छ होइन. अनि त्यसपछि MMA नराम्रो, यो स्पोर्ट नराम्रो, फिटनेस नराम्रो. इट्स नट देयर फल्ट क्या. जो मान्छेले ढाँटेर बेच्यो नि त्यसको गल्ती हो क्या. त्यो चाहिँ I would like, this is a big platform, you know, and a lot of people watch your shows. So my request is like, before you just sign up with anybody, like see, especially combat sports गर्ने हो भने चाहिँ, if somebody has not fought, he has no fucking business teaching you how to fight, man. Simple as that. If someone's going to say, I'm going to teach you Muay Thai, how many Muay Thai fights have you had? You've never had a Muay Thai fight, then shut up, sit in the corner and watch. I know, like, के गरेर how, like, मैले कहिले पनि मेडिसिन पढाएको छैन तर म सर्जरी चाहिँ गरिदिन्छु है भने जस्तो हुन्छ त्यो त हैन ब्रो. अति र्यान्डम कुरा हो नि. बट त्यस्तो राम्रो मान्छेले यहाँ बिलिभ गरिदिन्छ क्या बिलिभ गरिदिन्छ क्या अब MMA कोचकोमा गएर MMA सिकिरहेको छ यतिर कोचको कतिवटा फाइट छ 0 So basically you're telling me your experience and your coach's experience are the same but you're paying him like why it's the khatra personality why are you paying him? It's the same even in bodybuilding I'd say right if somebody's going to be a bodybuilder and you're going to train for bodybuilding you better train with somebody who's done bodybuilding in the past man like right but why fall for that why fall for that research गर्नु पर्यो अलिकति आफैले बुझ्न सक्नु पर्यो लाइक मेरो घरको नजिक छ मलाई सजिलो छ सो म जान्छु हैन त्यो हैन सुरुमा यार म I've always lived on that side of town हैन पहिला लाइक आजभन्दा 13-14 वर्ष अगाडि यहाँ नखीपोटमा रेज छ नि
right
I used to fucking come for the 6 o'clock class bro from that side and from Marsganj like every morning 6:30 class would start I would be there every fucking morning because I knew that नखीपोटमा रेजमा सिकाउने सन्देश दाइले जस्तो legit यहाँ कसैले पनि सिकाउँदैन and I'll say it today also
I think rage started it all
yeah the whole martial arts culture and everything त यहाँ सुरु गर्ने त rage हो नि त let's give respect where it's due man like they're the ones who started with the I'm telling you 14 years ago when I had to come home for a holiday I had no place to train and rage every time used to take me in I never had to pay Sanjay never made me pay for it he would always train me himself and because he knew our talent dekhyo potential dekhyo so he would train me himself and I would respect that by fucking going all the way to Nakhipot from Marsganj at 5:30 in the morning whether it's winter summer didn't matter man bike ma त्यतिखेर कहाँ गाडी साडी बाइक चढेर fucking पुग्थ्यो because he's legit तर धुमरामै थियो भन्दैन नि त धुमरामै थियो सिकाइरा हैन त्यस्तै हो त्यस्तोमा जानु भएन नि त लाइक आफूले नै दिमाग लाउनु पर्यो नि अनि पछि गएर ए मैले मुथाइ सिकिसकेँ कति मान्छे छ क्या मैले मुथाइ सिकिसकेँ यार मैले पहिल्यै सिकेँ ए बाबा मैले गरेको 14 वर्ष 15 वर्ष भएपछि मैले होला सिकेको छैन इट्स अ लाइफ लङ प्रोसेस तिमीले गयो लाइक कोर्स गरे हो लाइक के सर्टिफिकेट पायो मुथाइ डन हैन आयो अब मुथाइ त्यस्तो त हुँदैन नि त यार बट देयर्स पिपल विल बी लाइक म तिमीलाई ब्ल्याक बेल्ट बनाइदिन्छु मुथाइमा ब्ल्याक बेल्ट फक म्यान लेजिट देयर्स पिपल गोइङ देयर्स पिपल सेलिङ बेल्ट्स इन मुथाइ म्यान
रुक एकछिन है मलाई ब्रेक चाहियो म एकदम के भन्ला थियो है द नेगेटिभ एस्पेक्ट्स अफ म्यारिजुनाको कुरा गरेर थिएँ मेरो कसरी प्रमोट गरिएको छ भनेर या एक्ज्याक्टली हाम्रोमा यहाँ इट युज टु बी लाइक म्यारिजुनाको हेभन नै नि फर टुरिस्ट अनि त्यसपछि निक्सनको बेलामा त ब्यान गर्यो नि अनि त्यसपछि अहिले त उतातिर लिगल छ
थिङ्क अफ द फकिङ आइरोनी यस्तो नि अब आई डोन्ट नो म्यान लाइक आई वाज सेङ कहिले पनि गाँजा खाएर बुढी पिट्यो भन्ने मान्छे सुन्दैन गाँजा खाएर झगडा गऱ्यो भन्ने मान्छे सुन्दैन गाँजा खाएर ओभर स्पिड गऱ्यो भन्ने सुन्दैन राइट गाँजा खाएर बाटो बिचमा बिस्तारै गाडी कुदायो त्यो सुन्छ होइन झ्याप भएर लाइक बुढीले अहिले के चिज गर्दा नि केही नभने टोला पर हाँसेर बस्यो वी हियर दिस थिङ्स राइट द्याट आई मिन समटाइम्स यु जस्ट हेभ टु लुक एट फ्याक्ट्स बट देन अगेन अब युज एन्ड अब्युजको कुरा आयो नि त अब my shades I can take the shades and fucking stab myself in the eye right or I can put it on my eyes and like block the sun from coming in it's at some point you have to use your common sense also हैन अब त्यो भन्ने नै हुन्छ रक्सी खाएर त के गर्छ नि त मान्छेले but that's completely fucking legal we let it go we completely understand whereas the medicinal value that comes out from alcohol usage like that is very low compared to the medicinal from marijuana but the taboo एउटा चाहिँ overly like I was telling you I think it's overly exaggerated के like गाँजा खायो भने यस्तो हुन्छ भनेर मान्छेले गाँजा खाए अल्छी हुन्छ हैन त्यो त्यस्तै नै अल्छी हो के त्यो गाँजा त्यसको बहाना मात्रै हो के गाँजा खाएर अल्छी भएको भने अल्छी मान्छे त्यसै नै अल्छी हुन्छ कि गाँजा has nothing to fucking do with it गाँजा खाएर टोलायो त्यो टोलाउने खालकै मान्छे हो क्या ब्रो लाइक जे गरे नि टोलाउँथ्यो त्यो हुन्छ नि गाँजालाई जस नहुन्थ्यो क्या but I feel like if they do it the right way like Thailand ma legalize garyo हैन and it's very smart of them that way because they're a tourist hub what do people want to do when they're on holiday man they want to smoke pot have sex and have a good time, right? Like young people on holiday, the objective is so mostly, not all, but mostly. So fuck, make it legal when you know that it's not going to cause any harm. Like people aren't going to get stoned and start getting into gang fights or causing trouble. Then why not just? It's going to make a lot of money for the country. It's going to marijuana production is going to give employment to a lot of people. I know it's a whole new source of revenue generation for the country. So why not? Like Nepal, why not? Just like saying done. Supposedly Nepalko Gaza is very good. And सुनेको हामीले नेपालको गाजा एकदम राम्रो छ भने सुनेको थिएँ डकुमेन्ट्रीहरूमा चाहिँ
70s को हेरे ब्ल्याक एन्ड व्हाइट
सो यहाँको खै सोइल राम्रो छ भन्छ क्या अनि थाहा भएन त्यस्तो हो भने त व्हाई नट म्यान लाइक
आई मिन लाइक अवेरनेस त चाहिन्छ होइन अब इट्स नट लाइक 12 वर्षकोहरूलाई स्मोक गर्दै हिँड्न चाहिँ होइन अब अफकोर्स देयर आर स्टडिज लाइक टिनेज इयर्स या फर्मेटिभ इयर्समा स्मोक गऱ्यो भने चाहिँ युआर नट गोइङ टु गेट द्याट कग्नेटिभ फङ्सन जुन युआर सपोज टु एभ्रिथिङमा छ लाइक एल्कोहलमा पनि 18 नखाऊ अगाडि नखाऊ या 21 भन्दा अगाडि नखाऊ भनेर दिएको छ नि इन्स्ट्रक्सन त्यो इन्स्ट्रक्सन अनुसारले जानु पऱ्यो अनि आई अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड लाइक देयर आर सो मेनी पिपल वान्टिङ टु लिगलाइज दिस होइन भएको राम्रो भनेर एडभोकेट गर्छ बट देन त्यो एडभोकेसीमा पनि आई थिङ्क फ्याक्ट्स बेस्ड चाहिँ अलिकति आउनु पऱ्यो आई मिन सम डिमेरिट्स त भने भनिदेऊ दिज आर अलिअलि डिमेरिट्स कम्पेयर टु द्याट मेरिट्सहरू बेसी तर एक्सट्रिम हुनु भएन क्या लाइक गाजा भनेको त एभ्रिथिङ यो त स्वर्गै पुग्यो हो एभ्रिथिङ मात्र पोजिटिभ छ त होइन नि त यु हेभ टु अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड इट
too much of anything is a bad thing, right? Too much of anything is a bad thing. And doing anything on a daily basis that doesn't have to be done is not a good thing. And because then you are dependent on that, right? So doing anything on a daily basis that doesn't really need to be done, like maybe taking shit or taking a piss or eating your food, sleeping, doing anything other than that is like you're basically being dependent on something. It's not like it doesn't come with its gaza khaira mancheko ghar sar barbad nabhako ni haina cha, right? There are instances where people just waste their whole lives just getting stoned, right?
Yeah.
But there are also instances where people waste their whole lives just drinking alcohol. I know. But the damage done by alcohol, I think, is slightly more than marijuana. But
practically much worse. No?
Yeah.
Practically much worse.
But to be honest, marijuana, I feel like marijuana, I've seen a lot of people, who just...
in your dreams, imagination.
Documentaries. So, no, one, memory loss. Right?
Yeah.
Short-term memory loss, at least, for a fact. Two, the fucking munchies. It's not a good thing, right? Whenever you start binge eating this, that, it's not a good thing. Three, yes, it could possibly slow you down if you're not careful with it. It could possibly slow you down. And fourth, and I think in a general sense of not giving a fuck when you're stoned. Like you could have the world fucking at your doorstep and you have to face all of it, but you're stoned, so it's like like some places where you need a sense of urgency. That sense of urgency will be taken away, could be taken away by marijuana abuse. So it's not like, oh, it's all gaza khaibani, all great.
Yeah.
But when you compare the evils, it's definitely the lesser evil, man. Like it's common sense. It's really common sense.
Yeah, legalize garna pani there should be certain grounds to hunu paryo.
Yeah, for sure.
त्यसमा चाहिँ work गर्नु जरुरी छ के I mean like if a country where they're so radically against drugsदेखि लिएर all these psychedelicsदेखि लिएर सबै स्टफहरूमा अनि now they are accepting it, now they are legalizing it. So legalizing भनेको भोलिदेखि खाऊ मात्र होइन नि त there are going to be यो कन्डिसनमा नखाऊ भने रुल्स हुन्छ या यस्तो नगर खाएर or यो एजमा नखाऊ or whatever it is त्यो चाहिँ इन प्लेस हुनु पर्यो कि होइन त्यो नगरेर लाइक हेवाएर छोडिदियो भने त फेरि त्यो त
Well, I think like for now, if Nepal were to legalize, the right step would be medical purposes ko lai legalize kar. Do it only for only medical marijuana. Yeah. Don't do it for recreational purposes. Okay? Right now, we don't need that shit. Like honestly, we don't need just gandari everywhere. It's I feel I could be wrong, but medical purposes, medical marijuana, I would highly advocate for that because there are certain benefits. I know, but as an athlete, well, the CBD is a big thing.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And fuck, man, athletes world over will swear by it. I know. So that comes from marijuana. So medical marijuana got it. Recreational purpose ko like no got it, fine. But medical, I think it should be legalized.
Yeah, more studies haru pani hunu पर्यो. I mean, see बाहिर किन legalize गरेर छ त्यसको हामीले यहाँ के गर्न सक्छौँ. I mean, legalize भन्ने बित्तिकै like you said medicinal purpose को लागि गर test it out how it works. त्यसपछि if you want to be more liberal अझ खोल्दै जाऊ. That's the way to do it. I mean, like भोलिदेखि एकैचोटि random गर्ने पनि होइन, but some kind of progress चाहिँ हुनुपर्छ जस्तो लाग्छ with this. र the problem comes कहाँबाट भनेपछि यो weedदेखि लिएर everything like everything like एउटै बास्केटमा हालिदिन्छ क्या. So it's like सिरिन्ज हानेछ पनि ड्रग्स, विड स्मोक गरेछ पनि ड्रग्स नै हो क्या. सबै अब त्यो त कम्पेयर गर्नै मिल्दैन नि त. And so that's why that's where it fails in terms of information.
So maybe the people who make the laws should smoke weed for a few months, see how they actually feel about it, see what the experience is.
The thing is like मेरोमा कतिजना people intellectuals देखि लिएर अनि policy makers आउँछ होइन, politicians आउँछ. I've asked like almost सबैलाई सोध्छु कि म चाहिँ should weed be legalized. अहिलेसम्म एकजना बाहेक अरू सबजनाले yes they are in favor. तर I don't know what's happening. बाहिर त के पनि त्यस्तो सुनिँदैन, के पनि भएको जस्तो छैन. But apparently it seems like everybody, at least financial point of view, but they agree. Economic point of view, but they agree.
Employment kati badhyo bro. Like so many people would have jobs. So many people go land which they thought was useless will now be extremely highly valued. There's
one of the biggest economic problem I know because to land oil khali real estate ma matra use bhayirach cha rather than using it in productive sectors.
True.
I know, and this any kind of usage with the land jale gera production some actual value generate garcha, that's good.
Absolutely. But in Nepal ma moral policing pani badi cha ni
ekdamai
haina. So I think like the moral policing side of it won't allow us to legalize just yet, because then the double standards ko kura aउँछ. It's kind of a slippery slope for politicians also, I think, directly going to legalize garnu pani. Plus I also feel like in external factors pani धेरै छ, like there's a lot of other players controlling what we can or can't legalize, and त्यसले गर्दाखेरि if you look at it, the fucking sensible thing to do would be just legalize the damn thing, man. I don't understand, like we're a hub for casinos, right? जुवा खेल्नलाई हामीले मान्छेलाई वेलकम गर्छ यार, like with all these casinos and stuff. Yes, that provides a lot of employment, brings a lot of money to the country, and good. But so will this will do the same thing. त्यो चाहिँ allow गर्न सक्छ नि, किन यो double standard? I don't understand. If anything, like cigarettes should be illegal, man. Cigarettes should be 100% illegal. Like it should be banned from the fucking face of the earth. And this is coming from somebody who smoked for like 15 years or more of my life. It's the worst thing that I've ever done to myself.
Why did you feel the need to quit? Single incident, okay? It's a series of events.
Lockdown service, I just quit. Like, it's been 2 years now, clean from cigarettes. पहिला fight हुँदाखेरि fight camp मा खाँदैन थिएँ. Fight सक्ने बित्तिकै I used to light a cigarette, man. If I didn't have another fight coming up. But during camp I wouldn't smoke. But cigarettes, I'm not somebody who regrets a lot of things in my life. Like, I live my life by the day. But one thing, if I could take back, is like starting smoking cigarettes. That's one thing, because I know in every aspect it hampered me. Yeah? In every single aspect, man. From my brain function, to my body function, to my lungs, to my gut health, to my growth, my skin, my hair. Like, everything, my cigarettes is fucking bad for you, bro. Like, there's not a single thing that is good for, okay? Not one. It's literally fucking poison. And then it's cigarettes and Coca-Cola, right? You know, fucking, if you look at year-round cigarettes, how many people die from cigarette smoking? It's insane. Then people have quit smoking cigarettes like they used to. पहिला, fuck man, every year the amount of people used to die from cigarettes. It's the worst thing that you could do.
Market पनि खतरा गऱ्यो नि. I was just watching एकजना this marketer, मलाई नामै बिर्सेँ, Bernard Hayes. मैले बिर्सेँ, मैले उसको डकुमेन्ट्री हेरेको थिएँ. Like this guy was behind the whole campaign of women should be smoking भनेर के अनि त्यसरी नै प्लान्ट गरेको थियो अनि त्यसपछि बिकज द्याट्स लाइक एम्पावरमेन्ट भनेर त्यसरी सेल गऱ्यो अरे कि प्रब्लम इन 70s 80s अनि त्यसपछि there are so many like smoking पनि त cool हुन थाल्यो because of Marlboro ad and stuff like that, manly man cowboy smoking and all that thing, so there's a whole industry behind it. अनि the one thing I don't get is मैले कतिजनालाई सोधेको छु लाइक तर स्मोक गर्दाखेरि what is the thing that gets you addicted? Is it like physiological addiction हो कि तिम्रो बडीलाई नै चाहिने कि is it you experience something you're addicted to the experience?
So I feel there are two types of addictions when you smoke cigarettes. I think there might be more. I'm not fucking expert, right? But from my experience, when I used to smoke, मलाई चाहिँ दुईटा addiction हुन्थ्यो क्या. One was of obviously the smoke, right? I wanted that nicotine in my system. So the nicotine चाहिन्थ्यो number one. And the second addiction I had was that oral fixation, क्या?
Just habit matra.
Yeah, like just want something in my fingers and I want to smoke. I go to a new place, I see a lot of new faces, I'm kind of nervous, chur nikalyo khayo, right? I just had my food, what do I do? Chur nikalyo khayo. Chha laayo, oh chur nikalyo chur pani. Right? It was something, it became like a clutch. And my dad, a crutch, sorry.
Crutch.
And my dad, ever since I was a child, he's told me like, crutches aren't good. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta learn to stand on your own. No matter what you do, crutches aren't good. So, these habits, they're basically crutches. It's something you fall back on. And Tujan, I didn't like. Okay? I wanted to see, like, look, itro barsa, 15 barsa khaya hola, bro. 15 barsa badi kam, 20 barsa khaya hola, chur. And I think, itro barsa ma chur khaya base, na. What am I like without a cigarette in my hand? Like, who am I as a person? Because my whole life, whenever I've needed, like, I've been in any situation that didn't require like sleeping. I wanted a cigarette after everything, after food, after sex, after fucking like a stressful day, after a happy day. It was just that. And then I wanted to see what I was like, the real me. And then I was like, fuck, man, kati bahana banaउने के. I moved from regular cigarettes to the bitch cigarettes, आउँदैन the patulo one. I used to smoke those cigarettes and people was like, yeah, I was like, it's a bitch cigarette. And they'd be like, why? And I was like, because you have to be a little bitch to smoke this one. I feel like so I smoked those bitch cigarettes. Then I started vaping. And then like...
Vaping when it's on khatam?
I don't know, man, but it's something else again. Like, it's the same process. I don't know if it's better or worse, but like, I know it's another thing I've started which I didn't have and some sort of dependency. And it's the same thing. I need to have smoke coming out of my mouth to be a fucking normal human being, man. Because stupid I feel like then I was like, nah, man, let's just see. And let's see. And COVID, like, you know it's bad for you, so overnight cold turkey. Fuck this.
To withdrawal and all that stuff from the nicotine.
But nothing's easy, man. Like, from what I've spent 15 years fighting Muay Thai. So it's not easy, bro. But like, once you make up your mind, kita don't say I'm going to do it and don't make up your mind. You got to see it through. So it's like, suruma चाहिँ गाह्रो भयो 20-year-old habit, man. Like, but like I said, पहिला म camp गर्दाखेरि I wouldn't smoke. So if I was in fight camp, I wouldn't smoke. Okay? So त्यसले गर्दाखेरि त्यो टाइममा अफ लिने बानी चाहिँ थियो के मेरो बडीले. अनि जब I just stopped vape पनि गर्न छोड्यो, सबै छोड्दिए के.
अनि weed को चाहिँ addiction हुन्छ कि हुँदैन according to the documentary?
According to the documentary हुँदैन. But I do feel feeling good is an addiction. Everybody wants to feel good all the time. Right? And if it makes you feel good, then you could be addicted.
It's a psychological thing, not physiological level.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah. But feeling good is definitely a nice thing. Who doesn't want to feel good? And if you're one of those lucky people who feels good when you get stoned, then why wouldn't you want to feel good again? And again and again. But you've got to be able to function also at the same time.
Yeah.
I tell people this, like, now that you're getting older, you see younger people and they're all smoking and this, that. Like, you want to smoke, like, but at least know that you control your weed and your weed doesn't control you. You know, like, you can't just be under the influence. And if you can be under the influence the whole day, also takes like, that if you have to be productive, if you have to do something, you should be able to do it. And if you can't, then no khao, rati sutne bala khao. when you don't have to do anything else, you don't have any work, त्यतिखेर खाऊ. But दिनभरि काम छ, काम गर्नुपर्छ भने make sure that तिमीले खाएर नि गर्न सक्छौ कि नखाऊ. This is very important. You got to be able to function, and not everybody can function when they're stoned. This is one thing, and not everybody can function. A lot of people like त्यो public anxiety and यताउति हुन्छ कि मान्छे धेरै हुँदाखेरि त्यो हुने यताउति हुन्छ. So I feel like it's person to person as well, you know. But a lot of things in life it's just discipline, man. A lot of things. Okay? You could abuse anything you want. Butter you can abuse. Anything you can abuse. But it's just discipline. At the end of the day, if you have that discipline to say, now I got to do this. Mero yo time bhayo, mero yo time ma मैले यो गर्नुपर्ने छ. I don't care if I'm stoned, if I'm sleep deprived, if I'm unhappy, if my girlfriend is unhappy, like if my dog is not well, none of that matters. And if you have that discipline, then it's the abuse man. It's in keeping you in this luxury. You can. Why not enjoy it?
Yeah, I completely understand. म पनि पहिला चाहिँ like I used to drink 2012-13 तिर सम्म okay. अनि I felt like again I don't have control over it जस्तो dependent भएको जस्तो feel भएपछि then I stopped completely नै the next day देखि stop गरेँ नै. It wasn't until this year that I started drinking, but now I have the control. Now मैले महिनामा एकचोटि ड्रिङ्क गरे पनि पुग्छ कि कहिलेकाहीँ महिनाभरि नै ड्रिङ्क नगरे पनि पुग्छ कि किनभने द काइन्ड अफ पर्सन आई एम आई युज टु ड्रिङ्क बाई माई सेल्फ. काम सकेपछि एक्लै आई इन्जोय एक्लै ड्रिङ्क गर्नु पनि. तर विच क्यान गेट अगेन अब अरूसँग ड्रिङ्क गर्ने मान्छेहरूलाई त त्यो त अकेजन आउनुपर्छ नि होला थिङ वेन युर ड्रिङ्किङ बाई यर सेल्फ आई मिन लाइक यो एभ्री सिङ्गल डे त्यस्तो हुन्थ्यो कि. तर नाउ आई हेभ इट अन्डर कन्ट्रोल लाइक मन्थसम्म नखाए पनि खासै फरक पर्दैन. अनि त्यो कुरामा चाहिँ आई क्यान रिलेट द्याट हुन्छ. समटाइम्स लाइक द थिङ्स द्याट यु डु क्यान कन्ज्युम यु. त्यहाँ डिपेन्डेन्सी बिल्ड हुनु भएन. इफ द्याट इज यर केस देन इट्स बेटर नट टु डु इट.
द अदर वे आई अल्सो लुक एट इट इज लाइक आई टोल्ड यु नि I want to know who I am and I want to be happy. So why do people drink, right? You're happy, you drink to escalate that happiness. You know, you're sad, you drink to be less sad, right? Why? Because when you drink, you become someone else, right? So basically, you're not facing your reality. You're hiding away from it. You're shying away from it with the help of this substance that makes you feel like you're not who you are for a little while. And you can elongate that for as long as you want. You can feel like... But कस्तो पनि हुन्छ भने alcoholमा चाहिँ like I used to drink पहिला हैन. Alcoholमा कस्तो हुन्छ भने that effect that it has, whether it's to make you happy, to make you less sad, whether it's to make you anything, it's temporary, okay, bro? It's very temporary, okay? अनि त्यो धेरै खाँदै गएँ नि रक्सी खाँदै गएँ. म खुसी हुनु नि रक्सी खाएँ मैले, अब स्याड भएँ नि रक्सी खाएँ मैले, जे भयो नि रक्सी खाएँ नि त. अब जहिले पनि त्यसको इन्फ्लुएन्समा बसेँ. आइ एम नाउ समबडी एल्स अल द टाइम, राइट? आइ एम नट मी एट अल. एन्ड नाउ देयर इज अ फकिङ void because I miss me. You'll deep inside you have to have these conversations. You're always going to miss who you really are, Nita, who you truly are, right? Because you don't want to face whatever it is, or you want to super escalate it. You've made someone else out of you, okay? Until you got that substance, I feel like people who abuse any sort of substance over a long period of time, they lose touch of who they really are. Okay? And that's not a good thing. To be able to be happy being just completely sober is brilliant. To be able to be sad and process that on your own with your God-given brain, it's a beautiful thing. It's what we're meant to do as human beings. We're not meant to take some supplement to enhance or reduce our feelings. We should go through our emotions and handle it the way we're supposed to. And if we can't, then you go to a fucking doctor, right? Then you get some medical help. But if you can, so yes, every once in a while, the occasion is there. Like when I got married, my friends wanted to drink. Have a drink in the evening. I'm not going to be an asshole and be like, no, I don't drink, right? I'll have a drink with them. But it's not to make me happier. Like, I just married the love of my life. I'm already happy. But it's more like a toast, a celebration of sorts. So I think if you can look at alcohol from a perspective that's kind of outside, and be like, why do I actually drink and what do I really need this for? And do I really need it? I think people will enjoy their alcohol a lot more, okay? Rather than be like, it's something I have to do in the evening.
Yeah, I think your conversation regarding this marijuana को conversation एकदमै आइरहेको छ नि त हैन अहिले नेपालकै कन्टेक्स्टमा कुरा गर्ने भने पनि धेरैजनाले बोलिरहेको छ अनि पार्लियामेन्टमा बिल प्रेजेन्ट गर्यो के कपाल अफ इयर्स अगाडि कि मन्थ अगाडि होला सो यस्तो कुराहरू सुनिरहेको छ बट देन आई थिङ्क फ्रम द्याट पोइन्ट अफ भ्यू नै त्यो अथोरिटीको पोइन्ट अफ भ्यूबाट नि दे निड टु डु मोर अफ रिसर्च नट जस्ट द गुड तर गुड ब्याड एभ्रिथिङ हेर त्यो अनुसारले ल बनाऊ अनि त्यसपछि कसरी रेगुलेट गर्ने हो त्यहाँतिर लाग किनभने आई फिल लाइक इफ इभेन्चुली 20 years डाउन द लाइन तिमीले लिगलाइज गर्नु नै छ र गरिन्छ नै भनेपछि वाइ नट स्टार्ट राइट नाउ
वाइ वेस्ट दैट अपर्च्युनिटी एट द टाइम
किनभने हामी धेरै जस्तो कुरामा चाहिँ हामी लास्टमा हामीहरूले पाउँछौँ कि लाइक द इन्टरनेट वेस्टमा एभ्रिबडी इज युजिङ यहाँ बिस्तारै 100 kbps 100 bps यस्तो आउनु थाल्यो होइन एन्ड कतिवटा कुरा त हामीहरू लेट अडप्टर्स हो नि त सो वी हेभ द्याट मच टु क्याच अप होइन अब वेयर द रेस्ट अफ द वर्ल्ड हाम्रैतिरबाट लिगलाइज भएको चिज रेस्ट अफ द वर्ल्डमा बिस्तारै खोलिरहेको छ भने चाहिँ वाइ आर वी ल्यागिङ बिहाइन्ड जस्तो लाग्छ किन पछाडि बसिरहेको भनेर
बट what do you think? You think they'll legalize?
I think so. I think yeah.
I hope so, man. It would be. I think it would be the only smart thing to do. I know. Or ke cha ta hamro like we don't have oil coming out anytime soon. There's no diamonds around here. Like what do we have? We don't have a port where we can trade like in other countries. So yes, we have Mount Everest. कति बिचारा give Mount Everest a break, man. सास फेर्नु दियो यार लाइक
जोन माउन्ट एभरेस्ट
होइन त अब सास फेर्नु दियो यार समिटमा लाइन 2 घण्टाको भनेपछि त कहाँ मात्रै लाइन लाग्यो नेपाली त यार होइन त सो 2 hour line at the summit man it's like fuck man you're literally dying every second out there there's no oxygen and there's a 2 hour long line out there so imagine that Mount Everest needs a break right we've got something that is just out there. Like, I don't know for apparently Amsterdam coffee shops when you go and you actually see Nepalese hash.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You go even in Thailand when you go to like coffee shops and weed shops and all they have like Nepalese hash. Today around sir.
Does it actually come from Nepal ki tyo naam matra?
Khai. खै तर हुन्छ नेप्लिज ह्यास हुन्छ तर त्यो त मिस अपर्च्युनिटी पनि हो नि त त्यसलाई लिगलाइज गरेर प्रपर वेमा बेच्यो भने त्यो पैसा त हाम्रो नेपालको कतिवटा फार्मर्सकोमा जान्थ्यो नि त कतिवटा भिलेजेसमा जान्थ्यो त्यहाँ डेभलपमेन्ट हुन्थ्यो होइन एक्ज्याक्टली के मिस आउट गर्ने त्यो चाहिँ अलिकति आई डोन्ट अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड द्याट अल्सो क्या बट थ्याङ्क गड आम नट अ पोलिटिसियन
हाम्रोमा चाहिँ कस्तो प्याटर्न देख्छु भनेपछि इफ समथिङ इज अलिकति कम्प्लिकेटेड र इट रिक्वायर्स सम काइन्ड अफ इन्भेस्टमेन्ट अफ रिसर्च भनेपछि त्यहाँतिर यसलाई कम्प्लिटली नै ब्यान गरिदिउँ गरेर चाहिँ सेभरल टाइम्स हामीहरूमा त्यस्तो भएको छ कि जहाँ चाहिँ बुझ्नलाई अलिकति एफर्ट लाइक क्रिप्टो करेन्सीदेखि लिएर एभ्रिथिङ क्या लाइक कुनै कुरा बुझ्नलाई मैले टाइम एन्ड एनर्जी स्पेन्ड गर्नुपर्छ भनेपछि यसलाई अहिलेलाई कम्प्लिटली नै ब्यान गरिदिउँ भनेर गरेको छ कि एन्ड द्याट्स वाइ त्यहाँ चाहिँ डिपर स्टडी हुँदैन डिपर स्टडी नभएपछि इट डजन्ट मुभ एनीवेयर So that's a problem as a whole.
I remember when they banned porn.
Oh, even banned so.
It's still banned. Porn.
I think so. Banned. Oh, key reason.
I don't know.
Can rapes increase by it? That's the research.
So they're going to sexually frustrate them more. Just like tie it up and keep them wide.
They कारणले त ban गरेको थियो त त्यतिखेर त.
Maybe raise your children better. No, maybe like don't raise rapists. Give your kids more time and attention when they need it. Instead of like moral policing everything.
Half research हुन्छ जेमा पनि and that's a problem. अघि एकछिन कुरा गर्दा त लाइक ब्ल्याक बेल्ट इन मुay thai को कुरामा थियो हैन हामी कि मैले सम्झे दिस इज समथिङ मैले जिस्केर मेरो कोचलाई मैले भने त के बेल्ट हुँदैन ब्ल्याक बेल्ट कहिले पुग्छ मुay thai टाइमको सोच्दै थिएँ कि तर त्यो जोक नै साँच्चैको रियल नै
बिजनेस ब्रो वर्ल्ड वाइड इभन नाउ यु क्यान जस्ट गुगल एन्ड डु इट
बाहिर पनि
बेचिदिन्छ literally bro let me tell you a story of the first Muay Thai gym I ever went to right this is like in India when I was really looking for a Muay Thai gym it took me a while to find my coach okay? अनि त्यतिखेर इन्टरनेटमा खासै केही नि हुँदैन बट गुगल सर्च गर्थेँ अनि मुइथाई दिल्ली मुइथाई इन्डिया मुइथाई कति गऱ्यो अनि आई फाउन्ड वान प्लेस राइट आई वन्ट टेक हिज नेम बट हिज नेम स्टार्ट्स विथ द ग्रान्ड मास्टर ग्रान्ड मास्टर सच एन्ड सच होइन अनि उसको जिम थियो दिल्लीमा सेन्ट्रल दिल्लीमा जिम थियो आई वेन्ट इन इट वाज लाइक अ हल I walk in, there's like, I think 2 bags, no mats. 2 bags, no mats. But there's a stage, bro. It's the Lamo hallway, no? And like, top mats in, there's a stage, right? And this stage, there's a throne. When people get married, there's a single chair, okay? There's a throne there, you know? And in my class, and then all these other guys came in for training, and everybody's just kind of waiting around. Some people are just shadowboxing, they're doing their own thing, you know? So, everybody's doing their own thing. Then the grandmaster walked in. Big, fat guy. And then really fat guy. And he's wearing the Muay Thai luga huncha ke? Not shorts, but traditional luga launcha ke? Just to look at that. Really big fat guy. So this guy, he goes and sits on the throne. Hey, all the students are waiting, you know? Like, he goes and sits on the throne. Bro, class doesn't start until you go to him and bow down to him, man. Every person has to go personally to this guy. And ulai dogera balla training. I was like, fuck this shit, man. Bhakta huna ho. Yeah, I came to learn how the art of 8 limbs, man. And then, and he will not teach you a damn thing. Well, like someone who's never fought, so how will he teach? He's sitting on his throne, telling people what to do. Imagine teaching Muay Thai, sitting on your throne and telling people what to do. And he's got like 30 jana cha bicharaharu who believed him and came. It's this to talk like in the art. I've seen मैले नेपालमै पोस्टर देखेको छु क्या axe kick हुन्छ you know what axe kick is त्यो कराटे taekwondo axe kick full axe kick हान्न छैन अन्त Muay Thai class Muay Thai class 5 days a week. I was like, shit, man. हामीले त्यस्तो मैले कहिल्यै सिकेँ त होइन I think त्यो एक्सिक हानेपछि ब्ल्याक बेल्ट पाउँछ होला Muay Thai फुल क्या खतरा एक्स किक क्या ब्रो त्यो एक्स किक मात्रै जज गर्ने हुन्छ नि इट्स लाइक अ फकिङ नाइस किक खुट्टा स्ट्रेट होइन तर Muay Thai क्लास 5 days a week type ko kya. It is what it is. That's how people are. But it's so encouraging because despite all that, Nepal ko Muay Thai level is gradually coming up. Yeah, it's actually coming up. Not just my own students. My students but nation over. Of course, there's a lot of fucking frauds out there still. But the real ones, because कति वर्ष भयो नि त केटाहरू फाइट गरिरहेछ होइन they've been going abroad and fighting. अस्ति one of my girls, we went to Malaysia, she did really well, and so slowly it's coming up. Okay? Like it won't be overnight, like anything else, but in the next 5 to 10 years, we're gonna make it, man. We'll be on the scene. Okay? We'll for sure be on the scene. So that girl that I trained, Prati, she's 14 years old. Yes.
How did you find them?
It's the interesting story. So these two came to my gym last year, about a year and a half ago. And in our biana class, I wasn't there for the morning classes. And my coach and team, they used to be like, they're getting good. To a point where like, so I was like, Bilka class ma bolon ta ek din bhane. Ayo Bilka class ma. I took them on the pads. They were far from being good, but potential didn't okay? But I've been in this sport for long enough to know that potential doesn't mean shit. Like, it doesn't mean anything. So I said, okay, you girls come in tomorrow at this time, bhane. No questions asked, they turned up. And I kept doing that for the next week. Okay? You girls, I want you here this time. I want you here this time. No questions asked, bro. No questions asked. Never. Always on time, before time, never playing with their phone during class. They would finish their class, then they'd train with me. And I was like, okay, one day we sat down and I was like, what do you think about doing this for a profession? They never expected it. They never thought that they'd be good. And I was like, you have what it takes. I feel like you have what it takes. What do you think about doing this as a profession, man? Super excited. For me, it's so exciting to see like a 13-year-old and a 19-year-old at that point, one getting excited about fighting. Yeah. Until then I was like, okay, from now on, you only train with me. You don't train anywhere else. Like, I've been looking for these two girls my whole life. Okay? It's just, I didn't have a face or a name for these two girls until they walked in. And so ever since I hung up my gloves and said, I'm not fighting anymore, I've been looking for someone that I could take up there. And kati factors when you think of coaching somebody or making them a world champion. I'm just सोच्दाखेरि पो ए बोलायो प्याड हान्नु लायो ब्याग हान्नु लायो. So there's so many things. Okay? And sometimes like a lot of things are very selfish also. Okay? Number one, can they come and train? Will their family support them? Right? Check. Yes, they will. They can come and train whenever I tell them to. Number two, do they want to train? Right? Check. Number three, how hardworking are they? How hungry are they? Talent bhayera matrai pugena, hardworking hunu paryo, discipline, all of that is there. Do they have to take care of their family? Because this is a real problem, man. Like, and it's not something we want to address. I'm saying because it's sensitive. It's difficult. Like, I can't come to train because I have to take care of I have to feed my family. It's a very genuine problem. And it's a problem that a lot of fighters in Nepal face. Okay? I know, like, I know almost all the fighters here, right? They really have problems, okay? Because they have to take care of their family. On a personal level, my heart breaks for each and every one of them, okay? But as a coach, ke garne ta? Train ta garnu paryo. You train garne ke, you can take care of your family. It's a genuine problem. I understand. It's not an excuse. It's a reason. But what can I do? There's people out there in the world who are training 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day, like living this life. How will we compete against them by only training 2 to 3 hours a day? It's not possible anymore. सक्दैन नि. त्यसै त knowledge र experience मा यत्रो gap छ हाम्रो र उनीहरुको, the rest of the world को. We have to make up with sheer hard work. We have to make up with just fucking training more than them, being the hardest worker in the room. How many of you can do this? And there's not many. Thankfully, they don't have to take care of their families, right? They come from good homes, and they can actually spend their time and their effort. And most people who have that need or want to, a fighter who needs it is very dangerous. But a fighter who wants it, even though they don't need it, that's a special kind of dangerous. Okay? And not many, like, there's a lot of people who will say, yes, I do, I feel that way, I'm that person. They're not. Like, plain and simple, they're not. When you get fucking punched in the face, you forget that you're that person. Yeah? It's a very brutal sport. They have all of that. Everything, like, the whole fucking thing just ticks. And the best thing is they want to learn. They're humble. They come, when you tell them something, coachable. Like, hey, you're a coach, you know what it is, right? If someone's not coachable, all the talent, all the hard work will do nothing. Coachable, there's a big difference between I can't and I don't know how, show me. Right? I can't is an attitude that there's nothing we can do about as a coach. I can't is I can't, sorry man. But I don't know, show me. Fine. Now it's on me. Now I have to do my job. So the past 18 months, bro, these girls have trained minimum twice a day, every fucking day, if not 3 to 4 times even sometimes. Every day, bro. And each session is minimum 2.5 hours long. No birthday parties, no festivals, no get-togethers, no friends, no movies, nothing. Whole life is gym, home, gym, home, gym, home. And with that, I'm like, IFMA majita, bro. IFMA, International Federation of Muay Thai Association, okay? So it is, in the amateur circuit, if it's not IFMA, it doesn't mean shit. Like, IFMA is the only one that matters, okay? Of course, they lay claim saying, I'm but look at it this way. It's the only body recognized by the Olympic Committee. Because Muay Thai is not in the Olympics, basically IFMA is the Olympics of Muay Thai. Okay? We had 1,200 participants this time from over 102 countries. I know. IFMA is 20-something years old. Prapti had 6 fights, bro. 6 fights in 8 days. 5 fights back to back to back to back. The girl she was fighting had like 40 fights, 45 fights, 2-time European champion, 2-time world champion. She went there with like 3 fights. And she won all. So it's like when you have all of that and you put in the work, you really put in the work, then sucks again. Like 100% sucks again. World stage ma compete garnu सक्दैन यता छँदै छैन के bro. It's just that the whole package पाउनु गाह्रो छ के. I've been in Muay Thai for 14-15 years now, bro. And it took me 14-15 years to find 2 people that just fit perfectly. Okay? And no offense to anybody else I've trained. But everybody else has one thing or the other that doesn't fit. And it's a very intricate puzzle. Okay? Especially with Hamro society and Hamro way of life and everything. It's very difficult. Yeah? And it excites me even more because girls. I never thought it would be girls. Yeah? It's just maybe stupid, that masculine fucking way of mine thinking it would be a guy. But the day I met them, I was like, shit, man, I never thought of it. It's girls. The future's female.
Unnaको parents, how did they react? Did you have a hard time convincing them, or they were already convinced?
No, it wasn't hard. They're very supportive, man. Like, their dad's a big fight fan. And mom, which mother would like to see their daughter get into fist fights? But they're supportive and they're proud. And I think, of course, like any parent, I'm sure they had their doubts also. They had their questions. But, they started fighting. Like, within a month, I was like, fuck. I fought 1 month into my Muay Thai journey. You guys are my students. You can do the same. Well, Gymkhana fight organized just to get these two that experience. And you don't know if someone can fight until they actually have to fight. Okay? So it was more like a testing ground. Let me see if they can. And then they did really well. Both of them finished their opponents after 1 month of training. And their parents saw that, and they just started doing better and better and better. So now, it's hard to deny hard work and talent of that level, okay? Especially coming from 2 young girls who could be doing anything else with their lives.
Does that put you in a place of liability whereby you're afraid of them? Scared for them?
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Keeps me awake, keeps me alert, but keeps me on my toes. But I told you, my whole day I sit there thinking about how do I make them better fighters. There's 2 of them, and then there's Karan. My whole day, every free moment I have, he's probably thinking about other girls. My meme would be like, I'd see my 3 fighters and just, how do I make them better? How do I make them realize their full potential? They may be world champions, they may not be world champions. Okay? That only fate will tell. But as my job, to make them realize their full potential, that's my job. The best that they can be, if you can be the best that you can be and you still can't be world champion, that's okay. But you give it your all. That's something to be proud of. That's epic shit anyway. That's what matters. So for me, it's a huge, plus the KTR, right? And Thailand and camp I can't just send them. I gotta go, right? I have a business here, but I still need to go. We go for fights. It's 10 days long, 12 days long. I gotta go. I'm not gonna just send 2 little girls and it's on me, right? If something happens, it's a brutal sport, man. If something happens, it's on me. Everything, it's completely on me. But every day that I see them at the gym, it's all worth it, man. It's so worth it. It's so hardworking, bro. It's fucking inspiring for me. They literally, I don't think they realize this, but they inspire me with their work ethic. I gotta be at my best when it comes to them, all the time. They're hungry for information. These 3, Karan, Prapti, Parika, ekdam rare, okay? This sport. Ekdam rare. And Prapti, Parika, the fucking world is open to them because they're so young. they can go as far as they want to go, okay? Because they're so young. They have time, and they have, like I said, they have everything that fits in, okay? It's a perfect balance. If any balance go, it's a fucking shit show, bro. It has to stay in line.
For a fighter, ke kura most important, except for the mindset. Of course, that's there. I think elite level ma everybody has that hunger, drive, everything. What separates a fighter that actually does good?
It's a thinking man's sport, okay? And everybody thinks different. And the smartest fighter wins. Like John Jones, he wins with his brain. Ali did the same. It's what separates the champions, the 2% is their 2% extra work ethic, number one. I know that they put in the gym. The champions will always be the last one, okay? Always. They'll always put in that extra effort. And the second thing is intelligence, okay, bro? People think it's like it's a sport for meatheads once again. Fuck, you gotta be so smart in it's like chess. But you have a fraction of a second to make your move and to predict your opponent's move.
Plus you have brutal consequences.
Exactly. You one mistake and you wake up in the hospital, man. Brutal is in the sport. मैले थाइल्यान्डमा फर्स्ट टाइम फाइट खेल्दाखेरि त चेन्जिङ रुममा बसिरहेको थिएँ स्ट्रेचरमा त यहीँ लिएर गइदिएर बोकेर राइट बिफोर माई फाइट क्या what the fuck man यहीँ लाग्दैन पुरा तेलसेल लगाएर बोकेर रेडी भएर बसिरहेको छ फाइट गर्नु fucking guy is unconscious out fucking cold. So it takes a lot, like it's intelligence. For me, it's intelligence. Because at some point, like you said, properly train, smartly train, you fight at the same weight, right? You've got the same 2 hands, 2 legs, you've trained as hard. So what makes you better than that person in combat, unarmed combat? But hey, it's intelligence, man. Your presence, your awareness, your IQ, fight IQ, all these things. Right kind of coaching and experience, you can build that too.
What about injuries? Injuries, it's unavoidable. How do you deal with that?
So we take recovery very seriously. I have them on a program. We've got Coach Alok, who's Nepal's first Ironman triathlete. He's gone for the Ironman. And he takes care of their strength conditioning and recovery. So recovery much like with Parika, we made a big error. Okay? She's fought 5 times. Out of those 5 fights, she fought 4 heavily injured. Heavily injured. And I take responsibility for that because I was the coach. But fighty lockdown, fighty we really needed that experience. Okay? Because she's a little bit older than her sister, so she has less time. So she really needs to pick up that experience fast. Okay? I had to rush her into fights, and I knew it was a bad fight because she was injured. Out of 4 fights, she fought injured. Until it reached a point where usko calves no problem. Okay? Reached a point where like she could barely stand. There was one fight where she won, but after she won, corner ma she kind of blacked out in the corner. Okay? And she dominated the whole fight. Usko calves there and carry her and take her inside. So त्यो भएपछि हामीले recovery अति focus गर्न थाल्यो के bro. So HRV measure we monitor her HRV, we monitor their every single thing, from their heart rate to the blood pressure to every single thing. We've brought the science into it, because Coach Alok's really good with this shit. So we really brought the science into it, and now like she's just changed so much. Her whole body's changed, everything's changed. And the same with Prapti. Prapti was like a 12-year-old chubby little kid. And then now she looks like a fighter also. Her body's shaped up like that. She's just 14 now. So recovery is, like, the most important part is recovery. Okay? The most important part. So we do regular ice baths for them. We monitor their food. We monitor everything. Like, everything is in check. It's not just her training and fighting. Unharko nutrition dekhi liera khana dekhi liera sabai kura monitor गरिरहेछ के. Because we want to compete and win at an international level, at a world stage. So we can't cut any corners. Okay? If a fighter in the United States has a nutritionist, has a full camp, has a recovery person, has strength and conditioning coach, why aren't we doing the same? Why are we so fucking arrogant to think that I can hold pads so I can make you a world champion? there's things like मलाई नआउने कुराहरुमा त मैले गएर मेरो whoever I have in my team, I'll reach out to them नि त. Be like, look man, I need help with this. त्यो गर्दैन के यहाँ चाहिँ. And that's why the conditioning is a massive factor in our performance. If you look at हाम्रो conditioning Nepalko and you go to say Thailand, like where we train in Tiger Muay Thai, त्यहाँको fighters को like we've trained with UFC fighters, we've trained with 1FC fighters. We're in the fighters area, so त्यहाँनिर चाहिँ सब त्यस्तोहरू हुन्छ क्या. From like Peter Yan देखि सबै त्यही हुन्छ क्या. So हामी त्यहाँ हुँदाखेरि पनि there was like 1FC fighters, there's UFC fighters, there's all of that, you know. उनीहरूको र हाम्रोमा massive difference in what I realized is the conditioning, man. यिनीहरू थाक्दै थाक्दैन क्या bro. थाक्दै थाक्दैन. And they can go at like 110% intensity and not fucking get tired. You me? And त्यसले गर्दाखेरि अब नथाकेपछि त जे पनि धेरै गर्न पायो नि त. So your strength also goes up, everything goes up. They just don't fucking get tired. Okay? So that's where we're lacking. Our strength and conditioning is what's lacking. Okay? Not we get tired, man. You know? Our strength and conditioning is lacking. Okay? So if we can develop a strength and conditioning program which will put us on par with these fighters, then why not, man? Then we came up with our strength and conditioning for these girls. Okay? So now with our strength and conditioning, like they've leveled up so much in the past 3 months, like their body changed, everything's changed. Okay? Until this much in recovery is a massive part because injuries are prone to happen in the sport. But this is a sport in which your window of opportunity is like maybe 10 years max, if you're lucky. त्यसमा injury भएर 2 वर्ष गयो भने त कसरी खाने? So हामीले चाहिँ अति focus गर्छ कि injury, especially after what happened to Parika and her having to fight 4 fights injured. After the last one, I promised her, and I was like, "You're never fighting at anything less than 100% again." A shell of herself. Okay? It's not her. Like, uber seminar lina on pani ketirसँग, it's like a fucking war, and she can't stand. I'm looking at her like, like, how do I tell her kick girl, punch girl? I'm just like, just fucking survive, man. The religion is different. It's so exciting, sir, bro. Like, my students just the fact that the project, let's look at it as project, you know, it's come together so well from so many sides. Okay? It almost feels, I'm not someone who believes in like, oh, it's meant to be, but it feels like it's meant to be. Okay? It really does. And like, they've proved me right every time. Like, we fucking went for the World Youth Games, came back with the silver and the bronze after 18 months of training, man. Like 16 at that point. It's insane. So,
international arena fight चाहिँ कसरी पाउँछ?
Association. So पाउनु पर्ने चाहिँ through association हो. But I don't really like, I told you, like, don't sit and wait for associations to do something. You go out and do it yourself. So I'm like an animal like that because म त fight गरेर आएको, so I kind of know the channels also. So I know who to look out for what. And I saw that this World Championship was happening in Malaysia. And I wrote to them, I got in touch with them, they're like, contact your country rep. Like, who the fuck is my country rep? Like, no one knows. Country rep. Fucking took me days, deep dive. Finally found the country rep, one landline number here. Called them for like days and days and days. And I was like, finally got into it, like, look, she's the current national champion. The first thing we were told was, we're not giving money. I don't want money. We'll do this on our own. But I'm like, represent going to. They verified if she's the national champion under 16. Oh, bhanyo. Ani utabara pani accept gare invitation. And then overnight, like within weeks, we were supposed to go to Canada. But this is way bigger. Okay? IFMA was way bigger than the opportunity in Canada. And I got like, now we're in the deep end. Like, if Mama Jani, we're in the deep end. We're not messing around. It's not like Mandir fight girls. There's some fucking killers there. If we're going, I'm not going all the way. I don't like flying. I hate sitting on planes. I'm not flying all the way to Malaysia to fucking lose, man. Let's go. Otherwise, fuck this shit. Like, we don't have to fight right now. And Prabhu's just a gangster like that. Like, I don't like losing either, coach. She lit it up, bro. त्यहाँनिर त like कति त्यहाँको अर्गनाइजर्सहरूले के 1200 जना फाइटर छ यार. उसलाई नोटिस गर्ने क्या bro. Literally पछि आएर भन्ने like, wow, we didn't expect you to fight like that भन्ने क्या. Like, first time participant in Nepal. only participant from Nepal. So our whole team is one athlete. And then her sister and me. Assistant coach and coach. And Poland team, there's like 28 people in their team. Right? New Zealand has another 20. Like this go through the total team. I'm a single athlete. Then I go to like Suruma almost I feel and the opening ceremony I'm like the balance fuck 3 people standing there, you know. Just the but by the time we left, like everybody knew her. Okay? Literally, it's legit they knew. Okay? Former champion like the Suma Y crew dance. Like Y crew we were so scared because we were so scared for you, and then you started fighting, and we were so scared for the other girl. Oh, 6 fights. Your whole competition, she had the most fights. Out of 12 athletes, she had the most fights. 6 fights, ma. 2 ta ule knockout gardio, and 4 fight, ma. She had a knockdown in every single fight. So 4 wins and 2 losses, and the 2 losses to both former champions. Okay? European and world champion 40-50 fights this is fighter, like those 2 girls are really good. Yeah? Like no shame in losing to them. Next year Samata is like she can't wait for next year. Yeah?
What about conditioning case? Like you strengthen conditioning programming, of course that's there, but then like if you look at Thai fighters, jog matra gareko dekhincha usually, and then back work and stuff like that for hours. And is that enough from what we know about strength and conditioning?
For Muay Thai fighters from Thailand, yes, it's enough. Because their understanding of the sport is such that, so when you're fighting adrenaline rush, the adrenaline is what gets you tired, is what gets you fatigued and stuff, right? Adrenaline dump and you get tired. Adrenaline
because they're so used to it.
One was centuries bio. Second thing, they start fighting from the age of 7, so that means they start training from the age of 4 or 5. Boxer muscles build गर्ने भनेर सानैदेखि Muay Thai muscle movements गराउँछ के Thailand. Boxer muscles build गर्ने भनेर is thing in Thailand.
Okay. So
they start them off really early. So for them, it's not like it's like having a basketball game just to same with the adrenaline rush. So where they might lose in strength, they make up with technique and with fight IQ. They understand it better, so they make up with that.
Timle Gymkhana start garnuko, what was the reason or the process behind it? Mental process behind it.
So Gymkhana, like bro, I knew I was going to do this. I think 5 years before I started it. Okay? And I had the entire layout. I legit when you walk in, like I had the whole thing in my head 5 years prior to opening. I knew I wanted to do this, but I was in Delhi and I'm that gym too. I share and then Delhi but then Suruma I was like maybe look for a job. I wanted to go back and study again sports management partner. And then I want to stay with my parents also, man. I want to be home. And fucking drive through restaurant. And then my mom came to me and she's like, look man, you've done this for 10 years of your life, right? Like you've dedicated the best golden years to this. And you obviously love it and you're obviously good at it. Just do this. And I was like, well, I always had this project. I just needed that shove from somebody that I trust and I love. So when my mom said like like project fucking man, let's do it, let's risk everything and I got into it and suruma chain मैले यस्तो जग्गा पाएको थिएन के CTC mall छैन त्यहाँनिर मैले I'd taken space के we were supposed to start construction from Monday and Saturday the fucking earthquake hit, bro. And त्यो building to then, bro.
I saw the pieces falling down.
Shit. I went
to building life man. Once I saw that, this was
I've never gone in there, man. एक्स सेपमा त थियो लिटरली क्र्याक थियो क्या एक्स सेप क्या त्यहाँ पछाडि ड्यास गरेर मेन लेख्दा हो एक्सम्यान टाइपको थियो कि सो फक द्याट शिट बाहिरबाट यसो हेरिरहेको ओके आम गुड म्यान द जिम्स नट ह्यापनिङ हियर सो त्यो गऱ्यो एन्ड देन त्यसपछि अर्थक्वेक भएर देन आई जस्ट गट इन्टु अ लट अफ रिलिफ वर्क यताउति गर्ने मलाई आयो सो माई माइन्ड वाज लाइक आई वाज इन गोर्खा म्यान लाइक बिल्डिङ हाउसेस दिमाग त्यही थियो अनि फर्केर लाइक एट सम पोइन्ट यु गर गेट ब्याक टु यर लाइफ अल्सो न मेक अ लिभिङ again I was like no I'm convinced of the gym garden like this is what I do man and I've had this plan I've planned everything the whole project and I have everything down from how to start how to market how to take it up how to lay it out and equipment like to the T man whatever I need equipment I had it all down and put everything I had and of course my parents and the bank and this that then Gymkhana but this was always bound to happen
सो तिमीले लाइक मुay thai कै खोल्छु भनेर पहिलादेखि प्लान गरेको थियौ तिमीले समथिङ रिलेटेड बिकज लाइक आई रिमेम्बर पहिला भनेको चाहिँ रेज नै हो अफकोर्स होइन त्यसपछि कम्ब्याट स्पोर्ट्सको यो न्यू वेभ स्टार्ट गर्ने इट वाज जिमखाना बिकज त्यहाँतिर चाहिँ आई स लाइक हुन्छ नि मुay thai एन्ड स्टफ लाइक द्याट त्यस्तो एउटा अर्गनाइज्ड र मोर सिस्टमेटिक वेमा चाहिँ थिएन अरू कतै पनि एन्ड देन नाउ देयर आर सो मेनी अदर जिम्स एन्ड विच इज गुड एज वेल तर यो स्पेस त रिलेटिभली न्यू थियो नि त कम्ब्याट स्पोर्ट्स एज अ होल नेपालमा न त्यस्तोको डिमान्ड पनि त्यतिखेर थिएन तर यु कमिङ इन एन्ड डिसाइडिङ कि आई एम गोइङ टु डु दिस एन्ड द इन्डस्ट्री विल ग्रो भनेर तिम्रो त्यतिखेर लाइक डिड यु एन्टिसिपेट द्याट ओर लाइक रिगार्डलेस अफ द्याट यु वान्टेड टु डु
नो आई न्यू देयर वाज लाइक एन ओपनिङ आई न्यू देयर वाज अ void there that needed to be filled in terms of martial arts gyms not just fitness gyms but like combat sports sikaune huncha ni because for me like fighting is such a beautiful thing ni jole ni hercha ni fighting everybody loves fighting man the first influences of the world were Roman gladiators and they used to get oil and wine for as endorsement and unhal tyo tel laera manchile the first influencers ne bhaneko the Roman gladiators hunta so fighting is something that human beings are automatically just drawn to so I knew that there was a big market there but Gymkhana चाहिँ कसरी गर्ने भन्दाखेरि so in Delhi I used to own a gym it was in a basement अनि so if this is the gym यो half space यसरी ठ्याक्क rectangular shape थियो नि half space थियो क्या so यो half of the space was mine for Muay Thai right and यो half चाहिँ मेरो साथै CrossFit gym चलाउँथ्यो so ठ्याक्क half and half क्या Muay Thai यता अनि CrossFit यता गर्थ्यो so we used to share the rent and we used to run the space like that. We used to have our own classes going on. So when I came here, if you look at Gymkhana right now, there's CrossFit on one side, there's Muay Thai on the other side. It's the exact same thing that I just brought in. It's just that now both are mine. CrossFit, now both are mine. And I knew that since I don't teach CrossFit, I needed a team. Then we got in a team, we built them, trained them. And then मैले सुरुमा चाहिँ सकेसम्म fitness industry my bhayeko manchela I didn't want to hire that many because I wanted to start something different and the mindset break गर्ने challenge is like a hurdle I didn't need so I thought if I bring fresh minds and I train them accordingly then so it worked too it did work and we started Muay Thai and CrossFit but I always knew that there was that void man like I used to look at the gyms because that thing gym I was 15 years old when my mom first took me to Banus so and 15 years later it's still the same all the gyms are still the same and it's like why aren't they changing it man it's just it doesn't make sense and fight videos and fighter training video and look at those gyms like it just looked like a fun place it looked like a fun cool place to hang out at to train at this that so I wanted to build a fun cool place where people would come, hang out, and it would be a world of their own. And I was like, all right, I know Muay Thai, I know CrossFit is a really good program, or functional fitness, but I knew that functional fitness was not a thing at that point. People didn't understand the need for functional fitness. People thought gym simply meant this.
Bistari, I think Pompli Bistari will introduce
for sure.
On this special, this was a way back. CrossFit declare everything. It was not a big thing. CrossFit like the manchale hepne jasto matra garthyo maza udaune matra garthyo हैन तर eventually I mean like it grew
Yeah. CrossFit itself, but then the idea of functional fitness.
Yeah.
Bro. Fitness for a function. Like, it's very important to have day-to-day, to be able to do day-to-day functions. And my main, a lot of people kind of pissed off also. My main thing was like, I wasn't ever saying anything bad about bodybuilders. Like, gyms are still stuck with the same old isolated movements, whereas like they should be teaching and preaching more about functional fitness. But when I said that, I didn't mean that bodybuilding is bad. Like, fuck, mere gym ko first participation for Gymkhana was Mr. Kathmandu, which we won, bro. Right? So how would I not be like, I'm a huge fan of anything athletic, right? Including bodybuilding. But people kind of took that, hey, gym owner bhera bodybuilder lai naramro bhannu nahune ho. Naram kole bhancha yaar, ke bhanra? Like,
कसरी भनेछ भने लाइक के गरेछ र तिमीले?
All I said was like,
केमा भिडियो?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think some magazine ko video tha
kya? Okay.
It was an interview, that's the first time I learned, hey, you gotta be careful, man. Like, what you say can really be, when you're speaking to mass number of people,
right,
what you say can really have like an impact.
Well, म share गरिहाल्छु. अस्ति मात्र मैले एउटा भिडियो बनाएको थिएँ, like women should lift heavy भनेर टिकटकमा. अनि so women, most wrong thing womenले गर्ने भनेको they don't train as hard because they assume कि muscles build हुन्छ भनेको. It's a common myth हैन. अनि so that is not the case because women को body मा ले testosterone त त्यो produce गर्दैन, so train heavy. That was the message. So some random girl commented like, तिमीहरु men womenहरुलाई यस्तो भन्छ kind of के, like get off your high horse kind of. Like, it's not even about केटाले भन्यो भन्दैमा केटाले नराम्रो भन्न खोजे त हुँदैन. Like I mean, like social media मा जे पनि, it really depends upon the perception of a person. अनि एकजनाले केही भन्यो न भनेपछि everybody त्यो verify नगरेर भेडा जस्तो पछि लाग्छ के. And that's how whatever you say can be misinterpreted in so many ways.
True, man. Yeah, that was a rude awakening.
Yeah.
I was like, मैले त्यो भन्नु खोजे हैन, लाइक कसलाई भन्नु कसरी भन्नु, लाइक फेरि इन्टरभ्यु गरे मैले त्यो भन्नु खोजे हैन लेखेको क्या. It's fucking weird. So that was my first experience, man. But मैले भन्दा like functional fitness हुन्छ, like changing the light bulb, changing the water jar. These are things that are so important. And हामीले चाहिँ त्यसमा we weren't paying attention. Now we are. Now we definitely are, but we weren't paying it the attention it deserved. Not that we weren't paying attention, but the attention it deserved. And आजकल देख्छु क्या मैले, like even at the gym, there's a trend, like the trend slowly changing. People are doing more functional movements,
right?
And because त्यो फेरि is a question of awareness. Now they know. Do I want to have? Do I? What is my goal? Am I here to build a really good body? Am I here to just get fit? Am I here to be athletic? Am I here to be an athlete? What am I here for? When you come to a gym, it's very important to know what you're there for. And if you don't know what you're there for, it's the gym's job to explain to you what is best for you. Those is very, very important. And nowadays, I see like people understand why they're doing it more. And it's a good feeling to see that. I'm sure you feel it too, being part of the industry. Like when you see people understand the need for this industry, it's a satisfying feeling.
Yeah, एकदमै चेन्ज भएको छ. Like back in 2008-9 मैले स्टार्ट गर्दाखेरि it was all about bodybuilders के जिममा गयो सबजना कम्पिट गर्छु नै काइन्ड अफ हुन्छ म गुन्डा भन्छु सबैलाई दुईटा माइन्डसेट ब्याकहरु मान्छे जिम जान्दैन हैन. अनि त्यसपछि म चाहिँ एकदम दुब्लो भएकोले गएको. अनि त्यतिखेर सो बडी बिल्डिङ वाज द थिङ. अनि त्यसपछि इभेन्चुअली 2012-13 को कुरा गर्ने भने इट वाज मोर अफ अ रेमेडी. मोटायो ए जिम जाऊ, दुब्लो छौ ल जिम जाऊ. Now if you look at it, 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, well now it's all about, regardless of anything, go to gym just to maintain your body, be functional, like be healthy. It doesn't have any particular goal नै हुनु जरुरी छ. Just like you brush your teeth, म के रे एकदम सेतो बनाउँछु भनेर गर्दैन. It's just maintenance. So it's kind of like that. It has become that, and that's how it should be. It should be a part of your lifestyle regardless of anything.
Absolutely. And even if you just do isolated movements, it's still better than not doing anything.
Not doing it, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
If you go to the gym, and it doesn't matter. If you just do isolated, it's better than doing nothing, man. Like, and this, again, we're not saying this because we own gyms. Okay? Like, My parents...
घरमै बसेर गर जिम नै नसके घरमै बसेर पुशअप्स गर न यार.
Exactly. My parents don't come to the gym. My parents literally don't come to the gym. बिहान बसेर टिभीमा हेरेर योगा गरिरहन्छ. Like seriously. Well, my parents don't come to the gym, bro. But they work out. Like they do some form of exercise. I'm not saying come to my gym or your gym. Just don't even go to a gym, fuck, if you don't want to, man.
You just walk for 30 minutes. That's about it.
If you have stairs in your house, run up and down 10 times. It's better than doing nothing. People don't understand like how important it is. And by the time you understand, it's too late because you're 80 years old now and your arthritis is kicked in. Your fucking blood sugar is crazy. Your heart's weak. Everything's falling apart. And you're like, shit, I should have worked out.
Yeah, early 30s, dekhi nai, like your body starts degenerating. Okay? I mean, like it starts becoming less. The bones or density kam hunदै जान्छ. Muscles loss हुन थाल्छ. Naturally, जति तिमीलाई चाहिन्छ त्यति हुँदैन. And if you want to stop aging in a sense, not just aesthetic purpose, but functional purpose, like doing some kind of resistance training, doing any kind of cardio or physical movement. Like look at the world we're living in. We were not designed to do like khali desk jobs or lagi matra, and that's what we're doing. We're working, but then on a mental level more so than physical level. And especially हामी त ठ्याक्क अपोजिटबाट इभल्भ भएर आएको एन्ड इट्स अ गुड थिङ वी इभल्भ बट एट द एन्ड अफ द वी डोन्ट वान्ट टु लुज द फङ्सनालिटी अफ आवर बडी आई मिन एभ्री पर्सन यु सी अहिले त बच्चाहरू इन देयर मिड 20s अर्ली 30sदेखि डायबिटिज एन्ड ब्लड प्रेसर वाट इज ह्यापनिङ एन्ड यु नट सपोज टु बी ह्याभिङ दिज डिजिजेस एट your 20s or 30s but like with every single year passing on I mean like it seems like the younger population is honest about it problem and times have changed I mean हामीहरु सानो हुँदाखेरि maybe फिल्डमा एक्सरसाइज गर्थ्यो होला या भन्छ स्पोर्ट्स प्ले गर्थ्यो होला but right now it's all about computer games and that is fine as well as long as you're compensating for that in some other place.
Lack of so nowadays in today's world the biggest problem is there's not enough movement. Exactly. The human body doesn't move enough, right? So हाम्रो grandfatherको टाइममा or great grandfatherको टाइममा if they had to take a piss they'd probably have to walk up a hill and then cross a river take a piss and come back. I know but nowadays like you need to take a piss it's right there, you know what I mean, you need anything it's delivered to your doorstep, you won't need to go anywhere, the person is there to pick you up and drop you there like generally with with all these other different transportation services and stuff. Whatever you need is the tip of your fingers. I can sit here and I can order something from any corner in the world if I have money. So the basic need to move for human beings has significantly reduced. But the body is meant to move. It's like जे पनि त खिया परेर जान्छ नचलाइराख्यो भने त्यो मुभमेन्ट चाहिँ छैन क्या त्यसले गर्दाखेरि kids nowadays I think face a lot more problems than they did back in the day in terms of like sugar and health related to
plus like social settings ma I mean deal गर्न नसक्ने and stuff like that अनि I'm not saying कि यो deliveries and transportation is bad I mean your time अनुसारले चाहिन्छ efficient बनाएको छ but then how do you compensate for that भन्ने कुरा किन म पनि I get into this habit or spiral भएर जान्छ कि like let's say I'm doing podcast back to back on this with मलाई I need like couple of days घरबाट निस्किन मन लाग्ने कि अनि त्यसपछि एक दिन घरमा बस्यो दुई दिन घरमा बस्यो थर्ड दिन निस्किनै मन लाग्दैन so I have to push myself कि like जाऊ भनेर अनि at least म केही नहो पनि जिमको लागि चाहिँ निस्किन्छु कि every single day म वर्कआउट गर्छु भनेर चाहिँ निस्किन्छु बिकज आई अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड कि मेरो लाइफमा मेरो लाइफस्टाइल डे टु डेमा चाहिँ मेरो मुभमेन्ट जति हुनुपर्ने त्यति छैन कि त्यो कुरा मलाई जहिले पनि कन्सियस भएर आउँछ एन्ड फर द्याट कम्पन्सेट गर्नलाई मात्र भयो भने चाहिँ जिम जान खोज्छु कि बट यु क्यान डु द सेम एट होम आई मिन लाइक एनी काइन्ड अफ मुभमेन्ट एनी काइन्ड अफ फिजिकल एक्टिभिटी द्याट्स गुड
मुभमेन्ट इज सो इम्पोर्टेन्ट द्याट्स अ रिजन वाइ एभ्री स्मार्ट वाच स्मार्टफोन टेल्स यु मुभमेन्ट पुगेन मुभमेन्ट इज एभ्रिथिङ. You know what doesn't move? What's dead? Like dead things don't move. Movement lets you know that you're alive. The fact that you can move lets you know you're alive. And the better you can move means you're more alive in a way. And the more I can move, the more alive I am, the healthier I am, the more fit I am. So we don't give movement the attention that it deserves. Okay? And like in the modern world where everything is done on a chair, we're really slowly beginning to shy away from movement. Okay? And that's not a good thing at all, because all the health problems that start from right there. That's the stem, that's the root. Okay? And I don't know, at least the smartphone and smartwatch reminds you every once in a while to keep moving. But move गर्ने तर कति मान्छे हुन्छ नि देखेर पनि गर्दिन कतिले त घडी हेरेर झन् रिसाएर भन्छ गर्दिन्छ हुन्छ नि त्यो कति मान्छे त्यस्तै हुन्छ कि अब there's nothing you can do, but some people are like they see it and alright I gotta move. So I त्यस्तै छ क्या ओ मेरो 10,000 steps पुगेको छैन त्यहीको हिँडिदिन्छ क्या. The first time I saw it, I was like, what? कहिले नसुनेको कुरा क्या, because I'm kind of like a dinosaur when it comes to all these things, technology and this, that. I don't wear a watch or nothing. And she's just standing there going, this. I'm like, Mom, what are you doing, man? She's like, I'm getting my steps in. What do you mean? You guys, like, you got to keep the walk or come back, right? But, I mean, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
And it's better than nothing. Get your heart going, if nothing else.
True.
Crazy.
So
do you do those?
Huh?
Do you do those?
What?
त्यो like follower गरेर स्टेप्सहरु यति पुराउनु पर्ने मुभमेन्ट.
मैले 1 पोइन्टमा चाहिँ गर्थेँ इन सेन्स द्याट म रनिङ नै जान्थेँ कि पहिला चाहिँ, त्यसको लागि चाहिँ मैले वाच लाउँथेँ हार्ट रेट एन्ड एभ्रिथिङ हेर्नको लागि. तर त्यो 10,000 स्टेप्स भनेर चाहिँ म एक्ज्याक्टली त्यही नै चाहिँ गर्दिनँ. म चाहिँ एक्सर्साइजहरू गरिरहेर हुन्छ, जे चाहिन्छ त्यसको अनुसारले प्रोग्राम मेरो वर्कआउट त्यही अनुसारले वेट ट्रेनिङ कार्डियो अल द्याट थिङहरू स्टफ. तर त्यसैको लागि भनेर चाहिँ छैन. म पहिला चाहिँ मैले डेभिड गगिन्स पढेको थिएँ क्या त्यतिखेर, क्या जोसेर राति 12 बजे 1 बजे रनिङ जाने कि 1 घन्टा 1.5 घन्टा पुरा दौडेर आउने, कति दिनसम्म गरेँ. त्यसपछि चाहिँ त्यो पनि छुट्यो. तर वर्कआउट्समा चाहिँ लाइक स्पेसली मैले पनि यो कम्ब्याट स्पोर्ट्स अलिअलि गर्न थालेको धेरै भएको छैन. इट्स बिन लाइक 2 वर्ष भयो होला अलिअलि अन एन्ड अफ गरेर आएको. बट आई हेभ सिन अ लट अफ इम्प्रुभमेन्ट. आई रिमेम्बर आई युज टु बी एकदमै लाइक मोबिलिटीको कुरामा क्या इजिली मेरो लोवर ब्याक इन्जर्ड भइराख्ने. अनि त्यसपछि फ्लेक्सिबल थिएन इन जेनरली. एभर सिन्स आई स्टार्टेड डुइङ इट, यु नो, यु हेभ टु स्ट्रेच ह्यामस्ट्रिङ्स, लोवर ब्याक एभ्रिथिङ स्ट्रेच गर्नु पऱ्यो. बिफोर यु स्टार्ट, आफ्टर यु फिनिस. वेट ट्रेनिङ गर्दा त्यस्तो केही पनि हुँदैन, गर्नु जरुरी फोर्स गर्दैन नि त, कसैले अल्छी मानिन्छ. बट एभर सिन्स आई स्टार्टेड डेभलपिङ दिस ह्याबिट, मेरो फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी इफ यु कम्पेयर बडी बिल्डिङ मात्र गर्ने मान्छेहरू, आई एम वे मोर फ्लेक्सिबल. म टाउकोले नि छुन सक्छु एटलिस्ट, त्यतिको फ्लेक्सिबल छु. एन्ड त्यो जुन लोवर ब्याक इन्जुरिज एन्ड अल द्याट थिङ त्यो सबै हरायो क्या. इट वाजन्ट बिकज आई वाज लिफ्टिङ, इट वाज बिकज आई वाजन्ट फ्लेक्सिबल एनफ क्या. एन्ड अल दोज इन्जुरिजहरू चाहिँ त्यो बिल्डअप हुँदै गइरहेको थियो. बट या बिकज अफ द्याट कार्डियोदेखि लिएर एभ्रिथिङ आई फिल मोर लाइट, आई फिल मोर फङ्सनल, आई फिल मोर फास्ट यो कुराहरूमा.
When do we see you in the ring?
No, never.
Bro, we could make it like Nepal's first YouTube boxer, right? It would have insane views, man. Like, if you got in the ring and you fought, I would buy that pay-per-view. I would buy that fight. Oh, Sachi. We should set it up. Like exhibition bout with proper headgear and everything. 3 rounds. Exhibition. I think people watch. Bro, don't you think you see, it would be a good show, man. Like, that's the kick that combat sports in Nepal needs. But to be honest, it is though. Like, I'm not saying you. What I'm saying is like, it needs someone that people can relate with. मान्छेले चिनेको हेरौँ न त भनेर. सो यहाँ ट्यालेन्ट नभए यति खतरा ट्यालेन्ट छ क्या, तर एक्सपोजरै पाएको छैन क्या. इफ दे कुड डु वान इभेन्ट वेयर लाइक द मास विल कम टु वाच, नट जस्ट द प्योरेस्ट. कनर मैग्रेगरले युएफसीले गर्दा त्यही त हो नि, द मास केम टु वाच नि त. WWE फ्यान्स, बक्सिङ फ्यान्स सबले थाल्यो नि त. त्यो मासले एकचोटि आएर हेऱ्यो भने चाहिँ यहाँको ट्यालेन्टलाई म्यासिभ बुस्ट.
तिमीहरूले फाइट नाइट गर्दाखेरि कस्तो थियो रेस्पोन्स फ्रम लाइक द जनरल पब्लिक हु आर नट इन्टु निश?
राम्रो थियो ब्रो, एकदम राम्रो थियो. बट देन लाइक वाट्स द पपुलेसन अफ नेपाल, कति, हाउ मेनी crores, राइट? हाउ मेनी पिपल वाच्ड, हाउ मेनी पिपल न्यू हुन्छ नि. थाहै छैन मान्छेलाई. सो थाहै छैन भने त कसरी, हाउ वुड दे सपोर्ट, हाउ वुड दे ब्याक अस अप. मलेसियामा जाँदाखेरि पनि लाइक when we fought, like it's a fucking big title she won, man. How many people knew that she was there? How many people knew that she was fighting? Because it's not a mainstream sport, neither, but it's a massive achievement. So we need like someone who will actually bring the casual fans and the non-fans also into the sport to watch. Yeah, be that guy, bro. I'll pick a fight for you. Jake Paul, sajilo fight Jake Paul.
तर अहिले त legit जस्तो लाग्छ त हौ Jake Paul. What do you think अहिले आएर?
I mean, look, man, my girls trained for 16 months and won two IFMA medals. And if you put your mind to it and you work hard, like nothing's impossible. I'm sure the kid, I'm sure he's learned how to box. Is he, like he says, one of the best boxers? No. Will he ever be one of the greatest boxers? No. Will he ever be a world champion? Probably not, but weird things have happened in the past. I know, but does he know how to box? Yeah, of course he knows how to box, man. He spent 2 years, 3 years. Usko resources, त्यत्रो पैसा छ.
Yeah.
हैन त्यो resources लिएर best coaches hire गरेर घरमै बसेर personal trainer. Of course, like a potato would learn how to box, man, in that much time. So he knows how to box. But you should do it though, man. That's it. More training this, bro. Like, I'll train you. It will be Nepalko combat sports history's biggest event in there. Write in the comments. Do you want to see Sushant fight?
All right, almost 4 hours.
It's a
long conversation, bro. Thank you so much for coming, brother.
Thanks for having me over, bro. It was a good time.
Sure. Bye. Thank you.
All right.